Well.
Yeah, I think our conversation probably should be limited on that today.
Spec just loves it when we drive things into the ground day after day.
Honestly, this is your fault. We were sitting in a private show meeting, and you called us out for it. He may have never heard it. Wow. And you were like, well, if you don't like that, listen to this 4 hours of suitcase talk we did today.
Was correct. I guess we'll really just peel back the curtain altogether now. We have show meetings, and there was a comment about a show from a few weeks ago. And it was somewhat where we may have talked about something for a little too long, and then Nick made the comment, and by the way, he was correct. He's like, well, then don't listen to our conversation on suitcases.
I don't know. It just felt like honesty, and that's what I'm all about.
So yeah,
it is the best policy.
We're gonna limit it today. We're gonna limit today the amount we discuss that, unless all of a sudden it appears. It's all we'll say is it's still not back. That's all.
It is not back. And I think some people are starting to feel the heat like they have the spotlight put on them instead of me. And I don't think that they like that.
Did somebody come up and approach you?
I'll be candid here. I believe Carrington Harrison was offended at the email Spec had sent yesterday, assuming that it was directed at him specifically as being the thief of the suitcase. Although we had cleared him of all charges.
What's going on? I haven't seen. I have not been kept abreast of this.
An email was sent yesterday, remember? And I guess Carrington
thought that was about him.
Cody aside after the show. I didn't know about this until a few minutes ago.
He thought the email was about him specifically. That this email was not meant for everybody, but instead was meant for Carrington return this suitcase. And he said, I didn't take it. He got defensive.
Okay, that is not a good look. For an all-staff email, if you take it to mean that you're being called out, why would that be?
Yeah, if you get an all-staff email to be like, hey, you got to stop being lazy. And then you were like, Nick, you were like, hey, why are you calling me lazy? You'd be like, that was everyone. So don't know why you took it personal.
I would argue in most situations, even if he was being called out, Carrington wouldn't recognize that it was him being called out. So the fact that he's not being called out and takes it that he is being called out makes me think he is now on the list of suspects.
Wait, you put him back on? I thought I've cleared him. I think he's innocent.
As evidenced by you simply saying, I'm innocent, does not absolve you of any suspicion.
We've already talked more about the suitcase than we were supposed to.
Damn it.
We said we were going to do 10 seconds today on it. We just did 2 minutes. That's it. That's it. Done.
Maybe 2 minutes later, but for now, we're done.
913-586-7610. The Jays Southland Tow Service text line. You can hit us up on there, as always, throughout the show. Also on Twitter, at Alex Gold, at Cody B. Tapp, at Nick_Short, and at 610 Sports KC on Twitter. We had talked about the Buffalo Bills a little bit in their offseason. By the way, just in the last couple minutes, Josh Allen officially will be on the cover of Madden. And there's some thought, and I'm certainly in this camp, that we could see the Bills start to take a little bit of a downturn from where they've been. Certainly their division might be the toughest in football this year. Von Miller coming back from injury, but he's getting older. Josh Allen and the Bills seemingly have missed some opportunities that they have had while they've had players on cheaper contracts. Now the real numbers are going to start to kick in for Josh Allen. You think it's fair, right, that that's the team we talk about potentially this year slipping a little bit?
Well, I mean, if we're including Buffalo in this conversation, explain to me why the Chargers shouldn't also be. Unless you're just saying, well, they can't fall down from where they are, which they definitively can. It would just look worse because if the Bills fall back a little bit, they are still a wild card team or winning their division, but by less, right? A 10, 11 win team versus where they have been here lately, which is 12, 13, pretty consistent winning team there at the top of the AFC, competing for the number 1 seed. The Chargers have all the same problems the Bills do. They've had 3 years to be really good. They have the same coach, the same quarterback, the same skill position weapons who are getting older, the same defense that is getting older. Nothing has really changed inherently from where they were a couple of years ago to where they are now. We are just to what? Assume they will magically get better? Because to me, there are only really 2 places the Chargers can go. The same or worse.
Well, right. And I think the same is probably most likely here. I mean, when we talk about the Bills' downturn and slipping a little bit, as you said, it's going from a 12 or 13 win team to do they fall to a 10-win wildcard team and they let the Jets come and win the AFC East this year? Like that, I think, is a realistic scenario. The Chargers slipping from being a 10 maybe 11-win team. If they slip, then you're talking about them just flat out being like a 7 or 8 win.
Jumping them.
Yeah, 7 or 8 win team, right? I don't believe that's going to happen for this Chargers team. Now, I'm not guaranteeing they're making the playoffs, but I don't think we're going to be sitting here at the end of December or January, middle of January, and saying the Chargers are a 7-win football team, unless you told me Justin Herbert got hurt. Like, that would be stunning to me. Because the one thing we can agree on, we make our jokes about the Chargers, right, and they get overhyped every single damn year. They always underachieve.
Sure.
They're not 5-win team usually. They're in that 8 to 10 every year. 9 to 10 every year.
Terrible place to be, by the way. Especially when you have a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
Mediocrity for sure. No question.
But to me, it's like it's a half step. Mediocrity goes south more quickly than it goes up, you know? Like, here's the thing. It's like this jump or this, idea jump of what might occur there just doesn't make any sense. Oh, man, we didn't talk suitcases, and now I'm seeing fresh renderings for the Jaguar Stadium. Gold, it's out of control already. Check out Sporting News. You got to tell us what you think about the Jaguar Stadium.
I saw this. Casey Curran had it as well, Cody, yesterday.
Lot of stuff. But I just think that when you look at where they're at right now, like, you don't think there's any way that Denver just jumps them this year? And look, I don't believe in Denver all that much, but I'll say this. I believe in their head coach way more than I believe in the Chargers head coach to this point. Sean Payton is a proven winner. He has taken mediocre teams to being, better than they should be. He's taken bad teams to mediocrity. He's taken mediocre teams to higher levels. Doesn't mean you're going to win the Super Bowl in those years. But, I mean, to have 3 years and to not even manage to win a single postseason game with Justin Herbert, to only play in a single postseason game, Gold, like, I just feel like the slip back is I think it's actually easier for them than it is for the Bills to fall backwards.
So I disagree. I mean, there's not as much to slip back to. You know what I mean? Like,
they're already lower, so it's like you got to...
Even last year, I don't think I ever considered the Chargers a real Super Bowl contender. I know we joked with Nick about his thoughts on that, but, like, I don't think I viewed them as a Super Bowl contender. The Bills have been Super Bowl contenders for now 3-4 straight years. The Chargers, every offseason, Sports Illustrated or somebody will claim they're a Super Bowl contender, and we kind of laugh and make our jokes about them. So it's a little bit different. I mean, the Chargers are a 10-7 team last year. I think they're probably like a 9 or 10 win team again this year. You're asking me if the Broncos can surpass them? The Broncos were a 5-12 team a year ago. We all agree it was a massive upgrade at head coach. And I
assume their quarterback can't be that bad.
And I told you that, you can't be any worse if you're Russell Wilson. And I do think he'll be better this year. But what's better look like? Can they get him to where he's just a middle-of-the-road quarterback? He's the 15th best quarterback? I think there's a chance of that. I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback ever again. But can he be a 15th best quarterback? Okay. What does that look like then if you get that? Does that move you from a 5-win team in an AFC West where you're playing the Chiefs twice?
An 8-win team with a good quarterback?
That's what I think.
A mediocre quarterback and a good coach?
I think the Chiefs are winning 13 to 14 games. I think the Chargers are winning 10 to 11. And I think the Broncos are going to be an 8 or 9-win team. And if there was an injury in the AFC West to Herbert or somebody or Mahomes or whatever, then maybe the Broncos steal one against one of those teams and they all of a sudden are a 10-win team.
What about the Chargers is ascending, I guess? Because, this is why I think it's comparable to
But they don't have to ascend.
Because
they don't have to. They could just be the same where it's just a 10-win team. That's what they are.
Sure, but this is the argument, I think, for Buffalo. Buffalo is a 13-win team, and they're not ascending in any way either.
But you would agree it's much tougher to win 13 games in a season to find your way into winning 9 or 10.
But they're also not. I don't think that they're... to me, the Bills and the Chargers are two teams that aren't ascending. They aren't, adding talent in a way that makes me think they are different than what they have been, which is why we discuss the Bills as a team that could fall back. And I get it. What you're saying is it's easier to fall from the mountaintop like a 13-win team than it is to fall from being a 10 or 11-win team because, well, by probably most people, or at least the NFL talking heads that might like them, they think that the Chargers underperformed. And I'm telling you they didn't. They got probably about where they should. They've got coaching problems. They've got roster problems. I know we still look at their roster and see the talent, but it is just consistently been aging over time. And I don't think it's an accident. And at some point, I don't think we can just be like, well, they can't be this hurt all the time. They've been this hurt for a decade straight.
Sure.
It's not an anomaly at this point. It wouldn't be like if the Chiefs just had an injury-plagued one season outside of 9 very healthy
But they've
seasons.
had all these injuries, and they've still won 9 and 10 games every single year. Talking about the Chargers.
I mean, didn't they win 7 2 years ago? I'd have to go back.
Well, they lost that basically play-in game against the Raiders, remember, 2 years ago for the playoff spot?
Yes.
That Sunday night game or whatever, where everybody thought they were going to take a knee and just agree to tie that whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
That Sunday night game.
Well, they should have done
that. Remember, because the Raiders made the playoffs. And
7
they
and
almost
9,
beat Cincinnati.
9 and 8. 10-7. They've actually gotten better by a game every year.
9-win team, man. That's what the Chargers are. 9-10 win teams.
We should just stop discussing them. They're in the AFC West, and they're the second best team in the AFC West, I think. So, like that part of it, or at least on paper, they are. So, I mean, on that argument, I guess we have to continue to discuss. But this is also this conversation about the Broncos jumping them. The Raiders, they just stink. They stink out loud.
They're going to be one of the 4 or 5 worst teams in football. I think they are 12-1 to have the worst record in football. They're lucky the Cardinals are pretty much going to lock that spot up and be by far the worst team this year.
They stink. I've officially, I don't know when they started this last year, but I am officially today, June 7th, eliminating the Las Vegas Raiders from the playoffs. They can't make it.
Very bold of you.
They're out.
Very, very bold of you to do. Eliminate the Raiders from the playoffs. Yes, I don't think anybody's going to disagree with you there. Yeah.
No, probably not. 100%.
We don't even know who's starting week 1 for them at quarterback.
Not a guarantee that it's Jimmy G, because once again, he's hurt because his body is broken and has failed him many times. But I really do wonder whether or not, like, for as much as we talked last year about this being the most difficult division in football, maybe of all time, it clearly wasn't that. I mean, is this one of the easier ones the Chiefs have had in the last 5 years? They got one absolute laughingstock, and then 2 teams stuck in absolute mediocrity. Just to get to mediocrity, we think Denver has to get better quarterback play, which they're not guaranteed. And that only really guarantees them getting to 8 or 9 wins.
It's probably a balancing act. I mean, heading into last year, we still thought Russell Wilson was one of the better quarterbacks in football, and obviously that's not the case. So they were worse than we thought, which is why we discussed the AFC West maybe being one of the better divisions in a long time. It certainly wasn't that. So now we know, okay, Russell Wilson's not that guy anymore. The Raiders are worse. The Broncos are going to be a little bit better. So compared to last year, I would argue that it probably balances out. The only reason why it seems like, the division's going to be way worse this year than last year, well, it's because last year we had all these expectations about what the division would be. I would argue the division's going to be very similar. The Raiders are going to be worse, the Broncos are going to be a little bit better, and the Chargers are going to be the Chargers. And the Chiefs are going to win 12-plus games like they always do.
They're definitely going to win 12-plus games. Did you see that stat the other day between Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and Patrick Mahomes for their Vegas overs?
I haven't.
They combined, in their entire careers, went under their win total in Vegas 5 times. Combined between all 3 of them in their careers. That's a lot of NFL seasons, and they combined went under 5 times. The Chiefs, by the way, Patrick Mahomes, it's funny to lump him in that because he's gone to his under 0 times. But, I mean, only 2 and 3 for the other 2 quarterbacks, and they played in a combined, like, 35 seasons. So 40 seasons between 3 quarterbacks, and this is how you know that it's elite versus not. Every year, Vegas got to put a number out for them, and every year, if you had just bet your mortgage, Gold, on Tom Brady or Peyton Manning or Patrick Mahomes going over their Vegas win total, you'd be very rich. Very rich over the course of that time. Yeah. Which is why with Mahomes, whatever the number is, I think it's 11.5 right now.
Yeah,
over.
Chiefs 11.5. They've won 12+ in all 5 years, as you said, with Mahomes. The Chargers win totals 9.5 for this year. They've increased their win total in each of the last 4, from 5 in 2019 to 10 in 2022. The Broncos win totals at 8.5. They only scored more than 16 points 5 times last year. And then the Raiders over-under is 7.5, and just love the under on that, by the way. The Raiders, of course, as we mentioned, don't know necessarily what their quarterback situation is going to be.
Real quick before we talk about Liv, I did want to ask you guys a quick question about etiquette as it relates to the interns that we now have working for us.
We do.
So there's
2 interns.
There's a big meeting in the building, so a lot more people here than normal. Scott Parks asked our new intern, JT, hey, who are you? To which he responded, and that's exactly how he asked it. I want to be very clear that Parks, I'm not exaggerating. Parks acted exactly like that. He said, I'm an intern. He said, I don't care what you do. I care who you are. In which he introduced himself. The question I have is, do we have to introduce our intern like you would like a significant other at a company party where it's like, this is Emma?
No.
Okay. They're responsible for themselves?
How else are they going to learn how to like conduct themselves if we are like holding their hands the entire time?
So
I'm a big believer in trial by fire.
It depends on what the setting is. We were just in the open bullpen area, and there were 7 other people out there. Cody doesn't need to go one by one introduce. Now, all of a sudden, if in the room that you guys are in over there in the studio, if somebody else walked in that he hadn't met, and it's just you 3 in that setting, then I think you need to introduce
Well,
him.
yeah.
But no, I still think he should just introduce himself. Hey, I'm JT. I'm an intern.
Well, if he walked in the room, I would probably turn around and say, what's up? Who are you? Like, you know what I mean?
I'm saying right now, if someone that he has not met were to walk in the room right behind you right now and your mic wasn't on, would you enter and say, hey, by the way, this is our intern?
Yes, in that scenario, I would do that.
That's what I'm saying.
But if you're right. If we're in a big open space,
then yeah, that's just
it's like, hey, you want to you got to kind of learn to take care of yourself here.
Did you not like having to introduce him?
No, I just didn't. I don't think I should have to, and I want to make that clear.
You should have been holding his hand while you did it.
Look, I have it on good authority. His dad wrote intern on his lunch today. So
is that true? Wow.
I'm jealous.
That's really embarrassing to admit, but he admitted it.
You get your
I
lunch
like that
made.
about him.
I'm really jealous. You want someone to make me lunch today?
No, he said he made his lunch. He wants to clarify. Oh, JT made his own lunch today.
I thought the intern.
Sounds so little.
Yeah, I thought the intern said that his dad packed his lunch and his dad
I think he just
signed.
wrote intern on his lunch.
JT's mic is on.
This is
JT, this is your first on-air experience, so do not screw this up. But please inform us what you made for yourself for lunch today.
I made a cold ham and turkey American cheese sandwich. I have the Cheeto white cheddar puffs.
Puffs!
And then,
You hear that?
oatmeal cream pie.
You hear that?
All right, Puffs, turn your mic off.
You hear that?
done.
He's got the
You're
puffs.
done. We are Team Crunch. We are Team Crunchy
white
Cheetos on the
cheddar
show.
puffs.
I'm surprised he went white cheddar, but the puffs, there you go, over crunchy.
We've discussed this. You lost.
You
that
didn't
vote.
win, by the way. You're
Now-
not
now
winning
it's-
just because
Now
one
it's
guy.
split. Now it's split. Now we
because
got
the
the
new
youth vote.
intern eats
There's
puffs.
4 of us in the room now. There's 4 of us. The intern. You're saying
half
the
a
intern
vote.
only counts as a half.
Half a vote.
Yeah.
So you're still down 2 to 1.5.
Okay,
that's
okay,
right.
I'll take it. We got the other intern. We'll ask him.
This is like coming into the Big 12. You only get partial rights for a while. You don't actually get full voting.
That's
share.
right. That's right. You got to earn your keep.
The new Big 12. If it's a Power 5 school, though, you get full. You get full increase right away.
right,
so
right.
Well, we're
depends.
the 17th ranked mid-market midday
True.
show. When we get to the 5th ranked, we can call
Fair.
ourselves Power 5.
Fair. Someone says, wait, the interns are in. Well, maybe they stole something. I don't want to have
In
this
fairness,
conversation.
we covered
too
him.
much, but
We
yeah.
covered him earlier. He literally stepped in the
cleared
building after it was empty.
Yeah, that's right. I don't even think neither one of the interns had entered the building at the time of the alleged theft.
Okay, that's fair. All right, so yesterday we obviously knew the big news of the day was around Live Golf and the merger for the PGA Tour and this new global golf entity and Jay Monahan, just one of the most hypocritical people you'll probably ever meet now, considering the circumstances of what he was saying for the past year and a half about Live Golf and where the money was coming from. And then now, all of a sudden, as we all know by now, they have joined forces to form this global golf entity, and essentially Saudi money owns golf worldwide now. Right?
Yeah,
Is that fair to say?
did you see? It's not even fair to say. The further details are they are the only financial backer
Of the new
this
entity.
entire
Yeah.
new entity and has first, as we mentioned yesterday, first right of refusal to buy anything. So they own it. Yes, they own golf worldwide.
And the players
All of it.
finally had the meeting because that's what we were waiting for. We were like,
yeah.
what's the player reaction going to be? And Rory spoke today, and this is how he kind of summed up what happened.
I think that's where I was a little frustrated because all I've wanted to do and all I've wanted, in the past year from basically this tournament is to protect the future of the PGA Tour and protect the aspirational nature of what the PGA Tour stands for. And I hope that this does that, but, I think with the headlines being merges with Live, like that's not if you look at the structure of how it's structured down, this new company sits above everything. Jay's the CEO of that, so technically anyone that is involved with Live now would answer to Jay. So, the PGA Tour have control of everything, and the one thing as well is, whether you like it or not, the PIF are going to keep spending money in golf. At least the PGA Tour now controls how that money is spent. So if you're thinking about one of the biggest sovereign wealth funds in the world, would you rather have them as a partner or an enemy? At the end of the day, money talks, and you'd rather have them as a partner.
It's one of those where it's like, you may not like it, it may suck, and everybody has every right to be pissed off. Certainly that's part of the tour, considering they never got a single heads up. The report was there was only 3 or 4 people in the room that actually were negotiating this deal, and it wasn't even one single player representative at all. This was all done backdoor dealings, essentially.
Because they knew how it would go over.
I would argue, though, that some of the biggest deals in business history have happened between very small groups of people and behind closed doors, because usually that's what it takes to get deals done of this magnitude.
Well, yeah, because
And-
the public outcry over
Right.
this stuff would have been
But it doesn't mean they're bad.
I still think
it
they got
doesn't-
stabbed in the
It doesn't
back.
mean they're bad deals. Again, we got to separate the hey, they got screwed personally, and they have every personal reason to be pissed off. That no argument whatsoever.
Which Rory admitted. He said he felt
Yeah,
like he was the sacrificial lamb.
But also, because they're dealing with this privately funded Saudi group, for all we know, Rory is getting a fat check worth hundreds of millions of dollars to toe the line here.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think the one thing that's going to be interesting down the road, fast forward 5 years from now, every single golfer, because of this deal, is going to make more money. And I know we can say, like, it's not all about money. Yeah, it'd be great to think that money doesn't matter and money doesn't talk. Because if it didn't, a lot of deals wouldn't happen. A lot of things would be different in this world. Unfortunately, this is just another example of money does talk. And so I think these players, as time goes on, their outrage will dwindle because they're all going to make more money. I mean, they are going to make more money with this new setup. That is going to happen based off of this new global golf entity and being for profit and now not having to spend resources fighting the Live Tour or any of that kind of stuff. I mean, it is long-term going to make everybody more money.
They caved because they couldn't fight the fight. The reports were that they were afraid they were going to lose the antitrust suit. The pockets were 400 times deeper on the other side, and they caved. They caved. And look, I would be concerned. I've told you I'd still be concerned if I were another sports league. What stops them from taking over a lot of sports? Look, I said that like maybe they can start a competing league. What just stops them from spending twice as much as anyone to buy a Major League Baseball team? Because you're telling me like, well, I don't know if they just sell to anybody. Yeah, they would.
Well, the owners wouldn't approve.
Yes, they would. If it was triple the amount, we just saw the PGA sell its soul after saying this is bad for 9/11 victims.
How did John Sherman benefit from that?
Yeah, I just told you that 4 or 5 people negotiated this deal. We know that you need basically all the owners
30
to approve a deal. So it is different. It is different. If you're talking like
same way you just said with Rory. There's hush money involved in all of this, Nick. If they said, well, because it inflates the property value of anything they own. If a team that is supposed to sell for $2 billion sells for 10 to the Saudis, why wouldn't they take their money? You're saying because the PGA just did it. There's a really good evidence of people just taking
like
the
business
money.
from a business. Like if you look at both of those as businesses, the PGA is structured in such a unique way. Like Major League Baseball used to be a nonprofit. The PGA Tour up until yesterday was a nonprofit, and they had to surrender their nonprofit status in order to do this. And that will, to Gold's point, that will end up being good for the sport. That will end up being good for the tour the same way it was good for baseball.
By the way, Rory still admitted that he hates them.
I still hate Live. Like, I hate Live. Like, I hope it goes away, and I would fully expect that it does. And I think that's where the distinction here is. This is the PGA Tour, the DP World Tour, and the PIF. Very different from Live. All I've tried to do is protect what the PGA Tour is and what the PGA Tour stands for, and I think it will continue to do that. So, look, going forward, I hope that there's, there may be a team element, and you're going to see maybe me, maybe whoever else play in some sort of team golf, but I don't think it'll look anything like Live has looked, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think the Live Tour is done. I just think they're going to do more team stuff eventually. Like, not just the Ryder Cup.
No, the future eventually to me is they've gotten what they've want, and they'll eventually, over like 5 years, like, just Live will just go away.
And
you
to
won't
that point,
recognize that.
To that point, I don't think Live ever had any intentions of being a golf league that would be around forever. They accomplished their goal.
To buy golf.
Live was never supposed to be the new golf league. It was just supposed to do exactly what they accomplished yesterday.
It's a brilliant move. Honestly, I know we can hate where it's coming from. We can hate the human rights issues that present itself, which are very evident. But from a business end, it was a genius move. They got a seat at the table now. And not just a seat at the table. They got the whole boardroom, essentially.
They bought the building.
Yeah.
Just like they own it all.
The one thing that's interesting, what happens to the golfers that did leave, this real quick is what Rory had to say about that he thinks there has to be consequences for guys like Koepka and others that left.
There still has to be consequences to actions. The people that left the PGA Tour irreparably harmed this tour, started litigation against it. Like, we can't just welcome them back in. Like, that's not going to happen. And I think that was the one thing that Jay was trying to get across yesterday is like, guys, we're not just going to bring these guys back in and pretend like nothing's happened. Like, that is not going to happen.
That's rich from Jay Monahan, who's pretending like nothing happened before.
I want to know what that looks like, though, because as we were saying yesterday, if it's just a $250,000 fine, okay, whoop-de-doo. Like, who cares? These guys just got $50 million, $100 million. Oh, man, $250,000 fine. Like, I don't know what they can do.
It's like a scarlet letter. You have to wear a pin.
And I want to make one thing clear as well. Rory has made this clear. I think it was like about a month ago where he said, like, I don't view all the Live players in the same pool. And what he's basically saying is the guys that we hate now are the same guys we hated before. I.e., you want to do some quick deduction? Phil Mickelson,
Brooks.
Patrick Reed. No, I don't think the guys have a problem with Brooks or with Dustin Johnson. I think it's the same dudes they hated before. You know why? Because Patrick Reed's a huge douchebag. Like, they don't like him. And then, yes, he was involved in the lawsuit against the PGA Tour, as was Phil Mickelson. I don't feel like they're lumping all of the live guys into one group.
This is one of the biggest business sports stories
It's
ever.
definitely not even just a sports story. It goes well beyond sports as well. It's fascinating, and this is, I mean, to your point though a little bit, Cody, you were talking about like what it could mean for other leagues. I disagree with you. Obviously, that could impact maybe the NFL or baseball, but where it is happening, we just saw in Saudi Arabia, there are soccer teams of Saudi Arabian Soccer League. They purchase the same fund purchase 4 of the teams there, and they've already got Ronaldo on one of the teams. They're trying to get other soccer stars.
They were trying to get Messi, who's now going to Miami, but yeah.
But yeah, so I mean that stuff is happening. I don't think it's going to be shouldn't be this panic that all of a sudden you're going to have, oh my gosh, the NFL is going to have some competitor and they're just going to force the NFL to welcome them part of the table. I don't think so.
It might take time, but I don't think I ever thought that they were going to completely eliminate the PGA as we knew it and then just buy it for themselves.
That's fair. And that's fair. I just
that's
think
a massive entity.
And that's very fair. Nobody saw this coming either. But I think individual sport way different than 53-man rosters and trying to get stars from that sport to go over. All right, we'll talk more about this a little bit later on in the show. Up next, thinking of football, thinking of the Kansas City Chiefs. We think we know their identity and the clear shift the Chiefs are trying to make defensively, but is that the right path in 2023? We'll discuss that next.
Cody and Gold.
Would I rather have my ween slammed in a car door? Or would I rather have my fingernails ripped off with a pair of needle-nose pliers? I don't know. I can't decide.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
Let me remind you once again why 2 years ago I made a phone call to DuraVision. Yeah, I was sick of wearing contacts. I was sick of dealing with glasses, remembering the contact solution on a vacation over the summertime. All of that, I don't have to worry about anymore because I did make that phone call to DuraVision, and now I just wake up and see every single day. Let me tell you again what that whole consultation looks like. It's a free in-depth consultation, and then you're going to have a personalized treatment plan. During that visit, you'll meet with one of their experienced doctors who can discuss your results along with a custom recommendation for treatment, and then you have a procedure. It was about 16 seconds in each eye for me, and the very next day, I was driving right back here to 610 Sports Radio, and now I just wake up and see without contacts or glasses every single day. Give them a call at 913-491-3330 or go online to DuraVision.com, and you can schedule that free consultation. They'll even do it virtually if you need to as well over Zoom. That's 913-491-3330 or online at DuraVision.com.
Hi, I'm Andrew Mackey, an instructor at Centric and an Army veteran. If you're transitioning from active duty or already a veteran and aren't quite sure of your next steps, Centric is a great option for your future. You can use the problem-solving and leadership skills you gained in the military towards a new, exciting career in IT in just 4 months. If you've been looking for a way to get started in the IT field, put your GI Bill to work and start your new career in IT. Go to centric.com/610 for more information. That's CENTRIQ.com/610.
Well, the NBA playoffs are coming to a close, and it's almost time to crown a champion. And FanDuel wants you to be part of the excitement. Right now, new customers can get a no-sweat first bet that's good for up to $2,500. That's $2,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. Do all this on an app that's safe, secure, super easy to use, and what you care most about is you get paid instantly when you win. There's no better place to bet the NBA Finals action than with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. Visit FanDuel.com/CDOT and get that no-sweat first bet that's good for up to $2,500. That's FanDuel.com. Use my promo code CDOT. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA and of 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Refund issued to non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. FanDuel is offering online sports betting and Candace under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem. Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit KansasGamblingHelp.com.
Right now at Diamonds Direct, whether you buy a $3,000 diamond pendant or a $30,000 designer ring, you can spread your payments up to 5 years. Or if you prefer, you can get on-the-spot savings as much as $5,000. And everything's included. Exquisite diamond rings, earrings, bands, bracelets. It's our best offer of all time. You can pick a low monthly payment for up to 5 years or get instant savings up to $5,000. Don't miss this amazing offer. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Get details and more at diamondsdirect.com on approved credit.
Hey guys, Beat Up here from Fesco in the Morning. Made that life-changing call to Slim for Life. It's time to take off all this unwanted weight that I battled for so many years. I sat down with Leanne and her staff and was absolutely blown away by the support and encouragement that I received from all of them. Went over the program, and let me tell you, this is going to be the permanent solution that I've been looking for as I'm getting all the tools and instructions that I need to be slim for life. Are you ready to make that lifestyle change and lose up to 3 to 5 pounds each and every week? Everyone deserves to feel good, have energy to do things that you love, like get out on the basketball court, play pickleball, whatever it is. Live in the body you've always pictured for yourself. It's time to keep that promise to yourself. It all starts with your free consultation. Right now, you get 90 days for only $90 and lose up to 60 pounds. All services included, exclusive of products. Call 833-SLIM today. That's 833-754-6863, or schedule it online at slim4life.com. Tell them Beat Up from 610 Sports sent you.
The Dell Technologies Summer Sale event is on with limited quantity deals on top tech. Save on select PCs powered by the latest Intel Core processors like Thin and Light XPS 13 laptops, Inspiron laptops, and 2-in-1s. Plus, get savings on select accessories, free shipping, and monthly payment options with Dell Preferred Account. It's the perfect season to power your passions during Dell's Summer Sale event. Save today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. Offered to U.S. residents by WebBank, who determines qualifications for and terms of credit.
Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year, which means... Wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer.
Go ahead.
Did I read that right? Discover automatically doubles all your cash back?
Yeah, that's what the script says.
So if I get a Discover card right now, I can earn twice the cash back.
Apparently. Wait! Unlimited first-year cash back match, only from Discover. See terms and learn more at discover.com/match.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
Royals baseball is in full swing.
That ball is gone. It's a home run by Vinny Pasquantino.
With the free Odyssey app, local fans can listen live all summer long, whether you're at the grill or at the pool.
Looks up and it's gone. MJ Melendez hits a solo homer over the right center field fence.
Royals baseball. Royals announcers. Streaming live on the free Odyssey app. AUDACY. Get in the game and download it today.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
This report is brought to you by KC Customs. We put the customs in KC. KC-Customs.com. Drive a truck? Need quality accessories? Professionally installed? Think KC Customs. We have bed covers, step bars, toolboxes, fender flares, level kits, lift kits, huge wheel and tire selection at KC's best prices. KC Customs. We are trucks.
All right, just getting started here on a Wednesday. It's Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Nick Schwartz with you. We'll get to Nick's notable notes coming up in about 12 minutes or so. You guys could always hit us up on the J Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7910. 6:10. We'll get to something here in about 6 minutes or so that the NBA is trying to make happen, and will it happen for other sports as well? And does it make sense in the United States to go with this format? Cody and I differ on it. I think it's a great idea. But before we get to that, let's talk some Chiefs football, because I think it's pretty standard in today's day and age of the NFL. If you're creating defensive identity, other than this, we're going to be a tough football team and all this, and
tough in the trenches
and opportunistic.
Yeah.
Get after the quarterback, duh, right? Like, build a defensive line with edge rushers.
But everyone can't
rushers.
do that.
Correct. And the Chiefs, you think that they're trying to do a little bit of both, or at least leaning more into one end than we think.
So I think that they've started to make the transition to try to make the defensive line their identity, right? They've clearly started to value those picks earlier in the draft. They've taken back-to-back first-round picks. We think they'll give Chris Jones a ton of money, but if not, they gave Frank Clark that money. But I think that as of right now, it's fairly obvious their defensive identity lies in the backfield. That is where they are their best. That is where they can do the most damage. They're deeper at corner. They're way deeper at safety than they are in the defense. Hell, they're deeper in linebacker than they are on the defensive line at times. Everyone after the defensive line, I could argue, is a more stable, more predictable group than what we're seeing on the defensive line. And really my question is, if for some reason the defensive line, I'm not saying they're not trying. I think they're trying to head towards that, like every other team, Gold, by the drafts of Karlaftis and Uzama, and maybe if they get something with Chris Jones, or hell, even next year, probably their first-round pick to be a defensive lineman. But in the meantime, if that group comes up a little bit short, can you survive in the NFL with the defensive backfield being your identity? Because that's clearly where they have put a lot of resources and have a lot of talent.
Well, it's weird. So they put draft resources there, but if anything, for a while, the story, and it still is until maybe they give a deal to Snead, they don't actually invest long-term into that position.
No, they put a lot of other resources.
They use draft resources, but they're not, other than prior to the McDuffie trade-up, it wasn't first-round picks, really.
No, they were just better at identifying them in the 4th and 6th and 5th and 7th.
And the coaching staff did a great job at developing these players, and certainly last year was another example where they had multiple young corners, and Williams and Watson, obviously, that were able to have immediate impacts, probably more so than they ever thought they could based on the McDuffie injury. They were forcing the action. It ended up paying off big time for them when everybody was back and healthy come playoff time, that they had all this experience there. So I don't know if they haven't gone out and signed a massive free agent contract for a corner. They weren't willing to give one to Charvarius Ward. We'll find out if they're willing to give one to L'Jarius Sneed before the season or after the season or not. I get what you're saying, which is that you feel like there's more depth there. That 100%.
It's where there's been more depth for years.
There's more depth there. But I would argue, how many teams, though, would even the what we consider the elite pass rushing defensive line units, other than Philly, which was an outlier, historically great, by the way, when you look at their sack numbers.
The second highest ever.
I don't know many teams that you go and say, oh, yeah, they got this guy. When this guy gets hurt, they got another guy. Like, the defensive line is never going to be, because of how hard it is to find edge rushers, you're never going to have 4 of them. The Eagles are the exception to that rule.
Do you think in the modern...
Chiefs had a guy, and Chris Jones had 15.5 sacks on their defensive line, ended up, third in sacks this past year, something like that? In the entire league, finished in the top 3 of Defensive Player of the Year voting. They had a rookie in Karlaftis that had 6.5 sacks, and they finished top 3 in sacks in general. So, yes, they're deeper.
Just Bosa and Hassan Reddick above him.
Okay. So they're deeper in other areas, but I still think the defensive line and getting after the quarterback last year, that was a huge part of their identity.
Yeah, but I'm not disagreeing that last year it was, but the year before they were 30th. And I understand that. I think there's just a little bit more movement in it, and I think that they are trying to work towards that. Because, Gold, we've said
And they just spent 2 years in a row.
They definitely want that to be their identity. But let's just face the reality that over the last 5 years, that's not been the case. Really, what the question I have is like, if they have to, like if they fall back to middle of the pack, 15th, 17th in sacks, which is not crazy because last year they were second and the year before they were 30th. So for some reason, they're just in the middle. And they're 15th in the NFL. Can you, in 2023, have your defensive identity be the backfield? The only other team I remember trying that over the last 5 years was Miami, when they spent tons of money on corner, and it didn't go great.
The answer is no.
Maybe if you have a mediocre pass rush.
The answer is no, and I don't think that's. Yeah, I don't think
it's a long-term goal. I'm just saying, I think there's a chance that they might have to rely on that group a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a cop-out, but obviously there's always a good balance to that. But, I mean, unless you have Sauce Gardner or back in the day when you had, we don't have as many shut-down corners in this league.
Honestly, the league doesn't have that anymore, which is why I just don't think, people are going towards that model. Which, look, if everyone's pulling, there's got to be different ways to do it. Everyone can't just tug at the same rope, right? Every team can't say, we're going to be the best in the defensive line. Tough. That doesn't work that way. Some people are going to have to be the best at outside linebacker or the best at safety or have the best defensive backfield in the damn NFL and just decide that for the times we don't get pressure, we're going to be in that guy's hip pocket. And we're going to make it a challenge in a different way. And it feels like for the last few years, because there hasn't been enough defensive line talent in the draft or they haven't drafted well enough, it is cheaper to build a secondary. Way cheaper to build safeties and linebackers. Anyone in the back part of it's way cheaper. That's why you found starting linebackers in each of the second rounds and starting safeties in the second and third rounds or whatever.
I just think in today's NFL, especially with the lack of true shutdown corners, and even if there's a handful, even if McDuffie turns out to be one of those really, really special corners, and he certainly has a chance to be that, with the way the rules are set up in the league now, with the quarterbacks that you're going to certainly face in the AFC on a regular basis, it, to me, has to be through getting to the quarterback. And we know, at least under Spags, it's not just the defensive line. Of course, a majority comes from there, but sometimes it does come from the secondary. Guys like L'Jarius Sneed, sometimes it's going to come from
their pass rush definitely has a secondary flair to it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think you could have a great secondary, but if you can't get after the quarterback, that doesn't matter.
In NFL, in borderline doesn't matter.
This day and age, when you're going up against Herbert twice a year, and you're going up against Josh Allen every year, and Joe Burrow every year, and now Aaron Rodgers, or at least for another year or two in the AFC, you can go on down the list of the quarterbacks in the AFC. You got to get after the quarterback, plain and simple. And so, I think the Chiefs clearly recognize that with the draft capital they just put in the last 2 years, first-round picks. This year, Felix Anudike-Uzomah. We'll see what he ends up being. Karlaftis last year, and then maybe we're going to see that investment in Chris Jones with a $100+ million extension, maybe, in the next month or so.
I'm still like 75-25 that happens. I'm still feeling confident that happens. I don't know if your number's changed.
Yeah, I can't remember what number I gave last week. Let's put whatever the number I gave you last week. I don't know, maybe it was 75 or 80. I don't remember. It hadn't changed because I think I
hasn't gone up or down yet.
We got to get to mid-July before I'm like, okay, all right, we're about to head up to St. Joe, and there's nothing. That's when you get a little more concerned, but. Nothing can happen in June, and I don't really doesn't faze me one bit. Because, again, Quentin Williams also doesn't have a deal yet.
And we know he's going to get one.
We'll get to Nick's notable notes in just a couple of minutes. We know the NBA playoffs and NBA finals, for that matter, are going on. Game 2 had Miami even up the series. Game 3 tonight down in Miami. And Adam Silver was talking before that game and had mentioned that they're going to have the new in-season tournament starting up. And you and I think, completely differ on this, but I love it. I love tournaments. I think this is something that should be utilized in sports more. Listen to what Adam Silver had to say about the details with it.
Yeah, I think the notion there, it's like taking a page from international soccer where they have other things to compete for, not just, in our case, the Larry O'Brien Trophy. So we're actually taking, for the most part, a series of games, regular season games, and we're designating those as tournament games, kind of like what they do in European soccer. And so those games will count both for the regular season and for this in-season tournament. And then the 4 teams that are still standing will come together and we'll go to a neutral site. We haven't designated that site yet. Okay. And then they'll play for a separate, in essence, a separate trophy. And it'll be a new tradition. It'll probably take a little bit while to get it going. But, I think what you guys know in this league, it's a long season to play for one championship at the end, and it's not going to replace the Larry O'Brien Trophy, but it's our hope that, just like in college, there's a lot of, there's a Thanksgiving tournament or a holiday tournament, and guys who play in those tournaments, they care about winning. It's not a replacement for the NCAA tournament, but it's to give a little bit more, something more special, a little bit more incentive around those games.
So these are the weaker teams or the better teams?
It's every team is competing. Every team is competing.
Well, okay, so we already got the load management issue, okay? Why would I risk, if I'm one of the teams who are trying to win the Larry O'Brien Trophy, what's in it for me to play in that tournament? We already having a hard time getting these guys to play.
It's an absolutely fair question. We've talked to players a lot about it. First of all of the games except for the games also count towards the regular season. Okay. So you have the same incentive to care about your record. And there's prize money, and it's significant. Yeah, so there's a financial incentive, too, to compete.
So they're not adding more games. I love the idea. And look, I'm not trying to tell you that, man, that trophy we won in February is, no, who gives a damn? And for a while, nobody really, maybe one day down the road it'll mean something. No, I don't care about the trophy. That's not what I think is cool about it. I don't care that you won the NCAA.
Yeah, let me for a second be the, get off the lawn, participation trophy. This is a participation trophy.
I don't care about the trophy. For me, it is, as Adam Silver said, 82 games already. We're not adding games. We're not taking games away. Already playing 82. It's way too damn long of a season. If I'm a fan of another team where my team also doesn't have a chance to win a Larry O'Brien Trophy that year, there is a week-long stretch, let's just say, 2-week-long stretch, where those games seem to mean a little bit more. Like, it gives me some intrigue, some reason to watch a random January or February NBA basketball game. I love this. Heck, baseball, where we're playing 162 damn games, way too long. I know they expanded the postseason. If you told me from Memorial Day till the middle of June there was this random tournament and the players could make some more money and there were some other incentives with it, I would be more likely as a fan, especially when my baseball team is the worst or second worst team in baseball right now. Thank you, Kansas City Royals. I would be into that for 2 weeks.
I wouldn't care at all. And honestly, I think
you're fine with the format of the amount of games anyway.
With baseball, I'd like less. Oh, I'd like less. Than 162? No, they can definitely go less than that.
To make it seem like less.
Will it? I mean, I get it for like the really bad teams who are already out of it. Like, let's say you designate 10
Royals?
games that count as a tournament, and the Royals, for whatever reason, in those baseball games, finish 7-3. No one is going to care about that trophy. You can't flex that in front of anyone.
It's not about the trophy, man. I'm not buying a T-shirt that says in-season tournament champs. I promise you. You know I'm a T-shirt guy.
Yeah, dude, I'm worried. I'm worried a little bit that you'd be like, play-in tournament champs.
You know that.
Throwing parades, going to the White House. I don't think so.
Going to the White House. No, but
come on.
It's about just giving some more intrigue for a 2-week period in a very long season where the season is, as we know, in Kansas City, it happens a lot. The season's over very quickly when it comes to baseball. And they're doing this in the NBA.
I know in soccer they do this a lot. Like the U.S. Open Cup, that's something that Sporting has won, but is not the MLS title, but they put it up on their wall and they spray paint it and they make it a bigger deal. I think the reason why it works in European soccer is the exact reason why it won't work here. Because they don't care about the playoffs under normal circumstances. So creating a playoff thing is making them different. Because if you're the best team the entire time, you're the champ. The end. If you're Manchester United and you were the best team the entire year, you're the champ. There's no tournament. You played that whole season to prove yourself the champ. They're adding this is like little sideshowy thing. We already do tournaments. Every league does it. They're called the playoffs. We do them in every sport. I just feel like it works better in their model than it does on the U.S.
We're going to find out. I mean,
they're going to give it a try.
I saw someone, and Charles Barkley asked the question, and also the text line said none of the superstars are going to play. Again, they're not adding more in the midseason tournament. So the superstars are just going to take 2 weeks off?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think they're going to be any, is it enough? He says it's significant. So is it enough money that they're more likely to play in these? And you choose them against bad teams so that they're more likely to play against the Pelicans or something?
But it's not, one, you're right. There is a bonus involved. But take the money out for a second. I'm just telling you, they're just not going to play.
They're going to not play the same amount they were playing before.
82 games. Players don't play 82 games that are stars anyway. You're correct. It's not going to be even less with the tournament. They're not adding games, taking away. Unless you're telling me, hey, they're going to have a tournament for 2.5 weeks, and LeBron's just going to kick it for 2.5 weeks. That's not happening. Come on now. He's going to miss some games during the tournament probably, just like they do already. Yeah. It's not going to be any more.
I get the idea of adding an incentive to, because Charles what, you're going to let the losers in here? That's pretty much what he said. You're going to let these crappy teams claim some championship in the middle? But at least you would know, the one thing I would say for baseball, or if they did this in another sport, that at least makes it intriguing to me is if there's something on the line, can you come up? So the Royals are terrible this year. Let's say that it's July and they're in the middle of this tournament. They're actually in and they play in the championship game of this mid-season tournament. Their regular season is lost and they're playing the championship. At least if they have $100,000 on the line and they're forced to get hits in big moments, at least I can learn something. That's
kind of what's happening. I mean, it sounds like in the NBA model, they're going to have bonuses. Heck, I would even, if we're talking just baseball.
Baseball should go to 120 games, but they're never going to do that.
Sure. We know, in minor leagues, we know there's split season. There's 2 seasons in minor league baseball.
You can make the postseason if you play in the earlier part.
I mean, that's going way down a different conversation. I wouldn't mind that
I'd
in baseball.
I'd be way more intrigued by that.
I also still think if you told me there was a tournament and all of a sudden the 3-week tournament allowed the winner gets one wild card spot or something, I wouldn't hate that either.
If you told me if we got to game 81 and your record didn't matter anymore and half the teams that are in the playoffs are in and now you're playing for your other playoff spots the rest of the way, love it. Because while this would be a very tough team, Gold, to convince yourself had any chance in the second half of the season, at least there's hope a second time. In an 162-game season to hit June 7th and not care.
Is Jordan Lyles pitching in the tournament?
He's pitching tonight.
Oh, boy. Okay.
They're just 0-12 in his starts this year. It's no big deal.
Gotcha. That's going really well.
Gotta write something down.
Nick's notable notes.
All right, guys, let's talk about a hot button issue here today on Nick's notable notes. Hope you guys are ready to get controversial. So earlier today, a memo was sent out from Jason Stahl. Are you familiar with his work?
I am not.
Let me tell you about him. Well, I don't even know what his title is, but he is with the College Football Players Association.
Okay.
And Gold, I think this is going to be particularly difficult news for you to handle.
Oh, okay.
He is urging college football players to boycott participation in the EA Sports college football video game set to come out next year.
Why?
Well, as has
That'll
been the
ban
theme
it
of
all over again.
As has been the theme of the day, Cody, money. So here is what is being offered. I think it was last month that came out that they were offering $500 to any player who decides to opt in and allow their image and likeness to be used in the video game. $500, right? Just to be in a video game.
Not bad.
And I think
Just lay in the cut.
And the big selling point for EA Sports, as we know, is a bit of a sham, is but you get to be in a video game, right? Isn't that cool? Isn't this a great opportunity? Of course it is. Especially if you're backup left tackle, left guard, you're a walk-on. Are you kidding me?
And you're playing at some small D1 school. You're in the damn video game.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Now for Caleb Williams, $500 is nothing to be in a video game because he is one of the most marketable college athletes alive. Now you start to kind of think okay, what is this? What is their real market value? Because at the end of the day, that's all any of us are looking to get in any business opportunity. What am I worth? Pay me what I'm worth. The last time we saw a college football video game was 2014, and that sold over 1 million copies at $60 a pop. You can do the math pretty quickly as to how big this operation is. At 500, there's about 15,000 college football players. At 500 a pop, you're talking about 7 million and change. So I ask you guys,
fraction, yeah.
Is $500 blanket across the board? Is that a fair value for these college football players to be in this video game?
I just think yes, because I just think that there's only so high of a number you can go to across the board. I think it'd be a little bit easier if each player negotiated it individually, but here's the problem.
Way too many. You can't do that.
It's way too many. Yeah, it's too messy. But I think that, or even if you just said, well, we'll take the top 100 players for Heisman odds and we'll negotiate with them separately. Again, too complicated. So you just have to decide a number. Do you want to be in this video game or not? And if not, we're going to call you something that sounds like it's going to be something that seems like Caleb Williams with your number, and just know that we're going to make this game editable, and someone's going to make your name Caleb Williams.
Well, they'll probably just do the number thing, which is what we've had, and then people can edit the rosters. But in the game, they'll just do numbers, unless they're going to go the Barry Bonds route. John Dowd,
number 15.
Remember John Dowd in the MVP baseball game? Bonds didn't want to be.
Hell yeah.
Bill Belichick still doesn't let his likeness be used in Madden. You know that, right?
Dude,
it's just some random coach.
Who else is notorious for that? Charles Barkley. I don't think Charles Barkley has.
Chuck wasn't in the NBA live stuff.
I don't think so.
Really?
And even now with the 2K games, they have all of the classic teams. I don't believe that he has ever appeared in one of those games. So there are guys who just take stances for whatever reason. I would say this, as we know in these sorts of negotiations, it's all about who has the leverage. And I would argue that the value of this game and the interest for me, if I know I have to sit there and go in and add all the players, if I know it's not going to actually look like Caleb Williams, I'll buy the game no matter what. I'm going to make it very clear.
Yes.
But the game is much more attractive if I know I'm going to load up Kansas and I've got Jalen Daniels, number 6, as my quarterback.
No doubt. Yeah. I mean, we all went and edited rosters as kids trying to play the game. But
Ken Griffey Jr. Baseball, same thing. Of the 90s on Super Nintendo, they just all teams had themes. The Royals were all named presidents, but you could go in there and edit them.
Right.
And I'd get out the box score from a newspaper and literally put in every player, because they'd make them kind of look like them, or they'd give them some likeness or whatever. Nick, enough are going to agree that it's going to feel like a vastly different game than the last time anyway.
Yeah, but I would just say that, you're talking about On3, who they report a lot of stuff on NIL deals, college recruiting, stuff like that. They have reported that the player pool, the cash pool that EA Sports is operating with for the players is about $5 million, which I would argue, it's not an insignificant amount of money. I would also argue it's a fraction of what they are going to make off that game. They're going to make probably north of $100 million on this game because the fervor for a game that has not been around in nearly a decade is going to be there.
This is funny. This just feels like the real thing. Shocking news, business would like to keep its money for business things. I'm not surprised by that. They can hold out, that's fine, but I think it just kind of sucks because we've never had an EA game that actually could have the players in it. And the very first time, they're going to be like, no. Honestly, EA probably should just double it and say 1,000, but
that's just not how
I don't know if that's going to move the needle either.
That's just not how.
No, and I think
works.
this too.
Like all of a sudden, if you found out that the company you were working for had this new massive investment, and they were also.
I can't just go to Specs office and say, "Pay me double. You have more money now."
It just doesn't.
I want more.
They don't just give everybody. I mean, they just all of a sudden can give everybody raises tomorrow.
But I think so. Here's what I think will happen. I think some of the top end guys, like the more marketable guys that Cody's, like, that's the barometer. The guys who Cody can name in college football, those are the
Drake
guys.
Mays of the world.
Those are the guys I
will.
can see holding out. Whereas I think 90% of college football players are going to take $500 and say this is awesome.
Yes.
But if I'm Caleb Williams or Arch Manning, I may say, you know what, I'm worth way more than that, and I don't want to sell myself
That's fine.
short.
I can
because
edit
those
one
guys
name.
are making. By the way, those guys are already making six figures in NIL deals, so they probably don't care.
That's fine. I can go and edit one name or whatever. I don't care. If I got to add in.
I just need like 85% of it to be the way. If I got to change like 10 players on the roster, so what?
Because when you're playing with Jaden Daniels
Jaden Daniels?
When you're playing with him at
LSU.
And when you're playing with Michael Penix Jr. at
Washington?
Then you're set.
And you're playing with Bo Nix at
That's still
Bo
the one.
Nix
That's still the one that keeps getting me.
I mean, you've had like 7 tries.
You know, it's like I don't
commit that to memory.
I don't know what it is about that one in particular.
That should be the easiest one because he was really good last year too.
And he's played for 2 big programs.
Oregon.
There you go.
Wow.
Was that right?
Yeah.
Oh man, first 3 for 3.
And by the way, don't act so proud of yourself, okay? Like I know this is a big moment for you, but you should have got this one a long time ago.
Yeah. I had to really think. The first thing I always think about Nix is Auburn, and I have to really backtrack in my brain.
And Travion Henderson?
Ooh, not.
Or Blake Corum. I'll take either one of them. And
Blake
they play
Corum.
for. And they
We've
play.
helped you on Blake Corum.
And they play for rivals.
Yeah, we'll have to come back. I've got 3.
Okay, what's the biggest rivalry in college football?
Florida or Georgia and Alabama?
Right, yeah, fair enough.
You know what? Just go to hell.
They're in the Big Ten, Cody. They're in the Big Ten, and they got
Ohio State and Michigan?
There you go. Blake Corum plays for Michigan. All right, coming up next. So thinking of massive rivalries there, you got the great stadiums between those 2 schools as well. And building stadiums in professional sports might be getting tougher. We'll explain next.
Cody and Gold.
Hey, it's Vinny Pasquantino. Even though I have a real beef with Nick, tune in to Cody and Gold weekdays starting at 10 o'clock right here on 610 Sports Radio.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
Use a BetMGM bonus bet to place your next wager on any game in any sport. To receive your bonus bet, simply log into your BetMGM account every Saturday and Wednesday between May 13th and June 21st to bet on any game of your choice. Then add the type of bet on any game to your bet slip and activate your bonus bet. There is no deposit or additional wager required. Want even more BetMGM action? Enjoy the best daily promotions, live betting options, and the all-new signature bets only at BetMGM. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly and offer resources to help you make appropriate choices. Promotion may differ per customer. BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years and physically present in Kansas to bet. Existing customers offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Bonus bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700 in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Join in on the fun at the other place with 3 great Kansas City locations. Shawnee, Olathe, downtown Overland Park. The other place has a great patio, live music, incredible food, awesome drink specials, and you can watch the playoffs and your favorite baseball team. The other place is your place for summer fun.
Some gifts have lasting significance. That's what I love about fine jewelry from Shane Company. It holds so much meaning. At Shane Company, we have gifts for every occasion. Fine jewelry crafted with attention to detail and made to last. For an upcoming birthday, get a stylish necklace with their birthstone. It's a wonderful gift because it lets them know how special they are to you. A diamond tennis bracelet makes a great gift for an anniversary. At Shane Company, we hand match the stones for consistency and have options in every price range. Do you have a graduate in your family? A gift of fine jewelry is a constant reminder of how proud you are of their accomplishments, and it's something they can wear every day. And don't forget, Father's Day is June 18th. Make Dad feel extra stylish with a new gold chain or a beaded bracelet. Visit us today or shop online at shaneco.com and get free express shipping. Your gift of fine jewelry will be cherished forever.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Hello, I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. I'm so proud that we've helped over 15,000 businesses claim over $5 billion in cash incentives. If you own a business, even if you've asked your CPA about this, you owe it to yourself to take another look. Every client is assigned a licensed and insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to accurately determine eligibility. Innovation Refunds has hundreds of 5-star reviews on Trustpilot and Google, and your business might be entitled to receive up to $26,000 per employee. Businesses of all types can qualify, including medical, professional, construction, even nonprofits. Please don't miss out on this. Even your doctor would tell you to get an expert second opinion, and we do a lot of work for doctors. Download the Innovation Refunds app now or go to getrefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of $26,000 per employee. GetRefunds.com. GetRefunds.com.
Hey, this is Rex with KC Real Estate Buyers, and I buy houses for cash. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, grab a pencil. I'm going to give you a very important phone number in 40 seconds. I'm a private real estate investor. I live right here in KC, and I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at KC Real Estate Buyers, we are improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind-in-payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000. Or go to rexbuyskc.com. That's rexbuyskc.com. And I look forward to working with you.
Meet Joe A, Joe B, and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect. Support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase. Make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Anywhere fans go to cheer on their team, there are behind-the-scenes MVPs, ensuring everything is game day ready. We see you, Joe, fixing seats so every fan can enjoy every game. And Allie, who keeps her stadium running smoothly from the moment the first game starts to the last play of the season. At Grainger, you're our MVPs, and we're always here for you with supplies and solutions for every industry and 24/7 customer support. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What's worse than calling or growing your junk? Treating it like junk. Respect your pubic region with Gillette Intimate. Gentle and easy pubic hair care from America's #1 trusted men's grooming brand. Gillette, the best a man can get. Buy now at a retailer near you.
At Lowe's, we're always bringing pros more ways to save. Right now, get the new and exclusive Little Giant A-frame 6-foot stepladder for an everyday low price of $129.98. Plus, at Lowe's, count on getting the quantities you need when you need them. From drywall to lumber, roofing to concrete, wires to connectors. Find it all in one stop. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last, see sales associate for details, excluding Alaska and Hawaii.
The classic Kentucky Fried Chicken Sandwich. Crispy chicken, 100% white meat with crunchy pickles and mayo. It might just be the best KFC chicken sandwich.
Oh, don't forget KFC Spicy Chicken Sandwich. It brings the heat.
Also very good.
Topped with a kick of spicy mayo, it might just be the best.
One of the best.
Okay, one of the best KFC chicken sandwiches out there.
Agreed.
Oh, yeah.
Choose your flavor with KFC's Chicken Sandwich in classic
or spicy.
That's finger licking good. Price of participation may vary.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios. The Cody and Gold Garage Sale, Tuesday, June 20th, with items for auction up at 610sports.com, benefiting the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. 610 Sports Radio. KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app.
11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. We'll talk a little Royals baseball. Report that maybe things are heating up on the trade market and what kind of package is necessary for two of the Royals relievers. One scenario that I don't like whatsoever, and it kind of scares the hell out of me if you want to know the truth. So we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Talking literally about one player. It'd been a while.
It hadn't been that long, Cody.
A week or
week,
so.
maybe?
A week or
We
so.
haven't been bringing it up lately, but how are you going to learn if we don't bring up your mistakes?
You want to know the truth? I'm not. I'm not going to change. This is me. Can you accept me for me or not?
Mostly. Except for that one thing.
Clean it up.
Do you need Nick to turn your mic on every time for you?
Oh my god!
So then
no, that feels like
that
being
might be
baby
dangerous
staff.
for you.
I like fixing myself more than that version. Than Nick doing it for me. That makes me.
Okay.
That's too risky.
Fair enough.
That's
Fair
too
enough.
risky. I don't like that.
So before we talk about the price tag, perhaps for a couple Royals players that could be on the move closer to the trade deadline, we know stadium discussion right here in Kansas City is always going to continue. We still don't have the firm details on where the Royals' future stadium could go. Meanwhile, there's stadium news all around in multiple sports as well. We just mentioned yesterday, Cody, the Oakland A's and the Vegas A's package never went to a vote over in Nevada, and so things are kind of on hold with the $380 million in funding, part of the funding package they were wanting. So it's kind of just in a holding pattern at this point in time. And then on the flip side, there still are plenty of examples on the football end, at least, where money is not a problem. The Buffalo Bills just got over $850 million in public funding from the state of New York, which is one of the largest amounts of public funding for a stadium ever.
And so did the Titans, got all their money. But here's the problem is that I feel like I have to, if we're having this conversation, I feel like I have to separate football.
Okay.
The NFL is its own different monster, and they're never going to have any problems because everybody wants the NFL, and it's just going to go smooth. The difference is lately, Phoenix offered to fix a massive city problem and fund 90% of a stadium, and they still couldn't get it through. Meanwhile, Gary Bettman is desperately trying to keep that team in Phoenix because they think it's, quote, a big market. And then when you go across with the A's, who couldn't get it done in Oakland, can't get it done now a second time in Vegas, they might be having problems. And look, that deal's not dead, Gold, but they jumped the gun. They tried to move on to a different site, sneak it under without asking permission, and now all of a sudden it turns out, when it came to permission time, that there might be more involved than what they were leading on to. I think this is part of the problem the Royals are facing right now, and I think it's what slowed this down, is that if you look over the last 2 years, getting a baseball stadium, getting a hockey stadium, those things have become more difficult. People have become more resistant to the idea of publicly funded stadiums or fully publicly funded stadiums. So you do have to frame it or set it up in a way that is beneficial. And here's the truth. This is why I think the NFL's separate. If the Chiefs tomorrow just jump the gun and they're like, we don't care what the Royals are doing. We want a new stadium deal, and here's where we want it. That thing, if you put it on a ballot tomorrow, Kansas Cityans would pass at 65-35 because they're the Chiefs. They're the defending Super Bowl champs.
It's not even just a football thing. It's just what they are now. I mean, 15 years ago, or I should say like 7 years ago, maybe
they
a little
couldn't
bit
even
different.
get a rolling roof approved that they wanted then. They could have 7 rolling roofs that just had different designs on them approved now.
Yeah, but now it's different. We know that they're the best team in football. They got the best quarterback in football. It's a whole different scenario, which is why I always said I wondered if – I know they want to separate the two, but if you were the Royals and you needed actually help on the vote, I still think doing what they did in the past, which is tying the votes together, actually is your way to ensure that you get it passed.
It is, but it's like they also want to, and moving forward, want to separate their entity from what they are and what they've been this entire time. No other franchises, no teams do it the way they do it before. But I really feel like the A's are like an eye-opening situation to me, where there's a city that desperately wants them, right? That city wants them. The people in charge want them. They have plenty of land and sites and grants, and they can't get something approved. It keeps falling through the cracks because it wasn't as... And just a few years ago, Vegas was happily handing out money to build whatever anybody wanted, right? But the second you just give it to Vegas, you give it to the Raiders, and you move on, you start to realize, what, are we just supposed to give every team who rolls in here anything they want? And I think that the Royals are probably... I think that there's a bit of an issue where, Gold, we do know that this is an if you give a mouse a cookie situation. If you approve whatever the Royals put across the table, when they put it across the table, you know that means you have to rubber stamp the Chiefs one right behind it. Right behind it. And look, you and I have made the argument that this is how cities progress. It stinks that it just so happened in the late 60s and early 70s, Kansas City as a city decided to build an airport and 2 stadiums at the same damn time. Because guess what comes up, Gold? All 3 of those things
right, that's what we
needing to be built. the same time. But I think it's what's causing some reservations from the baseball end. It does seem a little bit harder to build a stadium than it was 10 years ago, right?
I think
from a baseball perspective, excluding football.
Yeah, I mean, I think just in general, everybody's wised up a little bit to what is going on, and they've seen time and time again. There's more discussion around the publicly
and there's more research
around the publicly financed, and frankly, like anything else, the dollar amounts have just gotten bigger and bigger, and then the ask has gotten bigger and bigger, and there's been more evidence in some cases where the economic impact that's promised for some of these doesn't reach what is promised. And we have more evidence of that being the case.
About 95% of the time it doesn't.
But I still would say, and I've told you, and this is why, when we're talking about the Royal Stadium in particular, whether it's downtown or whether it's going to be the North Kansas City side or somewhere else that we don't even know of right now.
Some other different site.
We do know that with baseball in particular, and you're talking about as many home games that you have, and you're talking about the opportunity for concerts, and in a downtown in a city where Kansas City is still totally trying to grow as a major metropolitan city, and the airport was a big part of that as well, getting a modern airport. I still believe downtown baseball for the city itself and the growth, that is an important investment going forward. And you can say, well, you can hate on the baseball team itself and the lack of success. I understand the frustration. It's more than warranted.
For sure.
But looking at a downtown, we've all been to major cities in this country, and you look, and where are all their baseball stadiums? With the exception of Kauffman Stadium, and the Braves are in the suburbs, 90% of them are downtown. And it's spurred growth in some of these downtown areas and communities. It's the same way I know we don't have a permanent tenant at T-Mobile Center, but before the arena was there was nothing down. There was no reason to go downtown. Now we got other parts of the area. You got Crossroads, which is further south, but all that probably doesn't happen without what occurred 10 plus years earlier with the arena down there.
No, it helped prop things up. And again, we've made this very clear. I love Kauffman. I wouldn't have a problem with Kauffman continuing to be the stadium for the Royals, but downtown stadiums are where Major League Baseball is heading across the board, and I think it provides a really cool opportunity. But I've also made it clear about how I feel about publicly funded stadiums, and I get that, I don't have to vote for everybody. Everybody gets to make their decision on this. But it still seems like they are, for the fact that they, before the season even started, Gold, started having these started leaking these stories about wanting a stadium. Then they had a massive press conference about, we're going downtown. That was the press conference, right? It was, we're going downtown, and just give us a little bit, and we're going to tell you how. That's been months ago.
Yeah, I think officially the verbiage they used was, we can promise you it'll be in a Kansas City, Missouri location, downtown or near downtown, I think is actually how they phrased it at the time. We all presumed that it's going to be a downtown stadium. And, of course, if it's the North Kansas City site, that's not downtown. Despite how close it is to downtown, that's not downtown, but it still fits it's near Kansas City, Missouri.
But, yeah,
or near downtown. We'll see. You know my preference. And you're right. By the way, I always laugh, and this is not – I know you don't mean it this way, but it always just funny when you say, I'm not for publicly financed, as if I'm like, oh, yeah, man. No, it's funny. It's almost like me saying,
here's the difference.
I hate when somebody gets in a car accident. Well, no kidding, we all do.
No,
but when you say
sure.
I'm against public, as if everybody else is. You're the only person that's not for it.
No, but
I'm not for it. I just understand the realities of how this stuff works.
I understand, but that makes it sound like I don't understand the realities of how this works. And I think it's simple as this. When I say you're pro public financing and I'm against, right? If that's how it sounds in your head. It's very simple. But if you had to vote on it, had to vote on a fully publicly funded stadium, you'd vote yes, I vote
Absolutely.
no. That seems very to me, that means I'm not saying you wouldn't prefer that billionaires just pay for their own things, but you are pro publicly funded stadiums because you'd vote yes for it.
Yeah. But we don't have to get on this moral high ground. It's the same
I'm
thing
not saying it's a moral high ground. I'm just saying where I stand on the stadium.
This goes back to the live stuff in the Saudi Arabia thing. We don't have to act like we're superior because we're taking this moral stance on everything.
No, and I don't know if this is a moral stance as much as it's a financial one, which is you got a bunch of money and I don't. You should pay for it.
Yeah. It's just realities of it. But you would go to the downtown stadium. You'd have no problem going to the downtown stadium, though.
I didn't say that. I don't have a problem with it being there. It's not the location. It's not the site. What? That implies anything. I still go to sporting and I didn't pay for it. Like, I mean, it just depends on.
Sure. I didn't pay for the renovations at Arrowhead and Kauffman. I obviously go all the time.
Yeah.
But I also, if you told me the Royals were moving out to the Legends, I would vote for that. I'd have no problem. And if it was in, that's not in Johnson County, but my point being,
yeah, that's
Wyandotte. But I would vote for that. I have no problem. It's like, but yeah, if you want to keep paying for it in downtown KC-Mo or in Clay County as well, up north in North KC, that's fine with me too. Either way.
I'm just saying I'd vote no.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna it's fine. You can get the vote. You're just not gonna get my vote.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. Like, that doesn't mean that I'm against the idea of where the stadium might end up or could end up downtown, because, again, that's where baseball's headed. I just feel like it's getting a lot harder to build these stadiums because of all the doubt that's been cast over the last decade in sports.
Thinking of the Royals, though, on the field right now, we know going forward that they're going to have multiple pieces that they can move, though, and find ways to hopefully better the team for the future. I thought it was interesting, both The Athletic, Ken Rosenthal had mentioned the Royals are open for business. As they should be open for business.
That's not shocking.
He mentioned relievers Aroldis Chapman and Scott Barlow are available and may be included in the same trade package. He went on to say any team acquiring both Chapman and Barlow instantly transforms their bullpen into a postseason weapon. Hard to disagree with that. Is that the best path, though? Packaging Aroldis Chapman and Barlow together? Is that going to get you the most bang for your buck?
Prospect, then sure.
You might end up getting a better player back if you're actually willing to do that. If there's a team that feels they need two relievers right away, because it does transform. It transforms. It's true. I mean, it does transform your bullpen. That philosophy I'm fine with. What I didn't like is there was other reporting yesterday that suggested that the Royals could separate one of the two, and that instead of getting a prospect back for Chapman, that they might just be trying to have some team take on a bad contract, which got you and I saying, what bad contract is left?
There's literally one left.
It's our guy who's pitching tonight.
It's Jordan Lyles.
$8 million next year, right?
The only other one you could argue is Salvador Perez, and you wouldn't talk about Salvador Perez like you were giving him away for peanuts. He's been the Royals' best player this year. I don't think you wouldn't talk about Salvi that way because he makes the most money. The only bad contract remaining on this team is Jordan Lyles. So are you openly telling teams that if you will take over this Jordan Lyles contract, that we'll take less back in incentive? You don't pay anybody anyway. And I get it. You just ate $12 million or whatever the hell it was left in the Hunter Dozier contract.
Well, 14 something maybe.
Yeah. You just ate a good chunk of money and you're like, man, we're going to start Jordan Lyles the rest of this year and next year where he's owed more money too. I don't want to do that. I understand that part, but under no circumstances, when you have a bottom five, according to Baseball America, they probably view themselves internally a little different, but if you have one of the worst farm systems in baseball right now and one of the worst big league clubs in baseball, I would not recommend taking less because of money.
Yeah, that would suck.
You need talent, lots of talent. You need a talent infusion across the board. Trying to rid yourself of the only bad salary remaining on your board doesn't seem all that beneficial to me.
Oh, I hope it's just that, a rumor. I hope that's not actually a real viable path that they're considering, which is, hey, we know Chapman's worth a lot, but we just want to clear up some. You got to utilize that and get prospects or a major league ready player back in return. And look,
packaging them, I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, if it means you get a better player back instead of separating and just kind of getting mediocre. We talked about this last year with the Andrew Benintendi situation when he got traded. We're like, hey, is there a scenario where I think at that time weren't we discussing Benintendi and Barlow together in a trade? And of course, Benintendi just got traded separately. Barlow's clearly on the roster still. But yeah, if you could package them together, if that brings a stronger return, then that's good to hear. That's something that maybe they would consider.
The Royals only have, and Salvador Perez about half of this, the Royals only have on the books next year approximately $39 million. It'll be more than that because of arbitration, but $39 million.
I mean, they're not counting.
They're
not counting Salvi's as a bad deal. Which, by the way,
no, that'd be the only other player you could even make the argument. I'd argue you're getting your money's worth out of Salvi right now.
And I've told you I'd be willing to trade Salvi, but I think we both realize that's very unlikely that the organization would be willing to do that. But I would have no problem if you told me we woke up tomorrow and that was the news. Obviously, I would want to see what they got in return. But
I'd go the opposite way.
I have no problem with it.
I'd say you can have Salvador Perez, and we'll pay 60% of what he's owed left on this deal. Give us more prospects. Give us better players. Like, if anything, you should be thinking the opposite of the take on the bad contracts. You should be offering, because you have so little committed to the future. We've said this. How many long-term deals do the Royals have right now? Like, actual long-term deals? None. They're all rookie deals. They're not committed to anybody. They don't have to be committed to anybody right now. So they're not. So you don't owe any big future contract numbers to anyone. You were at risk of nothing. So, if that's the case, then you should be taking this money on. Matter of fact, if someone just thinks they can turn Jordan Lyles around, you should offer to pay every cent of the $17 million if you get a prospect back. Because otherwise what you're doing is paying him $17 million over the next 2 years to lose literally every single game for you this season. He's 0-12. Matter of fact, I'm on Vern's pregame show today. I've decided that I'm going to bet on Jordan Lyles to win because I can't take it anymore.
You're just trying to tank it, huh?
Hey, whatever happened to a tease? Did I teach you that in radio school, pal?
Well, as a tease, one of my bets,
wow.
I'll make many now, one of my bets, Leto, would be on the Royals to win the game.
It's a double play. You're supposed to make 2 bets.
2 bets.
Well, I'll double that. 4 bets.
That's not how it works.
Spec made 5 once.
Well, he went 0 for 5, I think.
Well, Spec's a little rusty, if you know what I'm saying.
But yes, Jordan.
Too many years behind the desk.
Jordan Lyles, $8.5 million.
Comfortable? Is that what you're claiming?
$8.5 million this year, $8.5 million next year. So obviously they paid already part of it for this year, but there is still over $10 million left on that contract.
What's his record?
That's what Cody said, 0-12.
Well, his record, I don't remember.
Is he 0-10? He was 0-9 as of last week.
The team is, I see what you're saying. The team, has lost all 12 apperances by him. I don't know what his actual.
He didn't lose the game last week because he pitched really well, actually.
So he's 0-9 with what's his ERA?
He 6.8, a gentleman's 6.89.
So my hope for him, at least, my hope for me, sorry, Jordan, is that I'm assuming there haven't been very many pitchers in Major League Baseball history who have started the season 0-10 with a +10 ERA.
He's coming up on the record of most consecutive games lost as the starting pitcher.
But imagine being 0-10 with a 10 ERA.
Yeah, it's just the 7th time.
I mean, he'd have to give him 15 runs tonight.
Yeah, it's just
that's that outlandish.
It's the 7th time.
What's more likely? He gives up 15 or he goes 7 shutout?
I think we would both agree on that answer.
Yeah. So go ahead, go ahead and do that. But yeah, it's 7th time in MLB history a team lost pitcher's first 12 starts.
7th time?
Yeah. 7th time ever that team's lost all 12 to start of a season with him or anybody as a pitcher. Yeah. Also,
I'm going to remember.
Are you betting $150 on that?
Why?
Huh. Okay. Just wondering.
What's your unit size?
We don't mock unit size on this show.
But I'm just saying,
what's yours though?
It sounds like you got about 150. And I think we had that Craigslist listing we saw for 150 on the suitcase. So just wondering.
I didn't start that, and I don't know who did.
The listing's gone, by the way.
And what was the amount of money? What was the amount of money that you
sold.
said you paid for us to sponsor that hole in the golf tournament?
Also, $150.
I had happened to mention that was $150. Yes. I don't think that 2 numbers being the same number one time means anything, though, in fairness.
Let's get to the trash of the day.
Trash of the day.
All right, this is something I think we can all get behind. There's been some controversy in the last 24 hours. This is something.
How about you turn your mic off?
Yeah, Nick, he can't keep his on. You can't turn yours off.
It was a board malfunction.
Blame it on the intern.
Sure was.
I think we can all get behind this. We all, whether you have an Android device, but certainly if you have an iPhone, we all know the autocorrect. It'll get you in a bad spot. And there's sometimes we're like, I'm never actually intending to say ducking, but we know it autocorrects to that. Well, Apple has announced in the new iOS 17, a new kind of AI-powered autocorrect could solve the problem. They're going to learn your habits better. They claim in those moments where you just want to type a ducking word, well, the keyboard will learn it too. So they're saying that no more
you type it in
like,
enough.
It's not going to go to what the duck anymore in the future to you.
Nobody's ever said that. That's the most frustrating part about that.
It's usually ducking.
Yeah, but it's not going to do ducking
Like you
anymore.
won't believe my ducking coworkers.
And now it's going to do what it needs to do.
Really? Is that what you're texting all the time?
No, that was just an example of something you could text.
But it's going to fix that. I'm happy to hear this new update.
Will you agree, as part of a new arrangement on this show, that once a week I'm allowed to go through your text messages? I'm allowed to search in your text messages the word Cody and see what comes up.
Wow.
And
just once a week.
And in this arrangement, how exactly do I benefit?
You don't. Trust. That's how you benefit. We build better trust.
Someone says they turned off autocorrect a long time ago.
I don't mind it sometimes. Sometimes it is solving some of my problems as I go, just not that one.
Do you guys keep read receipts on?
No, I don't like that. No, I don't. No, I have that off.
I don't care.
I don't need that. I don't need that on.
I don't think yours are on. I don't know.
I know neither one of yours are on. I don't think.
I was like, I wouldn't care.
I actually kind of I question people who keep their read receipts on.
What's the point? Truly, I mean, honestly, what is the point of it?
So you can know that I saw your message.
But I don't.
And then ignored it.
But
and
why
then I'll
would
get
I
back to you
ever
later.
want that?
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean,
Because
if I'm the one sending the text, I guess it's more beneficial, certainly, if you have it on. Then I can know if you.
Yeah, if you've
you
seen
saw
the text.
I also figure in today's day and age, we all have our phones attached to us. If I text something to Nick or you, and it's been 3 hours, I know you've seen the damn text. Okay, you just have chosen not. You just have chosen not to respond.
I mean, unless you're like real free range, crunchy type, then
but
sure.
that's what I'm saying with you guys. There's no way any of us go 3 hours without seeing a text.
That's not always the truth, because what will happen sometimes is if I have like some notifications stacked up after like an hour or two and I open my phone, I may fail to open one and then I kind of forget about it. And then a few hours later, I'll go to my message. Oh, wow, there's this whole thread I just kind of missed.
But you want to go through Nick's phone, huh?
Just to search my name. Or yours.
Oh.
Or, yeah, just those two.
Huh.
How about right now, as a courtesy to you, I will search my messages for both of your names and I will read to you guys the first time
This can't be good.
it comes up. All right, let's start with you, Cody.
Uh-huh.
Okay, on Monday, I texted to Jay Binkley, yes, Cody is gone as well.
Yeah, because
Okay.
Cody, you're gone tomorrow and Friday.
That's
I'm
correct.
assuming that's what that was in reference to.
Okay, and the first time when you search gold?
Okay, so I'm searching Alex.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Or would you rather me search
I-
gold?
we can
I
go
think I commonly, I
don't
think
know
I
how-
refer to you to Alex more than I do.
Okay, yeah.
Also, on Monday, Jay Binkley,
Wait, we're texting Jay Binkley.
just him and Alex.
Okay, so clearly about the same thing.
Yeah, it's probably an exact same conversation.
Yeah, text line says they just search and they type in Cody and it comes up as criminal.
I searched Nick and mine, and the top 3 text I can't read.
Oh, really?
I just...
Wow.
So, sorry. You can maybe read them later, but I can't read them.
Is it offensive or is it private?
I mean, I searched. Oh, yeah, that's
Private.
Oh. Wow.
Private.
Interesting. Yeah, if I just say the first one is a text I had to Dusty, and it was actually about the same, the exact same thing that Nick's were about. Basically, so unfortunately, it's because spoiler: Dusty's in for Cody in the next couple days. That's what it's about. Cody's going to be out of town. It's as simple as that. Anyway.
There goes that press release.
Yes, that's right. Coming up next, though, we will get to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. One player that is on the market, and Cody says the Chiefs should still be going after.
Cody and Gold.
Gold, I want a new weekly segment for you called The Steam Room.
But you got to do it shirtless.
That's Cody's request.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
Look, when you're looking for a new career versus looking in someone's phone, hypothetically, there's only one place in Kansas City to check, and that is our friends at Centric.
And if you're looking for an IT career, anytime you type IT career, if you're searching on them, you're going to get Centric because they're the best in Kansas City. IT is the future of Kansas City. So you want to work with a company like Centric that puts you on a path to a new career in just 4 months. And they work with over 1,500 companies that have hired Centric grads in the past.
Think about no matter the IT you want to get into. You're like, oh, Amazon Web Service is big, so maybe I want to get into that. Or you've seen all these people who've seen that career advancement and the ability to move up. There are jobs that don't have that. IT is one of those jobs where there's infinite possibilities because it is in every single possible field. It includes in radio here, in car manufacturing, or just straight up in some of those technology services you've seen throughout. So if you go to centric.com/610 or you call our guy Russ Mondry, you're going to see for yourself exactly how Centric can help you. Don't wait any longer. Change your career in as little as 4 months. Go to centric.com/610. Use a BetMGM bonus bet to place your next wager on any game in any sport. To receive your bonus bet, simply log into your BetMGM account every Saturday and Wednesday between May 13th and June 21st to bet on any game of your choice. Then add the type of bet on any game to your bet slip and activate your bonus bet. There is no deposit or additional wager required. Want even more BetMGM action? Enjoy the best daily promotions, live betting options, and the all-new signature bets only at BetMGM. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly and offer resources to help you make appropriate choices. Promotion may differ per customer. BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years and physically present in Kansas to bet. Existing customers offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Bonus bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700 in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Total.
cold it got this winter. Well, it was a chilly one. And if you notice the cold air pouring through those old leaky windows, well, guess what? When it gets hot this summer, the exact opposite is going to happen. All of that cool air is going to escape through those leaky windows, and that hot air is going to come in. So I'm telling you right now to replace those old windows and keep your house cool this summer with the official window of the Kansas City Chiefs over at Window World. Their windows are one of 2 windows with a good housekeeping seal of approval, a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. And right now, Window World is offering 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. So pick up the phone right now and call this number for a free home estimate, 816-799-0820. And they can show you how they are simply the best for less. Remember this phone number, 816-799-0820, or check out the website, windowworld.com.
Hey, it's Kling. Time to stock up for the grill or flat top or smoker with my friends from Hy-Vee. The Build Your Own Meat Bundle sale is going this weekend. And for quality, there's no better place than Hy-Vee. Only the highest quality beef, pork, and chicken meet Hy-Vee's very picky standards. In fact, only 6% of all cattle are good enough for Hy-Vee. That's why I'm headed to Hy-Vee this weekend to save a bundle during the Build Your Own Meat Bundle sale. I can mix and match my favorites like Choice Reserve strip steaks, pork loin chops, and twice-baked potatoes. The more I buy, the more I save. Only at Hy-Vee.
Saving a bundle at Hy-Vee is as easy as 1, 2. Yep, that's it. 1, 2, and you saved a bundle during the Build Your Own Meat Bundle sale. Step 1, pick the perfect size of your meat bundle. Step 2, choose from 25 fan favorites like bacon-wrapped sirloin fillets, pork ribeyes, boneless chicken breasts, or country-style ribs. It's that simple. 1, 2. The bigger the bundle, the more you save. June 9th through 11th at your Kansas City area Hy-Vee.
Imagine if the Kansas City Royals were a basketball team. You've got Greinke shooting threes, Salvi in the paint, Vinny slamming it down, and Bobby Witt Jr. running the show. Now you can wear that dream on your back with the exclusive KC basketball jersey, presented by Pepsi. On Tuesday, June 13th, when the Royals take on the Reds, be one of the first 10,000 fans to take it home. 2 sports, 1 jersey. Tickets at Royals.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with 0 copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Dr. Rick here. With another telltale sign you're turning into your parents, getting particular about your drive-thru order.
Don't pull away yet. I like to check the bag because one time they forgot to give me extra ketchup.
People are waiting.
I'm only seeing 4 nuggets. Wait, nope, there's 5.
Progressive can't help you from becoming your parents, but we can help you compare rates on home insurance with Home Quote Explorer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Humans can do a lot of amazing things. Fighting bugs? Ew, a bug, get it! Isn't one of them. STEM is powered by active ingredients found in plants to fight off bugs safely and effectively when used as directed. STEM, rooted in nature, optimized by science.
Nice today with clouds and sun and a high of 90.
Weather brought to you by Express Employment Professionals. Don't stress about finding a new job. Let Express Employment Professionals help. Visit expresspros.com for good local jobs in a variety of industries.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by Renner Garage Door. Forward and back. RENNER.
Renner Garage Doors, servicing and installing garage doors in KC for over 60 years. Family owned and top rated. Residential, commercial, service, and repairs. RENNER. Forward and back. Renner, the company that does garage doors. RennerDoor.com.
Chiefs Kingdom. This is Mitch Holtis, and welcome into the Chiefs Red Half Hour on Cody and Gold. Every day at 11:30 on your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
All right, let's talk some Chiefs football. We'll get back to the Royals in an hour from now. Josh Vernier, our Royals insider, going to join us as there is Royals baseball today as the Royals finish up their series against the Marlins down in Miami. Certainly, by far, the biggest event in Miami today is that baseball game.
Not game 3 of the NBA Finals?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
I like they moved the game up by like a half an hour, and you're like, why would – that's it?
Well,
move it up by like several hours. Just make it a day game at like 1.
Because it's what, 6:10 Eastern now, 5:10 Central. The game is 8:30 Eastern, the Finals, that is. So 6:10, they're thinking the game could be over just in time, I guess, for the – But to make it
the
safe,
stadium's
why
2
not-
miles apart. Why not just like get a day game?
Yeah, do a 3:30 Eastern time game. Something like that. Anyway, it's not
They
happening.
have a lot of people in their front office who probably talked about this, so maybe we're just two idiots trying to posture which one. But either way, that game moved up by a half hour.
So we'll talk to Vern about all that coming up in 1 hour. But there was a name outside of DeAndre Hopkins that had come up a couple times in the last 6 months or so in season. Even at one point it came up, and you're still interested in him.
Very much so, because it is a classic Brett Veach move. Yesterday it was announced that Washington will listen to offers on Chase Young. And to me, this is a perfect Chiefs move. You know why? Because if he doesn't work, you're not sunk. Like the teams who trade for him that need him to immediately become the kind of pass rusher people thought he might be coming out of the draft are going to have a much bigger problem. If Chase Young took a half a season to get fully healthy, to look comfortable, to get back into rhythm, wouldn't matter to the Chiefs. They'd still win games. They'd move on about their day. They'd move on with their lives. I get that you'd be trading for a guy with really only 1 year of control left. And 2, I guess if you picked up the 5th-year option, which I think they've already declined. So
yeah, it's just
this year.
$11 million this year.
And look, I think that number is going to be flexible for Washington too, depending on the draft pick compensation. It's worth it. He is the kind of player and talent that if you bring him in your house and it works, and he likes being here and it works for the first time since he was a rookie, Gold, then he might be willing to be loyal to you. And you could catch lightning in a bottle for a year. He was, in his rookie year, looked like one of the emerging pass rushers in the NFL. He was the defensive rookie of the year. He looked the part. And then he was plagued, murdered by injuries. And I would say that became a massive problem for him and is still a big part of the story. But if you're the Chiefs, you can take a risk.
You're usually the biggest injury concern guy, Cody.
I know, but to me, this is just one of those, I'm just doing it to see if it works. I'm not actually counting on him to do anything. Nick, like, I'm not bringing him in to be like, Kadarius Toney, they actually need. If he just doesn't show up for the team, it is a problem. They're already pretty decent at pass rush. Bringing in Chase Young is just, Brett Veach likes taking former first-round picks and making them work for you. This is a no-risk thing for me.
So Chase Young, still only 24 years old. That's what's crazy to think about. He's still only 24. It is the final year of his contract, though, so it is a one-year rental. That is it.
Yep.
1 year rental, it would have to be draft pick compensation that wasn't all that significant, and maybe some.
I don't think they would ask for anything that significant.
It would have to have conditions that, hey, if he played in X amount of games, he had X amount of sacks, he played in the playoffs, all of that would have to I can see that where all of a sudden it became a 3rd-round pick, but it would have to be like a 5th-round pick. And I don't know if a 5th-round pick gets it done, by the way. I really don't. It'll be interesting to see.
Washington wants to lose. That is one benefit to you. They do not care about.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Ron Rivera is getting fired if they lose, Cody. They don't want to lose. This is it for Ron Rivera.
I think the front office wants to lose.
This is it for Ron. Well, the GM's also out the door. They're all connected. So I'll push back on they want to lose, not just because Ron Rivera. If they're a 7-win team, his ass is fired. They're done.
That's all. That'd be best case scenario.
I think they're probably an 8-win team this year. Yeah, but so wanting to lose anyway. Move on from that. But as far as Chase Young goes, yeah, in Kansas City, it would be fun to add him to the mix of Chris Jones and George Karlaftis and Felix and Udike Uzama. My thing is, though, unless you know you're not going to sign Chris Jones, like the Chris Jones thing is just going to fall apart, I become instantly more intrigued. If you tell me we're sitting here in the middle of August, Chris Jones deal, then it's different. Because then I need a long-term answer. Because if they give Chris Jones a $100 million extension, then I don't care how great Chase Young is in a trade to Kansas City. They're not paying him and turn around $80 million next year.
Even if he gets the 1 year, you trade a 5th, you trade a 4th, and I'm not sure exactly what the asking price is. Some of the reports yesterday said as high as a 3rd, but I still think it's less than that.
Maybe, yeah.
And when you, look, I think when you start seeing the reports that say they want a 3rd, usually below that is what they'll actually take. And I think if you look at it from this perspective, This is the kind of player, like maybe around the conversation that we were all having around Odell Beckham Jr. And Pete Sweeney and I had talked about, and I think you and I had talked about off the air as well, which is I still look back at that Odell Beckham Jr. deal, not this most recent one, the one in which the Chiefs ended up losing to the Bengals in the Super Bowl or in the AFC title game. As in, if Beckham had chosen to come to the Chiefs, that would have been that little half step more needed for the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl and then eventually win in the Super Bowl. That, like, to me, the Chase Young deal has a chance to be that. It is not what is going to make the difference between you being the division winner or not. But in that moment, when you just need one more player who can get things done, Chase Young still has that level of talent.
So 1.5 sacks since 2021.
He's played, what, 12 games since then?
He's missed 23 of 34 games due to injuries. Availability is a so, that's it would, like anything, you'd have to tell me what the compensation actually was. And it would
there's not a number in which you'd say no. Because if there's a price tag number,
but I don't. If you're saying it though, you want to he can be a long-term answer after this year. I'll push back and say I don't buy that. To me, it's a 1-year rental.
They used to have $200 million players on the defensive line. Why can't they do that again?
You think he would price himself out, or you don't think
if he ended up, let's say he ended up actually being a guy you would want to have a long. To me, he's getting $17 million a year on the open market. You're probably talking about 4 years, $70 million if he does that.
Because the second he has a productive season, the narrative becomes Chase Young is back. And he is now once again the prospect.
More than $70 million. Yeah.
Right. He is now once again the prospect Washington thought they were getting when they took him second overall.
But they've done that in the last 5 years.
Yeah, they didn't have Patrick Mahomes. They didn't have a quarterback making $45 million on the cap though at that time.
And it's important.
Right. I mean, Mahomes was on a rookie deal.
But important to note right now, like as of today, how many players do the Chiefs have with top of market deals, and who are they, and what positions do they play? It's Mahomes at quarterback. It's Kelsey at a position that does not get paid market value. We assume Chris Jones is on one.
Which would be less than a defensive end.
And it's Joe Tooney, again, left guard. Does not get paid like a pass rusher does.
Well, arguably now right tackle, though.
But sure. Yeah, Juwan, yeah. Yep. So, I mean, this is why if you want to bring in on a decent trade Chase Young for 1 year and see what you got, as long as you're good with him being a 1-year guy, because I don't think you're going to be able to retain him whatsoever. We didn't even mention, we also know next offseason, even if they didn't get a Chris Jones, if they got a Chris Jones extension done, next offseason Creed Humphrey might be getting paid. L'Jarius Sneed has a decision to be made on him. I just don't think there's a scenario where if you made the trade, you would have to view it strictly through the lens, in my opinion, go and win one again with us this year kind of thing. I don't believe.
Which would be absolutely worth it, by the way.
Sure.
But he could be that player. You guys both think that,
But because of that, because of what you just said, this kind of becomes like the DeAndre Hopkins conversation. There is always going to be a team more desperate to add talent than the Chiefs and more willing to say, not only are we willing to bring him in, we'll give up more compensation and we'll sign him to a long-term extension because they're in a position that the Chiefs aren't in.
You can hope, though, that this is like the Kadarius Toney case and that he is so injured that other teams are like, pass. Because that's where the Chiefs can take advantage. The Chiefs can take advantage on players that people have said, we're not interested.
But in doing that, Cody, you're making the argument for getting Chase Young sound way less enticing.
Sure.
Like, he's so injured, nobody else wants him. But it's perfect for us.
Sure, but but they can absorb it. Because if Chase Young got traded to the Chiefs for a 4th-round pick and was garbage, never got hurt a million times in a row, didn't even play, they'd still be the favorite to win the Super Bowl. You can take that risk better than other teams.
Sure.
Maybe you don't have to take it as much. I get it.
That part's true. The one element neither of us have brought up yet is still the dollar amount. It's still, unless they eat
I don't think it would ever be that
$10 million. All we've been hearing about with DeAndre Hopkins is that, the Chiefs have their limits. They're not willing to spend more this year, yada, yada, yada. But suddenly I'm supposed to think they're willing to free up $10 million for him?
But it's never that amount. We know that. It's not, the acquiring team would be less.
But you can't. It's nothing like Kadarius Toney, who was the 21st overall pick in the draft and never really produced at a high level. Chase Young had a productive season and was the number 2 overall pick. He came out of Ohio State, and the thought was this guy was more dominant for that defensive line than both the Bosa brothers were. He can become like them, like defensive player of the year type. Kadarius Toney's ceiling was never that.
What's funny is we're making the opposite argument for this because you're making it sound like every damn team in the NFL should try to trade for him. $10 million for a guy who was better than Joey Bosa? Please.
Well, that's
Like,
not what I said.
I would definitely
That's
want
certainly
that.
not what I said.
Well, in college, I'm just saying, like, could be better than Joey Bosa. I guess is probably how I should have put it. But
If you're wondering the favorite
this
landing
is why
spots,
he's an intriguing player.
there were some offshore odds or whatever. It has, for what it's worth, it has the Steelers and the Seahawks are two of the favorites to land.
Are the Chiefs even listed?
I did not see that. No, but that also doesn't.
I would also wonder this too. I think I probably know where you guys are going to go, and I know that you can always look to add talent. But the Chiefs have taken an edge rusher in the first round in back-to-back seasons. Like they are spending their most premium draft equity on adding pass rushers.
Probably because they want it cheap, for at least a stretch
And
of
an
time.
extra year of control over an important position.
Yeah.
You get that fifth year when you take a guy in the first round, and they know the importance of being able to get after the
I
quarterback.
definitely think, to your point about where they invested already. If this, we did have this conversation actually, but if this was before the draft, I think it's also a different feel. If they didn't just, to Nick's point, spin a pick on Felix.
This is one of those positions where I don't know that there's a number of players where you're like, too many. They'd be like, hey, that's your 10th really good defensive lineman. Do you have too many good
There's
defensive
not
linemen?
a number of players, but there is a number of assets, right? It's not about, can you have too many pass rushers? Of course not. Can you ever give up too many assets for anything? Yes. You can always overpay for stuff.
I think defensive line is one of the very few positions where you almost can't throw too many resources at it from a draft pick compensation department. Like, you almost can't overdo it. It's difficult. Like, you can definitely do that at guard, linebacker, safety, corner, even to a point, depending on how high of draft picks you go there. Or, like, I don't know, when the Lions just kept taking wide receivers every year until they eventually hit on Calvin Johnson. Then they take, like, their first overall pick was, like,
The Raiders did that for a while. They just took the most athletic wide receivers ever.
But the Lions, they took like 3 straight top 5 picks at wide receiver, or top 10 picks at wide receivers, like Roy Williams and Mike Williams, and then eventually hit with Calvin Johnson. Look, the third time, it was definitely the right choice, but there is a limitation to like assets. I definitely agree with that, Nick. It's like defensive line is just one of those. It's like quarterback. It's like you almost can't overdo it.
You can't have enough quarterbacks.
Well, I just meant
As
from like
the
if you don't have
adage
a good
goes.
one. If you don't have a good one, you should just keep spending assets on them. I've always argued those teams would be like, they have 4 first-round picks. I'm like, take 4 quarterbacks right now, compete them against each other, and find one that's good. Because the odds are you probably will find one that's good. You should take all of them. Every single one.
Okay, well, that's objectively a terrible idea.
No, it's not. Just because no one's tried it doesn't make it a bad idea.
No, it being a bad idea makes it a bad idea. Having 4 first-round picks and drafting 4 quarterbacks?
Hell yes.
3 of them are going to suck.
Great. If one is great, I don't care.
You know what I'd rather do with 4 first-round picks? Draft 4 players. Good players.
If you don't get quarterback right, it won't matter. Take 3 future Hall of Famers, but if you take Jamarcus Russell, it's over anyway.
Yeah, can you imagine Cody being the GM of an NFL team and how quickly that fan base and that city would hate you? They're like, this guy is the biggest moron. He just drafted 4 quarterbacks in the first round. We got no cornerbacks. We got no edge rushers. We got no receivers, but we got 4 quarterbacks. One of them is going to get cut.
So if you were if you were Ryan Poles, who had at one time the number 1 overall pick, and you had Justin Fields this past a couple years ago, you would have traded the pick, maybe the Carolina Panthers, and then you would have used all the picks they got back on quarterbacks?
I guess it depends on his level of belief in Justin Fields.
No, let's imagine you don't believe in him. Let's imagine he needs competition.
Then I would have kept the number 1 overall pick, and I would have just taken a quarterback.
And you would have taken another 3 after that.
Well, I mean, he didn't have 3 after that because in my case, he just takes the number 1 overall pick at quarterback.
Okay, but you could have taken Will Levis in the second round too, right? If he's there, more competition.
If he's there,
because you don't know if Bryce Young's any good.
Well, in this case, he would have spent the number 1 and number 3 overall pick at quarterback, so he's probably invested enough.
So would you have done it?
I think those 2. I don't think I'd have taken Levis because I didn't like him.
Well, you said, why not? More competition. What if he ends up being the best?
Well, then you'd probably regret it, wouldn't you?
So it's take as many as possible, but if I don't like them, don't take them, which is what teams do. They don't like.
Your philosophy as a GM would change like every couple months. Like, you know what? Now, like a new idea popped into my head, and so now that's the philosophy of how we're running this franchise.
You should take, like, there's always like, well, they took a quarterback number 1 overall last year, so they shouldn't take one again. Wrong. They should just, if they think that player's great, they should take him. Like, you should take more risks at quarterback than any other position in the NFL if you don't have a great one. Which is, I don't know.
Well, that's
probably 10 teams.
That is actually somewhat of a sound philosophy. That's what the Cardinals did with Kyler Murray.
Yes.
They drafted Josh Rosen in the top 10. This dude ain't it. Cliff Kingsbury comes in and says, well, I'm not hitching my wagon to that donkey.
Yeah, but that's like the same thing like people were making the argument for Tua. I'm like, who cares? So he's taken third overall a couple years ago. Don't care. Take another quarterback. He's not a solution yet. So if he's not a solution by year 3, by quarterbacks, you know so fast whether or not they're the goods or not. It doesn't take that long to evaluate that position from are they a top 10 starting quarterback in the NFL? Justin Herbert got thrown into a starter role, because of a team doctor, and was immediately like, well, that guy's great. So I guess we're good here. Like, they weren't even planning on starting him in that moment.
Yeah, someone says the Cardinals, who will be the worst team likely this year, they'll have the top 2 picks potentially.
They should just take Caleb Williams.
So they should, another saying, based on, again,
and Drake May?
They should take Caleb Williams and Drake May and then have Kyler Murray and then have the most expensive quarterback room in NFL history.
Yep,
and
sounds good to me.
Potentially only
one of those
have
guys
one.
is going to be great, and at least they'll be better off than they are now.
At some point, Cody, you seem to be kind of glossing over this fact. At some point, as the GM of a team and the guy takes ownership over roster construction, you have to show a willingness and an ability to, evaluate talent. You don't just get to just throw everything on the board and say, I don't know who's good, so I'll take them all, and we'll figure it out over the next 3 years. You are supposed to sort of evaluate these guys.
It's your job to correctly identify.
Sort of a big part.
But we
of
also
the job.
know that teams are notoriously horrible at evaluating quarterbacks. They're so bad at it. So just admit it. Admit you suck at this thing as a league and you aren't good at it.
Right, yeah.
And instead throw resources
we should
at
apply
it.
that to all levels of business. Like if Speck is ever struggling with something, instead of just working it out as the leader of our station, he should have an all-staff meeting and say, I suck at this.
Mm-hmm.
We would all respect him greatly, right, if he told us how bad he was at his job. No GM is going to do that. I suck at this.
I value honesty.
You get fired immediately. You would get fired the next day. It would be like Jeff Long. He has a press conference the next day he's fired. If you stand out there and say, I suck at evaluating talent, you will be fired the next morning.
I mean, you don't have to put it that bold. You could just say, notoriously, quarterback is a difficult position to evaluate, and then take a bunch.
I think everybody would understand what you're saying. You suck. We get it.
What was the RG3 draft? That was what they did. They took one in the first and third round.
I think it was the fourth or third or fourth with
I think it was
Kirk Cousins.
First and third, Kirk Cousins. I still think that was the right choice. Turns out they got the better quarterback.
Yeah, and it worked out great for them. Like their franchise was set up for decades and so much success.
Well, they screwed up by then holding that quarterback hostage by not paying him and then eventually letting him walk. That was actually a really bold move. They took a first and a third round quarterback, and then the third round quarterback who's better, they're like, we don't want to pay you yet.
And that goes back to the evaluation thing, though, because they continued to start RG3 over Kirk Cousins for a little while. And he obviously got hurt and ruined by Mike Shanahan.
Yeah, that's
correct. And FedEx Field.
Yeah, I would like to admit that FedEx Field
and
was
it's Dan Snyder's fault, too. Because everything's Dan Snyder's fault.
Well, he is
Exactly.
Wait, still
He's
is?
still
He's still on the
it is
team.
not official.
He is the worst owner in the NFL.
So to bring this conversation full circle, that's the only thing holding Chase Young back. It's not the injuries. It's Dan Snyder.
That's probably true. That's just as equally responsible for the injuries. Be surprised if Dan Snyder. That field is still horrible. That's why Chase Young can't stay healthy. Come play here.
Oh, you think that's what's holding them back?
They come here and actually take care of the field.
It's not Dan Snyder. It's the maintenance man.
You think the field is why Chase Young's career has gone in the opposite direction?
You know the way Dan Snyder operates. That the maintenance man had just no experience and just like a college buddy. It's like, come on, man, look, I went to college with him.
Yeah, billionaire Dan Snyder has a bunch of buddies who do lawn work.
No, they had never done lawn work. He had just put him in charge of it. He's like, you be in charge of the crew. You hire all the people. And that guy's like, I've never done this. Is that okay? He's like, yeah, it's fine.
I mean, if it's Dan Snyder, he'd probably have the cheerleaders doing the lawn care as well and made them wear their cheerleading outfits while doing it. That sounds more like the Dan Snyder path based on allegations. Allegedly.
Actually, he might have settled a lawsuit on that.
Allegedly.
I'm not exactly sure exactly how alleged that is anymore, but we'll say allegedly
everything's
for now.
alleged. Alleged.
That's why you guys keep trying to claim I stole the suitcase, and I didn't.
Well, it's missing still. And evidence is mounting against you.
There's not mounting. There's no new evidence.
Still not here. You continue to mention it more than anybody else on this show. You continue to draw more attention to yourself.
The only person
man.
who's been regularly accused. I'd like to clear my good name.
As we established yesterday.
I don't have that good of a name. Is that what
It's
you're
not
going to say?
a strong path for you to claim that there's 6 instances of stealing. That's part of the problem for this for you.
But some of those were so minor.
Well,
pretty much all of them. This would be a major
and now
theft.
you're major. Sometimes, you got to start small. Petty theft, work your way up.
I don't think so. Do you believe me yet, Nick? Do you think I'm innocent of this crime?
I'm not prepared to issue a formal statement
Okay.
at this time.
I'd like a formal one maybe next week. Well, you're out of town.
I'll be
but
gone.
Soon. I'd like you to think about it while you're on vacation.
Yeah, Nick's leaving the damn country very soon.
While he's sitting there eating a croissant, I'd like him to think about what he's done to my image.
Okay.
And why that might result in a slander lawsuit.
Good luck with that. Coming up next, we will get to what's trending and something we discuss over and over about the Bills and what could happen to them this year. Is there another team that should also be part of that same conversation? We'll explain that next.
Cody and Gold.
The Disgusting Brothers.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
Hey guys, this is Nick. June is here, which makes it 3 months now that I've been taking 213 Flashpoint. And thanks to 213 and the team at Supplement Superstore, I'm proud to say I've cut my body fat by almost 7%. There's no secret to losing weight. You need to move more and eat less. But as you probably know, that can be easier said than done. I know I was a lot more excited heading to the gym every day in month 1 than I am in month 3. But one thing that I've found to be super helpful, if not vital in my fitness journey, is simply having a game plan. In years past, I never really had one, which meant that after the initial enthusiasm wore off, so did my weight loss. This time, it's different though. The guys at Supplement Superstore have done 2 things that have changed the game for me. The first thing they did was make a simple meal plan that fits into my lifestyle and is easily customizable. And they also introduced me to 213 Flashpoint, which gives me smooth, long-lasting energy and helps curb my cravings throughout the day. Those 2 things have changed everything for me, which is why I'm proud to say that I'm 3 months in and I'm not slowing down. If you want to make this year different, give 213 Flashpoint a try. Check it out at any of the 8 Supplement Superstore's locations in the KC metro area.
It's almost time to crown an NBA champion, and FanDuel wants you to be part of the excitement. Because right now, new customers can get a no-sweat first bet up to $2,500. That's $2,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. And what I love most about FanDuel is you get paid instantly. It's a safe and secure app, and they have great promotions every day. There's no better place to bet all the finals action than America's #1 sportsbook. Visit FanDuel.com/610Bob and get a no-sweat first bet up to $2,500. That's FanDuel.com/610Bob. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA and 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Father's Day is fast approaching, and you're wondering how to make your backyard grill master happy. Well, here's an idea. Go to your local grocer and buy Gates seasoning and use it to marinate your meats and veggies. What better way to top off your grill master's meal than with Gates sauce for that added boost of flavor? Or say Happy Father's Day with the Gates party tray. And if your dad doesn't live here, Gates Barbecue can be purchased online at gatesbbq.com. Gates Barbecue, a Kansas City tradition.
You still hear a lot about fake news these days, but I want to talk about something even worse. Fake custom jewelry. This is Gene from House of Diamonds. Our custom jewelry is 100% designed, prototyped, cast, and hand-finished right here in our Overland Park studio. Other stores say they do custom work, but ask to see the CAD and computerized casting equipment. Ask to meet the designers and craftsmen. Ask if the jewelry is ever sent out to some stranger you'll never meet. You will soon find their idea of custom is checking off menu options and shipping off an order. Not at House of Diamonds. We have invested more in custom technology and experienced craftsmen than any other jewelry store in town. Our idea of custom crafts a unique, one-of-a-kind heirloom that is an expression of you. Come see for yourself. Don't settle for fake custom. Let us show you real custom at House of Diamonds. House of Diamonds on the southeast corner of College and Quivira.
Hi, I'm Andrew Mackey, an instructor at Centric and an Army veteran. If you're transitioning from active duty or already a veteran and aren't quite sure of your next steps, Centric is a great option for your future. You can use the problem-solving and leadership skills you gained in the military towards a new, exciting career in IT in just 4 months. If you've been looking for a way to get started in the IT field, put your GI Bill to work and start your new career in IT. Go to centric.com/610 for more information. That's CENTRIQ.com/610. centric.com/610.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to 4hims.com/joy. That's FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Join the 69 Express Project. We're hiring for all positions. Stop by Country Inn and Suites in Lawrence tomorrow from 3 to 6 p.m. for on-site interviews. Start earning competitive wages and benefits immediately. Country Inn and Suites in Lawrence, June 8th from 3 till 6.
It's your last chance to shop Memorial Day savings at Lowe's. Shop the outdoor essentials your lawn and garden need today. Lowe's knows lawn care. Lowe's knows home improvement.
Experience the future of connectivity with Spectrum One. Get Spectrum Internet and one unlimited mobile line for just $29.99 a month each, plus advanced Wi-Fi free. Spectrum Internet delivers speeds up to 300 megabits per second. With Spectrum Mobile, you get unlimited talk, text, and data. And advanced Wi-Fi brings you enhanced privacy and security. Internet and mobile for $29.99 a month each, plus advanced Wi-Fi free. Visit spectrum.com/2999 or a Spectrum store today. Offer subject to change. Valid for qualified residential customers only. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
Anywhere fans go to cheer on their team, there are behind-the-scenes MVPs, ensuring everything is game day ready. We see you, Joe, fixing seats so every fan can enjoy every game. And Allie, who keeps her stadium running smoothly from the moment the first game starts to the last play of the season. At Grainger, you're our MVPs, and we're always here for you with supplies and solutions for every industry and 24/7 customer support. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Summer's heating things up, outside and on the grill. Whether you're smoking a brisket or grilling up veggies, Kingsford Original Charcoal delivers the consistent performance and smoky wood-fired flavor barbecuers crave. Kingsford Original lights faster and has a long burn time, giving you the ultimate grilling experience. So grab a bag of Kingsford Original Charcoal. Kingsford.com. Kingsford Original Charcoal lights faster and delivers consistent performance compared to nationally available charcoal in the USA.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios. Win Royals tickets 1 hour prior to first pitch by listening to Vern's On Deck Show, KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app. What's trending?
All right, let's check in on the hot topics trending.
Number one on What's Trending Royals baseball this afternoon, 5:10 first pitch right here on 610 Sports Radio. Vern's On Deck Show at 4 o'clock, and it is Jordan Lyles on the mound. And if you've been following, you know that in every outing of his, the Royals have lost. That's 12 of them. Now, he's not 0-12.
He pitched well
actually pitched well last time out. But he's 0-9 with a 6.89 ERA. They just don't win when he's on the mound. Maybe that changes today. But
I'm betting on it. Actually betting on it.
The seventh time ever in Major League Baseball that a pitcher's first 12 games have resulted in losses when he's been on the bump.
Yeah, that's... When you're approaching Major League Baseball history for worst starts ever, not exactly what you would want. Next up on What's Trending, MLS club Inter Miami, according to multiple reports, will land Lionel Messi to join the club this year. Now, unfortunately for us, Sporting KC does play Inter Miami, but on the road.
Dang it.
Not there, but according to some of the reports, some of the terms of the deal could include a part ownership of the TV rights deals relating to Apple. As in, he'd get a portion of new subscriptions of people signing up for the app as a result of, well, wanting to watch Lionel Messi actually play. Look, I'm hoping to watch players like this the same as watching like LeBron or Shohei or whoever, right? Just in the prime of their careers. Look, he's not going to be in a prime.
He's definitely not.
But it's still watching Messi.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's a big deal that MLS can still attract these stars. They got to figure out a way to get one of these guys before they're at the very, very end of their career, but their league's a long ways away from that. Still cool that Messi could be heading, or according to reports, will be heading to the MLS.
Yeah, they had to get creative with the deal. You're not going to compete with Barcelona and some of these other major clubs financially, and so they're going to be creative with the revenue sharing there. There's talk he's also getting a cut of the Adidas deal that the league has. So they're going out of their way, again, because they understand it automatically. We already have seen that ticket sales have gone up in the last couple of hours. Also, every hour, the social media account for Inter Miami has gained something like 10,000 or 100,000 followers already. because people are interested. They know the name Messi. Maybe they don't like MLS soccer, but they have sure as heck know.
And if you're a
who Messi
European
is.
soccer fan who love Messi, you're going to go follow the team he's going to play for in the MLS.
Next up on What's Trending, we talked about this on the show a few days ago. It's now official, though, that Bills quarterback Josh Allen will be featured on the cover of Madden NFL 24. So that was rumored, and that is exactly what's happening. Last year, he set the NFL record for most combined touchdowns, passing, rushing, receiving in a player's first 5 seasons. He was third in MVP voting. But again, as I told you, I think we've lowered the standard. That's fine. Then we just lower the standard. You know, usually
I don't care
it's
about little things anymore. That's a little thing now, you know?
Usually it's after Super Bowl wins or appearances or MVPs. Go back and look at the history. Brady, Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. That's okay. That's fine. It's a big win for Buffalo. Big win for Buffalo. As someone joked, when you play with Josh Allen, the season ends after the AFC title game. You don't get to go advance.
Mr. January, which I still argue is an insult.
You don't get to join the Super Bowl. You don't get to move on to February.
The other part about this is, like, there was a long time, I think, in Chiefs fandom, for both the Royals and the Chiefs, where you cared about things like All-Star snub, Pro Bowl snub, or they're not giving us the respect of the kind of team they are. You know the only thing we care about in Kansas City for the Chiefs anymore as it relates to the NFL? Titles. Championships. I don't care about Pro Bowl snubs anymore for the Chiefs.
Pro Bowl is stupid.
It means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. Or Madden covers for that matter. Next up on What's Trending, Rory McIlroy did speak about his relationship with the PGA after he was clearly thrown under the bus by Jay Monahan after the announcement that LIV and the PGA were going to merge as of yesterday. Look, he sounded a little more soft on the subject than I thought he was going to be, but he also didn't pull any punches when it came to LIV.
I still hit LIV. Like, I hit LIV.
I mean,
the accent's great, too, by the way.
Oh, when it comes to that,
love
hit
it.
LIV.
Love it.
When you're coming into that. But look, they're going to have a problem here for a while from an optics perspective. And the biggest thing is that Monahan is one of the biggest hypocrites of all time. He dodged questions. He openly dodged the questions yesterday in multiple interviews about the relationship to the Saudis and this fund. The same things he was incredibly critical of over the last year, including very inflammatory language used in lawsuits, counter lawsuits against LIV at the time. So, I mean, the deal's done.
Yeah,
it's happening.
Yeah.
But I think there's still going to be a lot of hate between these two here for a while. I know time will heal wounds for these two leagues, but still, it's so awkward.
Yeah, one of the biggest surprises and biggest deals we've seen in a very, very long time, considering everything. Lastly, on What's Trending, continue to tell you about the 3rd annual Cody and Gold Garage Sale. It's coming up on Tuesday, June 20th. We are getting really, really close to the start of the garage sale. We're continuing. In fact, today we were adding some more experiences and items up on the website, which will be viewable closer to the date, so you guys can't see them yet.
Maybe like a week out.
You'll be able to actually check out some of the items and experiences before this year, so hopefully that helps everybody plan a little bit, and also you won't have to just use Twitter and DM and all that. You'll actually have an auction site this year. We're excited. Some of those experiences, again, include private tour for 10 of the museum with the president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, Bob Kendrick. There's also an experience with Bink. Eventually, we think we'll have settled with a brewery in town. We're also experience over at Prairie Bank Casino and Resort in Topeka with the Firekeeper Golf
Our
Course.
friends at Rieger. We're obviously supporting the show on Fridays now going forward. We'll also be having something, too.
And then items that you come to expect from the garage sale, right? Some of the randomness that we find around our house. We're going to have some confetti from on the field of the Super Bowl as well.
I've got some jars already made up.
Yeah, we have that. And then I know the KC Current have donated a prize pack as well. So we're excited. Garage sale coming up in just a couple of weeks, man. Less than 2 weeks away.
Let's figure out whose jar of confetti makes more money. You can have
funny.
the Alex
It would
Gold
be
jar
funny.
of confetti or the Cody Tap jar of confetti. You decide whose bid goes higher.
It would be funny, actually. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if we ended up with the same jar.
Same size jar?
I don't know.
Oh, my.
Mine is it's tiny, man.
Mine's not a very big jar.
It's tiny. But either way, it is the actual confetti from the field.
I can prove it via photo if you'd like.
Which we will. We'll include that. Anyway, that's what's trending. But yeah, people will usually have.
I
a lot of
maybe
interest
have
in
like
those.
15 of them. How many do I need to put in the garage sale? I don't have them claimed for anybody else.
I wouldn't put 15 in there. I think we should list like 5 to 10 of them.
And then maybe some more next year?
Yeah, I mean, I've got 2 bags still full of confetti. So I have enough probably to make another 10 or 15 jars. I've been it is still sitting in the corner, like there's this shelf, and there's just confetti and a bowl of more confetti.
One of the things that Danny Welniak, who now works for the KC Current, she donated, there's 2 types of confetti. There's just a Ziploc bag full of 2020 AFC Championship game confetti in there as well.
Okay. We got
Just so you know, to go along with
confetti.
the Chiefs' Red Friday flag from that year. And I've been told, like it's everybody, the second they figure out, anybody like, hey, I got some stuff for you. I'm like, sweet. Please, we will take as much money as we can raise for the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. There's no doubt about it.
Looking to break a record and raise a record amount of money for the museum. Coming up in about 10 minutes, or 20 minutes, we'll talk with Josh Vernier, our Royals insider, get his thoughts on what we've seen so far in Miami, and also the report there from Ken Rosenthal when it comes to what potentially packages could look like with Chapman and Barlow. Do they actually need to be packaged together? What's the better rate of return there? So we'll get to that in just a little bit. But thinking of Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills, he's, yes, on the cover of Madden, but also they're the one team that I don't think I'm alone, and this has been pretty common thought, I believe, that maybe they're going to take a step back. Maybe they're a team that, if you're looking at the recent contenders in the AFC, between the Chiefs, the Bengals, and Bills, certainly the Bills are more likely to slip back. Division's going to be, we think, ultra tough. Rodgers in it now.
Yeah, definitely just got harder with Rodgers.
And for them, they slip. They go from, a 13-win team, number one seed contender,
11-12.
to, worst case, 10. But, 11 or 12. That's probably a likely path, considering it's much easier, I think, to fall from a 12 or 13-win team to, not a division winner, but just a wild card team, than who you think should also be included in a conversation of taking a step back.
Yeah, I think that we should be talking about the Chargers the same way. To me, those teams are really similar, except one team has had way more success. Now, you'd be like, well, how are they similar? They have had really similar rosters for 3 consecutive years. They have had really consistent coaching staffs for each of the, same head coach. I understand the offensive coordinators now changed for both over the course of that time because the Chargers will have a new offensive coordinator. But same guys. It's still Eckler. It's still Williams. It's still, it's the same dudes. It's Keenan Allen. It is the same players on defense. It is a nearly identical. It feels like the same team. It feels like the same team that has come up short for the Bills is the same team that has come up short for the Chargers. I'm not sure why they wouldn't be included in this. And I think the hang up we have here is because the Chargers have now gotten better each year, technically. They went 7 wins, then 8 wins, then 9 wins. We're having a hard time imagining them being worse than 9 wins. But I
10
think,
last year,
or 10 wins. I think it is just as likely they win 8 as they win 10. I think that the backslide is coming for that team because I don't think that they've gotten marketably better. And until they probably likely make a head coaching change, if they were to finish with that kind of record, I don't see it. I think the Broncos are more of a challenge for them this year, and I don't think either of those teams is good enough to compete with the Chiefs in the division.
Well, no.
They might win this division by 3 or 4 games again.
Well, again, if you're saying they win 3 or 4 again, that's still the Chargers won 10 games last year. Like I get what you're saying that the Chargers.
Does it feel the same? Have they changed tangibly to you?
Not all that much, but they don't. To me, there isn't. They don't need to change to still just be a 9 or 10 win team. You know what I mean?
Could you make that same argument with the Bills? They don't need to change that much to be a 13-win team. They've held pretty steady with their win total.
The Bills, I think we would acknowledge, it's much tougher to win 13 games every year than it is to win 10. So do I think it's more likely the Bills would go from, let's say, a 13-win team to a 10-win team? Yeah, I do think that's more likely.
But over the last 3 years, they've won 12 games on average over the last 3 years.
I mean, it's just more like I don't know if there's necessarily history for either of our points to back it up. I would just argue
Probably
that.
not.
But, if you're winning 14 games on a regular basis, it doesn't take much for you to still be a pretty damn good team but fall back to an 11-win team. It doesn't take much, where, to me, you're a 10-win team.
You think it's hard to fall back to 7 or 8?
Because the Chargers
I actually think that anybody who wins between 6 and 10 games is somewhat close.
Well, they're
from a team perspective, and it's not that hard to be down in that range.
Yeah, but
not 6. I don't think they're a 6-win team. But.
If we look at the divisions, though, Ethan, I mean, the Chargers won 10 games last year. The team that won 6 in the division last year were the Raiders, and we all know the Chargers were worlds better than the Las Vegas Raiders last year. The Broncos won 5 games. The Chargers were way better. And I think in this year's division, the Chiefs are going to be the Chiefs. They're going to win 13, 14 games. The Raiders are going to be worse. They're going to be a 5 or 6 win team. They won 6 last year. The Broncos will be better than a 5-win team. I believe they could potentially be an 8 or 9 win team this year.
I think Peyton's worth a win, and I don't know.
See what happens.
15% better.
But they just could not score last year. I mean, it was.
I think they're like a 7-8 win team.
Maybe so. But I think the Chargers just kind of are who they are. They're gonna always fluctuate. Their win total, by the way, is 9.5 over under. They're a 9 to 11 win team. That's kind of what they are. And the question is, ever can they take the next leap? People have been saying that for years. But
they're not taking the next leap.
They're a 9 to 11 win football team. That's what they are. They got a really good quarterback. We'll see what Kellen Moore, the OC, can do. But we know they can't stay healthy. And I question Brandon Staley as an actual head coach. Perhaps Kellen Moore unlocks everything and it's a completely different offense. And here they go. But last year, Joey Bosa played in 5 games. J.C. Jackson, their big offseason acquisition, played in 5. They're going to have injuries. The question is, does it happen to those two guys in particular? Because those were two major losses for their defense. And you're going to say, well, they'll have injuries. I agree with you, which is why they're going to just be what they've been, man. They're going to be like a 10-win football team again.
I have a hard time, do you think it's more likely to take a step back or forward? Like, let's say,
forward.
You think it's more likely they're like a 12 or 13 win team than 8?
Yep,
Man,
I do.
yeah, I don't, because I would feel the same way if I asked you about the Bills.
We're basing it too much off of what we've always just had.
No, I really just don't think their roster's changed enough.
But if we're just basing it on a roster, then actually, see, that's always been the issue. We've all acknowledged the roster's actually pretty damn good. They just always underachieve.
It's gotten older.
The roster actually is still a top 6 roster in the AFC. They just never are a top 5 team in the AFC. The roster's not the problem. It goes down to the injury stuff and the coaching. If we're just going to say, well, roster-wise, and we just analyze them from roster only, then it's even more optimistic.
If we start with the other two things, what are the odds? Staley's just going to wake up this morning and be like, I'm a better coach now.
Right, which is why I'm not telling you they're going to win 12. But between the two, I don't think Justin Herbert, with the talent on that roster, they're going to suddenly be a 7 or 8 win football team.
Nick, just out of curiosity, do you think it's more likely that the Chargers win 13 games or only win 7 or 8?
I would say 13.
God, see, I really am on an island on this one.
Well, I don't know if you're on an island. Just on this show, I guess you are.
If you're making me choose between those two options, I don't think either of those are going to happen.
Well, because I'd make the same argument for the Bills. The Bills have been, on average, a 12-win team over the last 3 years. Do you think it's more likely the Bills win 14 or win 10?
14.
Probably 14.
Cody, the big thing here, and I'm not breaking any news to you, is my ultimate deciding factor is going to be who do you have at quarterback, and both of those teams you just mentioned have a top 5 quarterback.
But we also understand that backslides do happen every year in the NFL, even with teams with good quarterback play.
But I would rather rely on that than look at any other aspect of it. If you just told me,
if you just boil it down to a simple thing, Justin Herbert and Josh Allen are really good, so why would I?
Turns out, based off my research, that quarterback play and team success, there's a high correlation there.
You can confirm that? That's official Nick Schwartz research.
I've crunched the numbers, and it's official.
Oh, man. The Chargers, thank God for them, because they have just been squandering Justin Herbert's talent.
I'll tell you what, the Chargers could disrupt that theory a little bit.
They're trying really hard.
They are trying really hard.
They're an average of a 9-win team, and they have a top 3 quarterback in the NFL, or 4 quarterback in the NFL. They can't get anywhere.
The age-old adage is the hardest thing to get in the NFL is a franchise quarterback. The Chargers are doing this experiment of what if we had
back-to-back Hall of Famers and won nothing.
What if we had a great quarterback but then sucked at everything else? What would happen?
Is Phillip Rivers going to be in the Hall of Fame? I said that flippantly, and then I was like, I don't know if Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Famer. It feels like somehow he'll get in just because of counting numbers.
He certainly won't be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but one day down the road, I actually do think he'll end up getting in.
That'd be really embarrassing.
Doesn't
back-to-back Hall of Fame quarterbacks and never win anything. That'd be incredibly embarrassing. I couldn't imagine. I don't feel bad for the Chargers.
Well, no.
Is that the sentiment you're getting from us?
Yeah, they're just. Again, we're talking about.
They're stuck in mediocrity.
Yeah, that's what they are. 10-win team. I would lock in 10 wins for right now.
Hey, are you guys surprised to find out how bad they were on offense last year? The Chargers. Guys, that's the other part. They're 13th.
In fairness, Herbert was throwing to. What's his name? Guyton and all.
Jalen Guyton.
Jalen Guyton.
Who is the last team that you guys can remember that had a quarterback that we perceived to be in that elite tier that just never really had the team
The Denver Broncos, probably, with Russell Wilson.
No, sustained.
I know what you're saying.
Year over year. We went 3 or 4 years and we're like, this guy's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, but they just never won at a high level. They never looked like one of the bbest teams in the NFL.
God, I'm going to really think about this.
That's hard to do.
Consistently not perform? Because that's the tough part. I could pin a year, right?
Sure.
I can find a year where the Packers underperformed. For the most part, they were a consistent performer for 10 consecutive years. But it's like...
I know you want to even say the Chargers with Phillip Rivers, but there were stretches
Carson Palmer!
Where they were winning division titles with LaDainian Tomlinson, and they were going to, AFC Championship games
Carson
with the
Palmer?
Patriots.
He was largely considered one of the most talented quarterbacks in the NFL for a number of years, and they didn't do anything.
Yeah, a lot of people on the text line are always saying Dan Marino. He obviously didn't win the Super Bowl.
That's going back pretty far,
But the Dolphins were a good...
you're saying that top 5, top 10 quarterback, but the team just not making the playoffs consistently.
The team's just fighting for a playoff spot every year.
I don't know if that Is there an answer to that? That, hey, we consistently top 10 quarterback and went 4 years in a row without making the playoffs?
For the longest time, I thought Dak was a top 10 quarterback, and they haven't really done anything, but they still make the playoffs.
And they're winning, 10-plus, 11-plus games.
Yeah.
They still compete.
Right, that's what I'm asking.
Someone said Matt Ryan. Well, Matt Ryan went to a Super Bowl, guys.
And won an MVP.
Oh, yeah, that's tough. And they weren't the Falcons weren't winning 4 games a year with Matt Ryan at majority of his career. They were a playoff team majority of his career, a fringe playoff team.
Somebody mentioned Jay Cutler, but I don't know if Jay Cutler was ever in that echelon. Like he was
never
never
a top 10 quarterback for a while, but he was like fringe top 10. He was like
a lot of interceptions.
Was it more than just?
Well, at the time you could throw more.
Was it more than just 1 or 2 years though? 2 years in a row where we ever thought? Like, did we think for 4 straight years he was a top 10 quarterback? No, it's probably like a 1 or 2 year.
For like a 2 year. 2 year stretch, probably. That was it.
Someone says Jim Kelly.
And Josh McDaniels ruined his career.
Jim Kelly went to 4 Super Bowls. I know he
accomplished plenty.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Jim Kelly was, the Bills were.
We're saying, I get what you're saying on the text line. You're saying didn't win the big one, but was a great quarterback. We're just saying, like, viewed as a top 10 guy and just wasn't.
And their team just wins 7 games a year. The answer is no.
For the record, the Chargers, in their current state, would give up everything they had to have a run like Jim Kelly and the Bills had in the early 90s.
There's actually a pretty decent one up prior to him winning a ring with the Rams. Stafford and the Lions.
Yep.
That's actually a decent answer. Yeah, I know
that is very good.
He put up big-time numbers, and I think kind of proved it also right away once he went to the Rams that he was actually a pretty damn good quarterback. He just was on a terrible team.
Text line also mentioned Deshaun Watson in Houston. It wasn't that long of a time, but it's a
pretty good answer.
It's a pretty good answer, especially the last year where it's like he's a top
It's so hard to look at his career in any other way now because it went so weird.
But
went so bad.
I don't know if I agree with the Deshaun Watson one. Remember, even though we make fun of Bill O'Brien and everything, they were winning the division consistently in the AFC South.
Yeah. But here's the thing. It's not like I'm saying just because I think the Chargers take a step back this year that I don't think that they'll be a 10-win team next year. We're talking about a 1-year sample size of a drop back. We're not saying the Bills can't win. If they win 11 games this year, they can't win 13 next year.
I think also the Bills conversation, more than even the win total, when people are talking about them taking a step back, it's more like, are they actually a Super Bowl contender still? Is there a chance that they're going to be surpassed by the Jets and the Ravens or whatever? Whereas the Chargers, they're not going from Super Bowl contender to dropping back. We're talking about, are they going from a wild card team to not being a wild card team? It's just someone says Lamar Jackson.
A lot of them are a lot like what Justin Herbert's doing now. It's Andrew Luck, right? It's not that you never make the postseason. It's not that there's no team success, but it's also just like he had 10-6 seasons. He had 8-7 seasons to go with his 11-5 seasons, right? Like, and if you're talking about that, then that's kind of like, that's where it feels like they're stuck right now. Everyone largely considered Andrew Luck a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, and rightfully so during that stretch. But, they didn't really, they made some postseason runs, but they hit an absolute hard cap of 10, 11 wins. And it feels like the Chargers are gearing up to that there's a hard cap of wins. They don't have some extra gear they're getting ready to press into, which is why I think it's just as likely they go back. Now we'll see. And I mean, obviously this division, we don't think about it the same way that we felt going into last year.
Not
because
at all.
There's one absolute joke, and I don't fear Denver even if they get better. The only team even worth caring about is the Chargers, and I just think they still.
There's always surprises, but it does feel like you could lay out 1 through 4 in the division, and it's hard to argue saying Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. It
feels like the surprise are going to be somewhere
exact else. Order of finish, and maybe maybe there is going to be much better play out of somebody in the division than we expected, but I just would be pretty surprised.
No. Probably where you're stuck, one way or the other. Someone's also mentioning Derek Carr. It's like, oh god, he was just outside.
He was just outside.
He was in that club, but looking outside that club.
I actually still think he's gonna have a great year down in New Orleans, though. I know we're not talking about the Saints, but I think he's gonna have a fantastic year in New Orleans. I love the Saints over their win total.
This is the second year in a row you've loved the Saints, and I hated them last year, and I'm going to go right back to the well. Their head coaching situation stinks. Dennis Allen is a bad head coach, and there's many years
they only lost
the
tiebreaker.
Otherwise.
They finished with the same crappy record as the team that actually made it to the postseason out of that division, essentially. And that division was so bad. They all had 7 wins last year.
He sounds got a
terrible.
300 career winning percentage in 4 NFL seasons. He's bad.
Yeah. The division still sucks, and there's no Tom Brady. Derek Carr's the best quarterback in that division by far.
That's got to feel good for Derek Carr.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a really good year.
By far. It's probably accurate.
Derek Carr, Baker Mayfield's battling with Kyle Trask for the job in Tampa. You got a rookie in
you could argue
Bryce
that
Young in
Bryce Young's the
Carolina.
best quarterback. But
he's a rookie. We don't know a thing about him yet, man. Disrespectful.
But I know a lot about Derek Carr.
Disrespectful
So.
Derek Carr. Derek Carr is the best quarterback in that division.
Who's the fourth one?
Desmond Ritter's horrific.
Oh, he's the worst.
I think he sucks.
No, Baker's the worst.
What if he's the truth, though? Have you considered that?
Then he doesn't suck.
What if Desmond Ritter's him?
He could be him.
Then what?
Have we done an X-ray? Has Desmond Ritter underwent an X-ray?
I'm not sure. Why don't you go do some
See if he
research
has that
and tweet
dog in
that
him?
out? Yeah, please do that. See if you can find that exact X-ray. Desmond Ritter's ribs.
The only way to talk about those things anymore is if we talk about them with players who have no business being discussed in this conversation, like Desmond Ritter. You sending out the X-ray, like just Desmond Ritter makes one good training camp pass and then immediately sending out the X-ray of the dogs inside his chest. The only way to do this meme correctly now.
All right, coming up next, we'll talk to our guy, Josh Vernier, our Royals insider. He'll be on the air a little bit later this afternoon. I want to get his thoughts on the report from Ken Rosenthal that suggests the Royals could package a couple relievers together. Is that the right move? Next.
Cody and Gold.
A gentleman named George Bancroft, who is an American historian, statesman, prominent in the the entire 1800s.
Are we almost done with this conversation?
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
Midwest Marine Boat Company is celebrating their new location, now open in Grandview, Missouri. And with summer already here, Midwest Marine Boat Company has everything you need for summer fun on the water, and most importantly, to keep you on the water. In fact, check out their service department. They've added technicians, which means turning boats around faster. You're not waiting weeks just to get back on the water. Their service department is more efficient than anybody else around. And if you're looking for a new boat, they have the largest selection of pontoon boats in the area. It's Midwest Marine Boat Company in Grandview. We take pride in your fun.
Join in on the fun at the other place with 3 great Kansas City locations. Shawnee, Olathe, downtown Overland Park. The other place has a great patio, live music, incredible food, awesome drink specials, and you can watch the playoffs and your favorite baseball team. The other place is your place for summer fun.
Hey, it's Kling. Time to stock up for the grill or flat top or smoker with my friends from Hy-Vee. The Build Your Own Meat Bundle sale is going this weekend. And for quality, there's no better place than Hy-Vee. Only the highest quality beef, pork, and chicken meet Hy-Vee's very picky standards. In fact, only 6% of all cattle are good enough for Hy-Vee. That's why I'm headed to Hy-Vee this weekend to save a bundle during the Build Your Own Meat Bundle sale. I can mix and match my favorites like Choice Reserve strip steaks, pork loin chops, and twice baked potatoes. The more I buy, the more I save. Only at Hy-Vee.
Saving a bundle at Hy-Vee is as easy as 1, 2. Yep, that's it. 1, 2, and you saved a bundle during the Build Your Own Meat Bundle sale. Step 1, pick the perfect size of your meat bundle. Step 2, choose from 25 fan favorites like bacon-wrapped sirloin fillets, pork ribeyes, boneless chicken breasts, or country-style ribs. It's that simple. 1, 2. The bigger the bundle, the more you save. June 9th through 11th at your Kansas City area Hy-Vee.
Can I help? Who's next?
Tom's part-time barista is now a full-time actor.
Oh, you didn't hear. He got the part on Broadway. Yeah, great for him, bad for our finicky cold brew tap.
Now he needs a star understudy to fill his open role.
And he made the best grande triple shot with oat milk caramel.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Wendy's Strawberry Frosty is back for the summer. 'Cause if it's summertime, it's Frosty time. Beach time? Frosty time. Tea time? Frosty time. Me time? Frosty time. Treat yourself to Wendy's Strawberry Frosty this summer and make time for Frosty time. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's. Now open till midnight or later.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary.
Who doesn't love diamond studs? Stud earrings are more than a great addition to your jewelry wardrobe. They're a coveted classic. As a Shane Company jewelry consultant, I can tell you this, ours are simply the best. We offer both natural diamond studs and lab-grown diamond studs. At Shane Company, our diamond experts hand-select the stones for beauty and sparkle. And our in-house design team creates our earring settings to ensure an elegant design and a comfortable fit. With our attention to detail at every step in the making, you can be sure your Shane Company studs are the highest quality and made with the finest craftsmanship. With a wide range of carat weights available, it'll be easy to find studs in your price range. What people love about diamond studs is that you can wear them with anything and elevate your everyday look. Why not treat yourself or someone else? We offer a generous upgrade policy so you can change out the diamonds at any time. Visit us for dazzling diamond studs that will sparkle for a lifetime.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
It's your last chance to shop Memorial Day savings at Lowe's. Shop the outdoor essentials your lawn and garden need today. Lowe's knows lawn care. Lowe's knows home improvement.
Meet Joe A, Joe B, and Joe C. What's up? 3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect. Support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase. Make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about washing your car? Right now, you can get the Armor All Ultimate Car Care Detailing 8-piece kit for only $25. That's soap, a wash mitt, wheel cleaner, tire shine, glass wipes, and interior wipes, all together in a bucket. Give your car the shine it deserves at the right price. Only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
You like to move it.
At the United States Postal Service, we're reinventing our network to help keep your business moving. With new shipping options to deliver better value, greater flexibility to conveniently reach your customers, more confident shipping with new informed delivery features, and new electric vehicles for a cleaner, brighter future. Fast, reliable, perfectly orchestrated. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America. Learn more at USPS.com/moving forward.
I switched to Boost Mobile and got a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone. Want to know the best part?
It was free?
Nope.
The fact that it's on America's largest 5G networks?
Nope. It's the ding.
Oh yeah, love the ding.
Right? It's all about the ding. It's the dingarooski, the dingaroner, the ring-a-ding-ding.
Unleash your power to save with Boost. Get a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone when you switch. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power.
And the ding.
Limited time offer. New customers only. Available on select networks. 5G not available everywhere. One device per line. Tax excluded. Additional restrictions apply. See your local Boost Mobile store for details.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Technicians you can trust with your house keys.
At Anthony, we get the job done right the first time. That's why these are the technicians Kansas Cityans have trusted for over 70 years. Right now, receive a new AC for as low as $59 a month. From Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
All right, back here on Cody and Gold. We were looking during the break. Not a good time to be Zion Williamson. Whoops. Getting caught up.
He's got some Snapchat receipts.
Multiple women
aren't
happy with his recent photo of a gender reveal that he had with his girlfriend or somebody.
I haven't seen this. Can you guys just explain it to the audience?
Is there any way to explain this? You can't read any of the
No,
text.
but the quick summary is Zion Williamson of the New Orleans Pelicans recently put out a gender reveal video with girlfriend, I think.
Girlfriend, I think is what the headline said.
And he's all happy, obviously, and it generated a response from a couple other women on Twitter that are very upset that he...
and have some evidence to support that what they're claiming is true. And then is also upset that, they helped him get in shape.
Through various methods.
You guys are insinuating...
And they're not seeing some of the, reward of this
You guys
system.
are insinuating that perhaps Zion Williamson is not being faithful.
Yes, it turns out. It turns out, but the screenshots of all the snaps are not a great look for him because they're now tweeting out all his Snapchats to them, and it's not a great look.
Airing of dirty laundry, if you will.
Yeah. So it's not a good time to be one Zion Williamson.
So please enjoy that rabbit hole that we just sent you down.
During the break, that's all Cody and I were searching. It's I wish we could read them. You can do it yourself, though, on Twitter if you need to. We'll get to the random question of the day coming up in about 10 minutes or so, but let's talk some Royals baseball with our guy, Josh Vernier, our Royals insider. He'll be on the air a little bit later on this afternoon at 4 o'clock. Royals taking on the Marlins. They moved up the start time of that game due to the NBA Finals going on, and Jordan Lyles on the mound tonight. And
hang on, just tell me one of the snaps.
Oh boy, let me pull this back.
How did they get him in shape?
She said that she let him have sex with her a lot of different ways in order to help get him in shape.
Yeah,
and that he should
I thought it was nutrition.
No. She wasn't like cooking him home-cooked meals. It was going the other way for her.
She let him do a lot of different
recipes.
Yeah, a lot of different things, Vern. What she allowed him to do, it turns out. And if you want the details, you can check that out for yourself.
No, that's okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right, I was in a different place.
By the way, has anyone ever tried that with like, hey, look, I'm really trying to, you want me to get in better shape? I have a great solution. Look, problem solved for everybody.
She said that she tried to motivate him, and she told him that he can be the next LeBron James. She was all in, and then she was hurt. She just got crushed.
Well, that's too bad. Best of luck to Zion. Hope to see him on the court soon.
Yeah. Anyway.
Jordan Lyles.
Jordan Lyles.
Let's talk about Jordan Lyles.
Yeah.
You guys
obviously
still planning that party for when he picks up his win?
Well, Cody's hoping. He already spoiled one of your segments on your pregame show. Just want you to know.
I only spoiled half of it.
Yeah.
And really a quarter of it when you consider that Vern's the other half.
Because he already told us that he's going to bet on the Royals to win, even though Jordan Lyles, we know the Royals are 0-12 when he steps out on the mound.
It's got to end. It's not going to last forever.
I mean, it doesn't have to end, but I get what you're saying. I mean, I get what you're saying.
It will eventually end.
I mean, it doesn't, but there's nothing that says it has to.
Yeah, you're
right. That's accurate.
You're right.
You know, the roulette wheel, it can be black 100 times in a row. There's nothing saying it has to flip to red, even though we all know eventually it might.
Yeah, well, and if the defense continues to boot everything that they get hit to them, Jordan Lyles might not control the outcome tonight, much like Zach Greinke didn't control the outcome last night.
True.
Sure did bring out some pretty entertaining phone calls, though, last night. A lot of reaction, which was very surprising and made me feel very nice. But a lot of people dialed in on a Tuesday cracking jokes about this Royals defense, including Frying Pan Hands Edward Olivares.
Is at this point, is it just that they're bad defensive players, and that's what we should expect going forward, Vern, or is it's the yips? They are all in their head about how bad they are as a team, and now defensively it has completely seeped its way onto this roster, and therefore no one can play solid defense.
Well, it's certainly a little bit of both, but I think it's a case-by-case basis. I'd say with Edward Olivares, it's 75-25. He's just a bad defender. With MJ Melendez, I'd say it's 60-40. He's still learning. He's a bad outfielder. The issue with MJ right now is he's not hitting for enough power to offset the step backwards that you knew you were going to take defensively when you put a catcher in the corner outfield. And then Bobby Witt Jr., I want to say it's 50-50. I want to say it's partially the yips, partially hey, we got to score 8 runs every single night if we want a chance to win, and I got to play airtight defense. That's a lot of pressure for a guy. It's still a week away from his 23rd birthday. I wish I was more certain that the want to was causing the errors for Bobby Witt Jr., but last night it wasn't an error. It was a mental error. And again, maybe that is him pressing out there, or maybe it's reflective of a terrific athlete that maybe would be better suited in center field or at third base, at a spot where you're not making such critical bang-bang decisions like you are at least 3 to 6 times every night at shortstop. That decision that he made last night to flip the ball underhanded to third base to try to get the lead runner drifting a little too far off of the bag. Second time he's done something similar to that this season. I thought he learned from it in early April. But that's disappointing because he's a smart baseball mind. He has a high baseball IQ. That was a dumb decision last night, and my shortstop can't be making dumb decisions.
It's kind of why I think it's mental. He got picked off on a pop-up in the infield the other day. I mean, to me, I think he's just in his head.
He stood up and owned. He owned it in a way that, Cody, you've been around a lot of big leaguers. Gold, you have as well. I remember Mike Moustakas. A lot of those champions didn't handle failure as well as Bobby Witt Jr. is. And knowing how much pressure's on Bobby's shoulders, I've said it before, he doesn't have the Eric Hosmer along with his Mike Moustakas. They don't have that A and 1A. It's Bobby, and then everyone is a very distant second, third. It's all on his shoulders every single day. Top of the lineup, 1 or 2, premium position. Everyone's focusing on your talents and your subpar performance thus far in your career. I'll give him credit. He took that entire loss back on Saturday, said it's all on me. I was impressed with the leadership that he showed after that game.
We're talking to Josh Vernier, our Royals insider. We know over the next couple weeks there'll probably start to be some more noise around the trade market. Ken Rosenthal had a report that, not surprisingly, as they should, the Royals are open for business, but he also noted that Aroldis Chapman and Scott Barlow are available and may be included in the same trade package. I think it was you maybe a year ago, you had mentioned we were discussing Andrew Benintendi and how maybe package Scott Barlow with Benintendi as well and try to get as much as possible. Is that the path that you think they should go down as well here with Chapman and Barlow?
If you can, right, the return would be much larger if you can package them together. But if I'm a team and I like my bullpen but don't necessarily love it, I could convince myself that Aroldis Chapman is enough, and we can part with a A-ball prospect, a double-A prospect for 2 months of Aroldis Chapman. But JJ and his front office are doing what they should be doing, and that is making presentations to other teams, not sitting there waiting for them to call Kansas City. They're prepared with packages of Chapman and Salvi, Chapman and Barlow, and of course, if you can dump Salvi's contract, if you can clear up some space to maybe go out and make the type of moves that this team needs to compete next season, to bring in the type of pitching that this organization right now needs, yeah, I'm all for it. To me, the biggest takeaway from what Ken Rosenthal said, and I think we would all agree that Ken Rosenthal, Jeff Passan, probably the two best baseball writers, reporters in the country, when Rosenthal acknowledges that, yeah, the Royals are putting Salvi's name out there, we've been talking about it here locally for months now. I'm wondering if Royals fans are now truly starting to come to grips with the idea that Salvi could be in another uniform by the end of next season. Not even talking about this year. That's going to be tough for people to swallow, but you better start coming to terms with the idea that he could be elsewhere this time next year or by the end of next season.
When Rosenthal in that article is talking about, hey, and if you take some of their money away, then the Royals are even more open to that. I guess I just assumed that was about Jordan Lyles. Do the Royals view the Salvador Perez contract as a bad one? I guess in the regard that is, it keeps them from doing other things. Because obviously his play versus his pay is not that bad.
Yeah, no doubt. No, he's
getting that.
Yeah, without questions. Now, is he $20 million? Sure. Yeah, maybe. If he wasn't Salvi, right? If he wasn't the great number 13 and the future Royals Hall of Famer and the World Series MVP, I don't know if he's worth $22 million. I think he's really only worth that here in Kansas City. Yeah. That, in my opinion, they can't give him away in a money dump, but they certainly want to dump that money. He's taken up, 20% of this team's salary this year, next year, the year after that. If they could, dole out that money to 3+ other players, they would much prefer to do that. Because, again, for as much as we want them to step on the gas pedal and spend big money, they're not going to do that until, A, this evaluation season is complete, and if this evaluation season proves that these young hitters are the winners that they need to be, that Singer and Lynch can at least come alongside free agent pitching. They would love to get out of that contract. They would love to get rid of that money.
When you said that you maybe prepare Royals fans for this time next year at the end of next season, is that because other teams may look at the money differently, or do you think the Royals just also aren't ready to do it this year?
I think it's easier to trade someone like Salvador Perez, a catcher. Easier to trade a catcher to have him learn your pitching staff throughout spring training.
Gotcha.
Easier done in the offseason. That's why I say that.
And that would mean MJ Melendez is a catcher again? I'm asking because, Vern, I just don't, sometimes it's like when you're trying to make all these young players fit at the same time. It's like moving MJ, we both know that he has better value because we wouldn't care as much if he's hitting 220 with a 320 on base if he's catching. He has more value if he's doing those two things.
Yes. And he was catching well earlier this season. And would a trade of Salvador Perez put MJ back behind the dish? If it happens in the offseason, I would think so. If it happened this year at the trade deadline, I think MJ stays where he is, and Freddie Fermin gets some starts because we're already punting on this season. And then you sign your, whoever's the Martin Maldonado of this upcoming offseason, whoever that veteran solid receiver is, you bring him in to help stabilize the pitching staff. That's how I would handle it. Him to go alongside MJ Melendez, who would be the catcher maybe on opening day next year. But I think MJ's staying in the corner outfield for the rest of this season.
Hey, Vern, Greinke had said he wants to pitch as long as he's effective. He's been effective for like 7 consecutive starts. Is Zach Greinke just going to be a Royal again in 2024?
I certainly hope so.
They need him, I think.
Yeah, listen, he can do whatever he wants. He just continues to impress me. I'm waiting for the drop-off, waiting for him to look my age, right? We're the same age, and he refuses to do so. He should have gone 5 innings of 2-run baseball last night. He's given the team a chance to win in all but one of his starts this season. Statistically, he's this team's best starting pitcher. I'll still say Brady's the number 1. He's looking more and more like Brady Singer, but the numbers say Greinke, the 39-year-old's your best pitcher, and Salvi, the 33-year-old's your best player, period.
Lastly, Vern, the Whit Merrifield suitcase from a year ago, as you probably know by now, is missing.
Yeah.
Have you seen it at all?
No, but I haven't seen it, but last I saw Cody, it was in Cody's
it keeps coming back to him. It keeps coming back to him.
Right. He was doing something. It was in his car the last time I saw it.
What do you mean it was in my car? Like when I was leaving the stadium when I got it last year?
We'll let that just sit there. Thank you, Vern. Appreciate the insight. That's Josh Vern, your
so vague.
Royals insider. In your car.
I am shocked at the amount of people that are willing to lie. For such little reason, like accusing me of this crime.
You want us to believe that 10 different people are lying, but you're the only one telling the truth?
Cody, if I were in your position, can I just give you a little piece of advice?
Yeah.
If I were in your position and I felt like everyone's attacking me and I'm thinking, why does everybody want to level accusations against me?
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably look inward. What is it about me that makes everyone else think that I am the guilty party here? What is it about me? Or is the world just out to get you, right? Is it the world versus Cody? Or maybe is there something you're doing that is bringing this about?
I think the world's against me.
Okay, there we go. And we have that settled.
Everybody's out to get you, huh?
On this one, yes. All the time, maybe not. But, for this time, yes.
And that's a good way to live your life, too. Right? Never take ownership of your situation. Just always blame it on outside influences.
This is like I was going back to the gym.
That's good for your soul.
Versus just admitting. Look, I'll admit one thing about this. You ready? I should have done a better job securing the suitcase. That is on me.
We're getting okay.
I should have made sure that it had better security around it than I did.
What is it? The first step is acceptance or admittance?
I allowed it to be stolen by not
yeah.
protecting it the way it deserved to be protected. But I did not steal it. That was somebody else. And that criminal is still on the loose. They might get away with this as long as Chiefsaholic at this point. They may never be caught. They may be one of the single greatest criminals in this country's history.
Maybe they'll end up on the most wanted list right next to him.
Yep.
Right next to Chiefsaholic. Whoever stole this suitcase is going to end up on that exact same list with Chiefsaholic. He was 5? 4? Where was he?
Well, he was 5.
He was 5. Okay.
We just received a new one, as a matter of fact.
What?
A new most-wanted list.
Okay. Chiefsaholic's moved up?
No. He stayed just there. You are now number 4.
Why am I on a list? I'm the most wanted list.
I think Nick has a copy of it as well. We were just sent this.
I can go to the site.
It still has the same 1, 2, 3, but 4. It lists Cody Tapp.
Can I see this, please?
Yeah, it has the same date of birth. Is your date? Let me ask you, what's your date of birth? Is it September 1st, 1984?
I don't know. Yes.
You don't know.
Yes. Yes, and it says theft and tampering is
Jackson
why you're
County,
number 4.
Missouri.
It does say Jackson County.
Tampering?
Yeah. I don't know. Jackson County, they must be thinking it's Royals property. Must be what they're thinking.
Interesting.
Because you don't live in Jackson County anymore.
No, but the Royals currently reside in Jackson County, so they must be viewing it that way.
But it's the Greater Kansas City Crime Stoppers Most Wanted. You are now number 4. You're ahead of Chiefsaholic.
Congratulations, Cody. You made the top 5.
It's not something to be congratulated for. And also, I think that probably was photoshopped. I don't want to say for sure, but something tells me that's probably not a real
Everything's
image.
fake news to you, huh?
You know who else claimed everything was fake news?
Who?
You know.
Let's get to the random question.
Random question.
For you, Gold, for you, Nick, over the J Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7610. We're going to go one way, but I'm going to save the one you put in there for tomorrow because I have a different question that we were briefly discussing before the show, and I want to know if I'm alone on this. At what stage are you unwilling to learn a new life skill that you think might come in handy occasionally? So, Nick and I were talking, and I recently needed to use a truck. About a month ago, 2 months ago, I needed to borrow a truck so that I could move some stuff. My father-in-law has a truck. I'd never driven it, but he has a truck. And so I was like, hey, can I use a truck? So sure. Leaves the key, get into the car. It's a clutch. Drives a stick. I hadn't driven a stick in 15 years, maybe more, but probably around there. 15 years before I had driven a stick. And I had a good, solid, I would say, 5-minute moment in the car where I'm like, can I do this? Can I drive this? Am I capable of driving this car right now as someone who hasn't driven a stick in 15 years? And I did it. It was a bit dicey all the way to the location. Then on the way back, much better. I've since driven it 2 more times, and I feel like I'm proud to say I can drive a stick again. Nick said he's never going to learn stick ever again.
Why would I
Are there
need to?
things? Why not? You
So
might need it.
I would
Are
learn
you saying
to-
if there's a point in your life where you're just like, I'm never going to learn a new thing? You're an
Cody,
old dog learns new tricks?
Explain to me how it is. Like, it's like telling me, oh, you're never going to learn how to read a sundial? No. I don't think it's ever going to come up.
What would you have done in that situation? Would you just be like, well, I can't drive this. This is no good.
Yes.
And that's what I do now. I don't know how to drive a manual either.
If somebody hands me a piece of Chinese literature, I say, sorry, can't read this.
The only way I'm probably ever going...
But you could learn.
The only way I'm probably ever going to learn to drive a manual, if you told me...
You try to learn German.
Somehow a very nice sports car ended up in something I would actually be able to drive, then I would learn. But like just for the random one-off, I'm not... No, I'm not against learning for it, but I have no reason, to Nick's point a little bit, unless all of a sudden Nick was gifted a very nice sports car that's manual. I don't think Nick feels like there's probably much of a reason to learn either.
Like this person, I rode a bike in Florida for the first time in 10 years. It was sketchy as hell.
The only time
When's the last time you were on a bike?
A couple months
But
ago.
I feel like after a minute, you get like 30 seconds, you get your balance figured out.
But that's how I kind of felt with the stick, right? It was a bit dicey for the first few roads, but after a while, it's like, have you ever driven a stick?
Nope.
Well, that's a different problem. So I have at least driven one. Nick, have you ever driven a manual?
No.
Okay, I think that's the difference. I think if you'd ever done it at any stage, you would have been like, I can sort this.
I think with the scenario you played out, like if I'm if I'm retired and I decide to treat myself and I buy an old 1967 Corvette or whatever, I'd be like, okay, I have this awesome toy. I want to be able to drive this thing around town. Then maybe I would learn stick. But like that's such a specific scenario.
So like a friend of mine got she got a classic car not that long ago, and she was like, you could drive it. I was like, I don't think that till I drive a stick again, I don't think I want to drive your very nice car.
Now we're getting specific scenarios on the text line 913-586-7610. So what if you and a buddy got mauled by a bear in the woods? And the only way to get out is driving a stick shift.
I guess you're just going to
Someone
get
else
mauled.
says, yeah, imagine a situation where nobody else can drive. Someone needs to be rushed to the hospital.
Do you think you could figure it out? Like if I put you in the parking lot right now, and I gave you 20 minutes.
No. And by the way, in that situation, you know what would happen?
Nick, I
If
bet you could
needs-
after 20 minutes. It wouldn't be you'd stall it out a few times, but I bet you could figure it out.
But you know what would happen in that scenario of like somebody needs to be rushed to the hospital and I jump in the car? I would just berate the person for having a manual car, and then I would start screaming, his blood's on your hand. He's going to die because you have a manual car. This is not my fault.
Because you refuse to get an automatic? Some people like it, Nick. There's nothing wrong with I drive an automatic, or I would drive a manual car, and I don't care.
See, I would
It's
never.
not the one I've had.
Personally, unless we're talking about a much higher end sports car, if I'm just buying what is considered just a normal vehicle, I'm not buying a manual. No chance.
Just it would never.
No.
You'd never even consider it.
No.
It was like a cool modern car, like a nice someone like
a Lamborghini.
2016 Audi or something. You wouldn't.
I mean, if you told me there was a brand new Audi and I had the financial means to afford it, I would probably say I can just pay for the automatic version too.
Yeah, that's what Kobe Bryant did when he bought his wife a Ferrari after he cheated on her. He bought her a Lamborghini, actually, I think it was, and he made them make it automatic.
He's like, I don't want it manual. Just let her drive it like normal.
Yeah, you know what? Because he's like, oh, you got me a new car? I don't know how to drive it. So it's useless to me.
I just think that it's not, I feel like if it's a skill you already had, I don't think it hurts to be like, oh, I guess I'll figure this out. Because, like, Nick, eventually, or either of you guys might, like, work on a house. If you don't know how to do something, I assume you'll try to figure it out rather than hire somebody for all of it.
No, I mean, there's TaskRabbit. There's different apps.
There's contractors.
Yeah. I like to stimulate my local economy.
That's right.
I like to do stuff myself with my hands. Work like an American man, It's different, not like you do.
Yeah, okay.
Get that
the funniest thing about that is that I know you do like a lot of tasks around your house. Like you just built a fence last weekend, didn't you?
Yep.
The funniest, and don't take this the wrong way, Cody, but like just aesthetically, you don't look like the type of guy who's really handy. I think you would agree with that, right?
Yeah, I think if you just looked at me on the street, you'd be like, that guy definitely hires someone to do these things.
Yeah, 100%.
But I don't, so that should count for something.
Right,
I'm the only member of the show who can drive a 6-speed. I'm the only one who can fix the fence.
You're breaking stereotypes.
One day at a time. People who look like me should be allowed to fix things and drive cars with stick shifts.
And how would you describe your look? Just to round this conversation out.
Like I was the 4th member of Weezer who got kicked out.
All right. Yeah, all right.
That's pretty good, actually.
Not bad.
Yeah.
That is the random question of the day. Coming up next, though, not only will we talk a little bit more about the Live Golf Tour and the latest on that, but also what's happening around the country when it comes to stadium projects. And Cody thinks maybe it's getting more challenging. That's next.
Cody and Gold.
The facts on this show are irrelevant.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
Look, when you're looking for a new career versus looking in someone's phone, hypothetically, there's only one place in Kansas City to check, and that is our friends at Centric.
And if you're looking for an IT career, anytime you type IT career, if you're searching on them, you're going to get Centric because they're the best in Kansas City. IT is the future of Kansas City, so you want to work with a company like Centric that puts you on a path to a new career in just 4 months, and they work with over 1,500 companies that have hired Centric grads in the past.
Think about no matter the IT you want to get into. You're like, oh, Amazon Web Service is big, so maybe I want to get into that. Or you've seen all these people who've seen that career advancement and the ability to move up. There are jobs that don't have that. IT is one of those jobs where there's infinite possibilities because it is in every single possible field. It includes in radio here, in car manufacturing, or just straight up in some of those technology services you've seen throughout. So if you go to centric.com/610 or you call our guy Russ Mondry, you're going to see for yourself exactly how Centric can help you. Don't wait any longer. Change your career in as little as 4 months. Go to centric.com/610.
Is your old garage door a real clunker? Overhead Door Company of Kansas City is paying cash for your clunkers now. They'll haul away your old garage door and give you instant credit towards a new insulated door. $200 for the first garage door and $100 for each additional door. Cash in your old opener and entry door too. It's cash for clunkers now at Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. Schedule your free estimate at overheaddoorkc.com or call 816-221-0072.
The health of your home starts at the foundation. Here's James and Josiah of American Topsoil.
A wet basement can be a nightmare for homeowners. Prevent it by adding topsoil around your foundation.
If poor drainage is ignored or left unchecked, this can allow water to flow inward toward your foundation, potentially causing dangerous cracks and leaks.
Guys, the message is adding topsoil now can prevent big foundation problems.
That's right. So protect your home and give yourself peace of mind with this easy solution.
You can be confident knowing you'll only pay for the amount of soil you actually need. Call us at American Topsoil, 913-888-SOIL.
American Topsoil, 30 years and 4 generations of great topsoil for landscaping, gardening, and foundation preservation. With locations in Olathe and KC Mo. Nutrient-rich organic topsoil delivered with their power wheelbarrow service right where you need it. Call 913-888-SOIL or online at AmericanTopsoil.com. Great topsoil, great service. American Topsoil.
Attention basketball fans, get ready for an electrifying showdown on Friday, August 11th. The ABL presents an epic clash between two legendary alumni teams. It's Self's Army, led by Brandon Rush, going head-to-head against the Manhattan Bombers, led by Jordan Henriquez. Mark your calendars for August 11th and secure your tickets now at eventbrite.com or ablballin.com. Experience the adrenaline, the energy, and the excitement of ABL live action. It's Self's Army versus the Manhattan Bombers. Kansas City Community College Fieldhouse. Be a part of the ABL legend.
Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year, which means... Wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer.
Go ahead.
Did I read that right? Discover automatically doubles all your cash back?
Yeah, that's what the script says.
So if I get a Discover card right now, I can earn twice the cash back.
Apparently. Wait! Unlimited first-year cash back match. Only from Discover. See terms and learn more at discover.com/match.
Kelley Blue Book is the one-stop shop for pricing, fixing, selling, and instant cash offering. Instant Cash Offer is exactly what it sounds like. An official offer to buy or trade your car. Just enter your VIN or license plate, answer a few questions about your car's history, and what kind of condition it's in. In minutes, you'll receive an offer to sell or trade your car that you can be sure is fair. Then choose a dealer to purchase your car and schedule a time to meet. For all of the its, KBB.com.
Hey, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Do you remember how cold it got this winter? Well, it was a chilly one. And if you notice the cold air pouring through those old leaky windows, well, guess what? When it gets hot this summer, the exact opposite is going to happen. All of that cool air is going to escape through those leaky windows, and that hot air is going to come in. So I'm telling you right now to replace those old windows and keep your house cool this summer with the official window of the Kansas City Chiefs over at Window World. Their windows are one of 2 windows with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval, a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. And right now, Window World is offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. So pick up the phone right now and call this number for a free home estimate, 816-799-0820. And they can show you how they are simply the best for less. Remember this phone number, 816-799-0820. Or check out the website, windowworld.com.
Right now at Diamonds Direct, whether you buy a $3,000 diamond pendant or a $30,000 designer ring, you can spread your payments up to 5 years. Or if you prefer, you can get on-the-spot savings as much as $5,000. And everything's included. Exquisite diamond rings, earrings, bands, bracelets. It's our best offer of all time. You can pick a low monthly payment for up to 5 years or get instant savings up to $5,000. Don't miss this amazing offer. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Get details and more at diamondsdirect.com on approved credit.
Kelley Blue Book is the one-stop shop for pricing, fixing, selling, and instant cash offering. Instant Cash Offer is exactly what it sounds like. An official offer to buy or trade your car. Just enter your VIN or license plate, answer a few questions about your car's history, and what kind of condition it's in. In minutes, you'll receive an offer to sell or trade your car that you can be sure is fair. Then choose a dealer to purchase your car and schedule a time to meet. For all of the its, KBB.com.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios.
Hey, this is Chris Jones, and you're listening to the official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app.
1 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Don't forget that Play Ball Weekend is coming up. The Royals are happy to announce Play Ball Weekend activities slated to take place June 9th and the 10th. On Friday, June 9th, members of the Royals plan to be at the 3 and 2 fields out in Lenexa off 87th Street from 6 to 8 for a pitch, hit, and run event, allowing you to interact with current future players of the sport, participate in some fun activities, and walk away with free prizes. That's the event on Friday, June 9th. There's another event on Saturday, June 10th as well we can tell you about, but it is the Royals partnering up for play ball weekend activities. I used to play baseball at 3 and 2, man. That was the place. The 3 years
You
that I played
baseball.
That
You
was
played 3 years. You played baseball.
How many dingers you hit out there?
Zero.
Don't be so modest.
When I say I played, so that was the sport I played the least. Like I played soccer the longest.
Were you afraid of the ball? Or did you stand in there?
I just wasn't any good.
I didn't know.
It just wasn't any good.
Don't accuse him of being a coward.
Well,
He
look,
just
some of
sucked.
the not being very good at that age sometimes is just like a willingness to actually physically stand in the plate while somebody throwing something hard at you.
No, I wasn't. I was terrible, if that's what you're asking. I played that, a very short period of time, and I think I was done by the time I was 11 years old.
I was better when I was younger.
I got a cool baseball story. First grade, I was on the Huskies.
Okay.
And I was getting ready, was in the dugout, and I was getting ready to go run to the bathroom, and my coach was like, Nick, you're on deck. And I was like, oh, man. And so I go up there, and I wasn't that good either. I wasn't terrible, but I was just, whatever. And so I'm like, oh, man, I got to pee, whatever. So I go up there. I get on base. I get a base hit. And I get on base. And mind you, I'm like 6 years old. And you know where this story's going to go. Red tops, white pants. I get on first base, and I'm like, man, I really wish I would have used the restroom. And then it just
started going, huh?
I
just peed your pants.
Pissed my
Just
pants.
right there on first base.
So I'm standing on first base standing in my white, yellow stained piss pants, just crying on first base. And I think at that point, my dad or my parents, whoever was in the stands, was like, "What's he doing? Oh,
Might need a pinch runner."
And that's one of my earliest memories in life is walking to the parking lot, just like so ashamed, crying. And then meanwhile, I got to sit there in the car ride home in my pee pants.
Oh, sorry, man.
And I'm here to report that was my official retirement from the sport of baseball.
Wait, you quit right after that?
And
Yep.
you were how old? You said you're 15 years old when this happened?
6.
Oh, okay.
6.
6 years old, and you just hung it up, huh?
I've always wondered if I would have managed that situation better, and if I would have made it to the restroom.
Who knows your future?
Who knows what my baseball career could have became?
Yeah. Some of the great ones really were held back by that, man.
It's just a few bumps along the road that can really divert your journey.
I was much better when I was younger. Then as we got older, I was like, oh, you're all better than me now, so I guess that's it. You all got better, and I just pretty much stayed the same.
Yeah, man.
Did you hit a dinger before you peed your pants, Nick? Did you get one out?
No, he was on first. He was standing on first base.
I said no. Before that moment.
No, I don't think I was ever really a power hitter.
No, just slap gap.
I'm
hitter.
assuming Cody hit 7 or 8 home runs in one game.
7 or 8 home runs in one game.
Big bat flip
Williams.
guy, first grade.
No one bat flipped at that age.
Oh man. Anyway, we'll get into some live golf here in a second. Also, a little bit of update on DeAndre Hopkins. Some movement on that front. Just a few minutes away, we'll get an update. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the stadium for the Royals and the future of that, because we're seeing, at least with baseball in particular, some more challenges with that. I think people are wising up a little bit. At least there's just more recognition of what these publicly funded stadium projects are all about. It's more been on baseball because the Oakland A's have been trying to get a new stadium. We know that. The Vegas A's project, the public funding, never went up to a vote the other day. We mentioned that yesterday on the show. And
no,
so
because they were behind on it.
That thing's stalling out. And so it's been a little more challenging on the baseball end. But on the football end, the Bills just got $850 million in public financing for their brand new stadium. The Titans are getting a brand new stadium. They have passed significant public funding as well. Is this a baseball versus football thing, or is it truly just state by state, man? We're talking about New York versus Tennessee versus now Nevada, and then eventually Missouri.
I think it's a baseball versus football thing. How could you not think that right now? Because it seems like the other sports are having a harder time getting these deals done, Gold, than the alternative, which is, football. They just build them. They're like $850 million? Sure. We just saw, because we talked a lot about it, obviously, as it relates to the Coyotes, we just saw them offer up $1.9 billion of a $2.1 billion project and got shot down. And now the A's, Vegas wants them. It's very clear Vegas wants them. They ran themselves out of town to get to Vegas, had a stadium deal they thought in place, it fell through, have a second stadium deal going, and now it's not even a sure thing anymore, Gold. So what do? Go to the third stop if this one falls through in Vegas? You go back to Oakland? Like, I think that the
they
Royals
got plenty of options of that group. Either, unless they're willing to just sell it, there's a chance maybe the worst case scenario is the ownership group actually ends up selling it to another ownership group. But there's Nashville, there's Portland, there's Oakland, there's still Vegas. They got plenty of other. I don't think they're worried about where the team's going to.
No, but I mean,
find
obviously
a home.
they wanted to be they obviously wanted to be.
I still think they're going to Vegas,
and I think so too. But like, if I were the Royals right now, and I'm in the middle of, I guess, waiting to announce or still determining some of the last few details before I announce my exact plan, because the Royals have already said it. Like, they had a press conference and all but said, "Hey, hi, we're going downtown, so accept it, and we want a public and private partnership, and we'll see you when we're ready to announce." As long ago as that's been, it feels like they should have announced it by now. But if I were watching all this other stuff at Stadium, I'd be hesitant. Now, the on-field part would probably make me hesitant too, just the way the team is playing right now. But I think that, I don't think when you're that big of a business, you probably can't concern yourself with, you can't concern yourself with the team's not playing very good now versus these other teams are having a hard time getting it done. And what needs to be different about our deal so that we present it, while there will be questions, and they know that's why they did the speaking tour, that won't be enough questions to deter this from happening. I would be feeling that way right now watching these other stadium deals take place. Watching Vegas, watching Phoenix, and others.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think we know what the opposition and the challenges are in Kansas City for a new stadium.
Sure.
We see it every single time we bring it up, and it's brought up. And the thoughts around, there's a group of some fans and not even just baseball fans, but people in general that just think that there's nothing wrong with Kauffman Stadium, right? There's someone listening right now, multiple people. They think there's nothing wrong with Kauffman Stadium. Then you got some people that think,
it's because you can't see it. That's part of it.
There's nothing wrong with Kauffman. Leave it where it's at. There was even an op-ed in the KC Star, last but
the Star's got to stop posting opinion pieces, man.
I understand, but there was
a quick piece of business.
There was an op-ed.
Stop.
And I obviously disagreed with it because the examples to me were laughable. But it was an op-ed, and it was someone trying to compare Fenway and Wrigley, okay, two of the most historic baseball venues on earth.
If Kauffman had about 50 more years under his belt.
As saying that, well, those are old stadiums. They haven't torn them down. What would happen if I'm driving on I-70? It's just empty, which was the most ridiculous comparison, by the way, because I think we all know the difference between Fenway Park. As much as we love Kauffman Stadium, don't try to compare the two ballparks.
How long would it take for it to be in the same
and
legacy? 50 years? If they kept Kauffman up, how many years? 50?
It won't be. It just won't be in that conversation. It doesn't have. There's bigger. It's not just the entire setup of Fenway and the Green Monster. All of it's just. You're not competing with that.
By the way, I like that the ones we're mentioning are essentially either near downtown or downtown ballparks.
Well, that too. So let's.
They have the things that the Royals are trying to accomplish with their new stadium. Yeah.
Anyway, we could talk about the op-ed for a very long time. It was ridiculous. But long story short, what I was bringing up for is there's a lot of people that just think Kauffman's fine. Then you got some that just, of course, the public financing route, which is, I think, always the biggest hurdle.
Sure. How much money do you want from us?
And then there's the location. There's not the financing, but where's it going to be at, for convenience, but also there's people that are concerned about the location, what that does for affordable housing in the area and all that. These are all valid concerns. Some are, I think, parking gets brought up. That's one that I always laugh at a little bit more is the parking because
it's every stadium.
Every stadium, everybody brings it up and everybody freaks out, and I think parking will be fine. And then there's just the North KC versus downtown thing. I've told you, if they're going to build a new stadium, I want it downtown. I just do. If you're going to move from Kauffman, then it needs to be downtown.
Yeah, but if it's in North Kansas City, we'll all go. It's like the same argument for the public financing. It's like, we'll still go.
Obviously, I'll still go. For a variety of reasons. One, I'm a massive sports fan. I also do it for a living. I'm involved in sports, so it's a little bit different. You and I are not the exact people we should be talking about in terms of
we're not the everyday.
Yeah.
But look, that's the problem, no matter where you put it, because you could talk about miles to certain populations, and North Kansas City is not much worse than downtown from pure miles to the largest areas of your population across.
But it's not the idea. You can kind of
it's not what they wanted. They wanted downtown. This feels like a backup choice if they do that. But there's still,
I told you, I think it's just leverage. I just think it's the only leverage they have because they kind of already took Kansas off the map right away, and so they're playing the game a little bit to see what happens if it changes any plans with KC Mo, and obviously North KC should be trying to get it. Why not? It'd be a huge boom for them.
Yeah.
So that's I think where we're at on that.
We have breaking news, Nick. The Tennessee Titans will be the first team to visit DeAndre Hopkins. According to Tom Pelissaro, he is getting on a flight. He is flying to Nashville, and he will meet for his first in-person meeting with the Tennessee Titans. So
they really miss A.J.
does
Brown.
that end the Chiefs' chances at Hopkins?
No.
The fact that the first team he's going to has zero chance to succeed. Just none. They're not going to win.
Let him. I mean, honestly, if he's not signing Kansas City, just don't. Again, we always don't sign Buffalo. So
go to Tennessee.
Sign in Tennessee.
He's already said he didn't want to play with that phase of his career of playing with young quarterbacks is over, and I would imagine at some point they're going to pass the torch to Will Levis.
Yeah, I still think Tannehill starts, if not all, at least half of the games this year, though. For the Titans, I get it, right? You traded A.J. Brown. What a mistake. They already fired the GM. That guy's gone.
Drafted Treylon Burks. He doesn't look to be...
And he's been hurt, yeah.
Yeah, anything special.
This feels like one of two things. You're either, using this to, his agent is smart, and he's using this to get more money, or he cares about the money, and he's just going to go to Tennessee for the high
Well, and not just money, he'll get 140 targets in Tennessee. He has no competition.
Sign a one-year deal there, have a massive deal, and then go get a bigger deal somewhere else. I think don't you guys think he's going to take just multiple visits anyway? This is going to drag on for a bit. Is he
going to Odell Beckham it?
What he needs to do is create a market for himself. And right now, JT, by the way, I don't know if you caught that.
What was that?
He just said, He agrees. JT's on my side.
He's on your side.
Intern JT.
That's right. We formed an alliance over here on this side. You guys have your thing, we have our thing. And I think he
we
does.
don't really feel like we're not an alliance, but sure.
He needs to create, especially this week, he needs to create a market for himself. And as of right now, all we've heard are rumors. The Browns may be interested. The Lions may be interested. But the actual tangible market for him has not existed up until this point.
I mean, but that's the thing we were kind of talking about yesterday. It's I think that's a bit of a lie. I think all the teams that want him are quiet, Nick. I think the teams that are they want him, they're I don't know. He's a great player, but we'll see, They're trying to play it cool because they don't want him.
At some point, if you're going to sign a guy, you're going to bring him in. You're going to do the eval. You're going to do a physical. You're going to bring him in for a workout. We can talk all we want about who's interested, but you're not really interested until you bring the guy in and figure out exactly what he's made of.
Probably, and or at least work him out for a second to make sure that he's still the type of player you thought he is. But the other part is you can just go watch the 9 games he played last year if you want to find out what kind of player he still is. It's not like these teams can't do due diligence outside of the time they bring him in. I am surprised that the Titans are the very first visit, but then you find out that him and Vrabel were together in Houston, and it doesn't seem like as big of a stretch, right? And we all still agree, Vrabel's still one of the better coaches in the AFC. He is now stuck with less decent quarterback play, which is going to hinder him a little bit. But I think for the most part, I really like Vrabel as a coach. If I were Hopkins, I'd like Vrabel as a coach.
I think he's a very good coach. I still think if you were to ask me to pinpoint his timeline, just Vrabel, I think within the next 2 or 3 years, he's out of Tennessee.
And he's got another job.
But he's one of those guys that gets the job immediately. Doesn't even sit out.
Look, if Andy were retired in 2 years and Vrabel were a free agent, I'd be very interested in Vrabel as the head coach of the Chiefs. He's a very good head coach.
I need an offensive-minded head coach.
It depends on if they're already established.
I will not.
He caught a touchdown pass or two.
He did.
He did. That's a good point.
I gotta hire offensive-minded head coaches. If I'm a GM, it is offensive-minded head coach, because if I got a defensive-minded head coach, I can hire a great OC. But if he's a great OC, he's getting a head coaching gig in 3 years.
Under normal circumstances, but if Mahomes is, in this case, it's 2-3 years down the road and he's 31 and he's established, I'll just take.
Don't mess with it. Don't mess with it.
Well, I guess Matt Nagy's going to be the next head coach.
JT keeps in the background.
Can you hear that?
Yes, every time.
He's passionate. He's passionate.
He just wants to be a part of the conversation, like everyone.
Hop on the mic over there real quick, JT. Hey, turn your mic on. There you go. Press that red button. Come on. This is your test.
This is your time.
There you go. There you go. How was the ham and cheese sandwich?
It was very good, actually. I ate half of it.
Save some for later.
Did Nick convince you to eat during what's trending as well, like he does?
No, he actually asked for permission. He said, "Is it okay if I bring a sandwich in here and eat?"
Smart.
It did stink a little bit like mayo. Was there mayo on the sandwich?
Duh.
Okay, well,
He says duh. He says duh.
Well, something you should learn, JT. I'm not a big mayo
I don't
guy.
like mayo either.
But also, it's a small room, and you got to be very careful about stinky food.
And there's not good circulation.
Yeah, so do not
here.
leave the food in that trash can.
Yeah.
You got to put it in a different trash can.
Okay, Mike.
We take all of our trash to the outside.
All right, mic off. Okay, thank you, JT.
Yeah, do not put food in the trash can in that room.
Oh man, that's an easy way to become public
Someone
enemy
left
number 1.
Steak and Shake in there one weekend, remember?
Oh, dude, B-Dub was about
He
to
had lost
rip
it.
the door off the hinges.
Was not good. It was not a good morning.
We take our food trash outside of the
Happens in here sometimes as well. Trash can, even in this studio, overflows. Sometimes you get.
I don't have a trash can on my side, so all of my trash goes out.
Yeah, a lot of times here, and Bink knows this, so I can put. Sometimes he's got a pile of chew and jerky and Mountain Dew cans in this trash over here. And
Bink's been cutting back on the.
That's good.
Bink's been cutting back on the caffeine.
I think we'll see Bink a little bit later on this week.
What about the dip and the beef jerky? Are those cutting back as well, or just the caffeine?
Last time I saw him, I didn't see much beef jerky consumption to note.
Okay, that's solid.
Keep an update on Binkley's health. Either way, I'm a little surprised.
Yeah, I'm sure he appreciates.
As a group,
there's about an 80% chance he's listening right now.
We'll get a text. Just a little bit from Bink.
Nick's been cutting. Hey, wait, is he cutting back on caffeine because you put him on 213 Flashpoint?
No. Well, 213 Flashpoint contains caffeine.
Well, but maybe less than a Bang energy drink.
I don't know. I have never had a Bang energy drink.
First time for everything. Get you a hamburger, a McDonald's hamburger, and a Bang energy drink. And what was the other thing you said you had?
And a roll of toilet paper and wet wipes.
You can eat them in a manual driving car. You can get out of the car once you've either successfully shifted 10 times or eaten the burger and the Bang energy drink.
It sounds like just a hell of a time.
Try some new things in your life, It's important to try new things. Have new experiences, if you will.
You're right, Cody. Something that's new as well is what's going on in
Great
golf.
transition.
Yeah, I mean, wow, what a transition it was.
A+.
Golf, of course, looking way different than it ever has in the past now. That the PGA Tour yesterday, we know the biggest story in sports, merging with the LIV Tour, essentially, or at least the backers of the LIV Tour. And now we are hearing more and more details. We're hearing from some of the golfers, including Rory McIlroy, their thoughts on this going forward. I think it's becoming clear and clear from a pure business sense. Now, this fund, the sovereign fund, as through Saudi Arabia, is going to own golf across the globe.
Yeah, they bought it.
And they are going to be a huge financial backer of this new global entity, which is then underneath it going to still have the PGA Tour. The PGA Tour is going to stay the same, and that is going to be how it moves forward. And we'll see, 5 years from now, what are the revenues? My guess is every single golfer is going to end up making more money than they would have before. That stayed on the PGA Tour, that is. Recognizing, obviously, the hypocrisy from the PGA Tour to all of a sudden put together a deal. But I do think even the golfers that are upset, who should be upset, were lied to. Were made fools of, really.
I mean, Rory McIlroy said he was scapegoated.
I think as time goes on, Rory will still have the ability to always say, hey, I never left for this, number one, which is a big plus that
You
he
didn't
can
give
have
me a choice.
for his legacy.
Yeah.
And then also, I think he's going to make more money, man, with this deal. Like, we can obviously talk about on the moral side of things with this, but from a business sense, all the golfers on the PGA Tour, fast forward 5 years from now, they're going to be making more money because of this deal.
I understand, and Rory in his press conference this morning had said, he didn't like the way LIV was attacking his league and how it was maybe changing some of the integrity of what they were doing and just allowing these and just paying these guys even if they're not competing and all these things that make the PGA great. But look, the same argument is still there, which is if you don't, under any circumstance, if you don't pay attention to what's happening, I would still, if I were any of these other PGA guys, I'd feel betrayed. I just would. I understand Rory took the medium route of, hey, this is, in the end, I'm still mad, but he said, I hate LIV. I still hate LIV. I'm going to hate LIV, right? Because they were the people who caused this massive problem in our sport. Here's the thing. I still think that there's almost absolutely no way at all you can make an argument that Monahan doesn't look the absolute, and the PGA doesn't look the absolute worst in this. You know what I don't like about it? Yesterday in all those press conferences and all those things, they kept ducking the same thing the damn players used to duck that they openly mocked for. Bryson would sit up there, and they'd ask him about these questions about where this money is possibly coming from, and do you have questions about where this money is possibly coming from, and the ethics behind where this money is coming from, and they duck it, and they duck, and they duck, and it'd be like, this is about my family and long-term stability and the money, and we know it's about that, but that's not the question I asked you. It's, do you have a moral problem with this? Meanwhile, the PGA and Monahan were sitting on the other side, Gold, saying, we have a massive problem with the ethics of this, and that's why they're all monsters, and then they took the money anyway. And look, it's, I'm not stunned by people taking money. That doesn't surprise me.
That's just reality, whether it should be that way or not. It's reality.
But that also doesn't mean that I have to blindly accept it as being acceptable behavior, because it's not. It's wrong what they did. It's bad the way that they treated the players as a result of that, and that they pretended to have some sort of moral high
I just
ground
think we should learn from it,
didn't
though.
have.
I think it's another example we should learn from. Like Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods is the exception because of the legacy aspect of it, but these other golfers didn't take money. They made the wrong decision. Sorry. Like, loyalty to your
I don't
employer.
think so.
Well, that's fine. You and I disagree to disagree on this. Like, loyalty to an employer, I think it's more proof that you got to look out for yourself. Just another example of that.
I feel that way generally speaking.
Well,
I don't disagree with that.
That's what Brooks Koepka did. He looked out for himself, did he not?
Yeah, but I still, like, for me, and just like any person, everyone's going to draw a different line in the sand for what
Sure.
it is. And a lot of these players do different lines across the board. Tiger wouldn't do it for $700 million.
Well,
Some of
Tiger
these guys
also
would
doesn't
do
need
it.
the money. He's already a billionaire. It's a little bit different.
I mean, I don't think that Brooks Koepka needs the money either.
No,
He's
but
doing
Tiger
perfectly
Woods
fine.
truly is like even different than the other golfers we're talking about. It is all just about legacy for Tiger Woods at this point in time. He is already a billionaire.
Yeah, but I'm just, like, I didn't think Rory needed the money, but he certainly wouldn't have hated $200 million or whatever they would have been offering during that time. You still get to make your own personal decision. I don't think they made.
Of course, you can make your decision.
I feel bad that they've been now forced into this partnership with absolutely no say.
I mean, just like you just 5 seconds ago said that Rory doesn't need the money, I sure as hell don't feel bad for Rory McIlroy today. No, I think they have every right to be upset. But am I sitting here feeling terrible that Rory's going to now make more money part of this new deal as well? Hell no, I'm not. I don't feel bad for them.
I think what it is like you just learned a very valuable lesson. Do not ever trust a word that comes out of the mouth.
Sure.
And because we're not talking about a commissioner. We are talking about a businessman, a rich person who is only motivated by money. That's who Jay Monahan is.
By the way, I'd love to know what number they offered him to be the
and
new
you should
CEO
never
of this damn company.
expect that, like, your boss, the president of the company that you work for, is going to set aside financial gain for the betterment of his employees. It just it doesn't work like that. And all the guys who stayed loyal to the PGA, they learned that lesson the hard way.
Yeah. I mean, and Rory, by the way, went on to talk about what this means for the future of golf. Because ultimately, that is how we're going to view this deal 15, 20 years from now. Like, from that point forward, did golf look any different? Was the money different? Yes, but was the game itself different? Did we view the product differently? Was it more popular, less popular? That's how we're going to long-term down the road view it. This is what Rory had to say about what this does actually for the game itself of golf.
When I try to remove myself from the situation and I look at the bigger picture and I look at 10 years down the line, I think ultimately this is going to be, it's going to be good for the game of professional golf. I think it secures it unifies it and it secures its financial future. So, there's mixed emotions in there as well, as there's going to be. I don't understand all the intricacies of what's going on. It's a very, what's the word? There's a lot of ambiguity. There's a lot of things still to be sort of thrashed out, but at least it means that the litigation goes away, which has been a massive burden for everyone that's involved with the tour and that's playing the tour. And we can start to work toward, some sort of way of unifying the game at the elite level.
By the way, he's getting a massive check.
You're just saying that.
You think there's got to be
They
something
have
because
$600+ billion.
The fine, there's talk that maybe they'll fine the guys that left. There'll be some sort of punishment. It'll be interesting to see what that is. It's never going to equal anything what they were getting before. And also, if I'm the guys that left for the Live Tour, is my contract that I was getting with them? Is that still in play?
Most of the reports were that those guys got payments up front to join. So, I think for Brooks Koepka, it was like $100 million. For Phil Mickelson, it was $400 million. I don't know how much these dudes are going to get, but I would imagine the big players on tour, Rory McIlroy, Jon Rahm, the guys who went to bat publicly for the PGA, I would imagine as a part of this package to make it to where it's not absolute chaos, they're saying, hey, don't worry, you're going to be taken care of.
I don't know. I mean, I think their version of getting taken care of is just that everybody on the tour is going to make more money. Like, I don't know. I know you're saying that, but that goes back to, and I know the PGA Tour is different than every just random job in every company that merges, but it doesn't just because it's what they should do or that new money's coming in or someone got screwed during a merger doesn't mean that they just go back and man, we feel terrible for you guys. we screwed you over. You know how many people in their daily lives, their company did something that screwed them over? You think they're like, well,
we'll make it up to you. Promise.
It
They might say that.
I mean, maybe it's different for this, Nick. Maybe it is.
The only
Maybe
reason
you're
I would
right.
wonder is because the guys I'm mentioning, they are the public forward faces of your business.
Yeah.
And I would imagine to smooth things over, because John Rahm, like, he floated out, and this number was never official, but when he talked about not joining LIV, he said $400 million isn't going to change my life significantly, which is, by the way, just a baller thing to say.
Could you imagine?
But, like, would it shock you if they said, well, here's $200 million for your troubles?
No.
It's a drop in the bucket. It's a drop in the bucket for a fund that has $600 billion.
My guess is Monahan went from making like $3 million a year as the PGA commissioner to making 30.
Maybe. Yeah, it's possible. Coming up next, we'll get to what's trending, the high price tag for a couple Royals pitchers, and one thing that's happening with the cover of Madden.
You're listening to Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Subscribe and download all new episodes of Nick's Wavin' in the Wheat podcast, released every Thursday on the 435 Podcast Network and the Odyssey app.
Let me remind you once again why 2 years ago I made a phone call to DuraVision. Yeah, I was sick of wearing contacts. I was sick of dealing with glasses, remembering the contact solution on a vacation over the summertime. All of that, I don't have to worry about anymore because I did make that phone call to DuraVision, and now I just wake up and see every single day. Let me tell you again what that whole consultation looks like. It's a free in-depth consultation, and then you're going to have a personalized treatment plan. During that visit, you'll meet with one of their experienced doctors who can discuss your results along with a custom recommendation for treatment. And then you have a procedure. It was about 16 seconds in each eye for me, and the very next day, I was driving right back here to 610 Sports Radio, and now I just wake up and see without contacts or glasses every single day. Give them a call at 913-491-3330, or go online to DuraVision.com, and you can schedule that free consultation. They'll even do it virtually if you need to as well over Zoom. That's 913-491-3330. or online at DuraVision.com.
Well, the NBA playoffs are coming to a close, and it's almost time to crown a champion. And FanDuel wants you to be part of the excitement. Right now, new customers can get a no-sweat first bet that's good for up to $2,500. That's $2,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. Do all this on an app that's safe, secure, super easy to use, and what you care most about is you get paid instantly when you win. There's no better place to bet the NBA Finals action than with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. Visit FanDuel.com/CDOT and get that no-sweat first bet that's good for up to $2,500. That's FanDuel.com. Use my promo code CDOT. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA and of 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Refund issued to non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. FanDuel is offering online sports betting in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem. Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Hi, I'm Andrew Mackey, an instructor at Centric and an Army veteran. If you're transitioning from active duty or already a veteran and aren't quite sure of your next steps, Centric is a great option for your future. You can use the problem-solving and leadership skills you gained in the military towards a new, exciting career in IT in just 4 months. If you've been looking for a way to get started in the IT field, put your GI Bill to work and start your new career in IT. Go to centric.com/610 for more information. That's CENTRIQ.com/610.
Do you feel uneasy, irritable? Does your big cable home internet bill give you anxiety or cause you to make angry noises? You may be suffering from a serious condition known as UPH, unexpected price hikes.
It could happen to anyone, even you. Big Cable raised rates on millions of customers last year. You could get stuck paying more than you expected.
But now there's a solution to put an end to your suffering. T-Mobile 5G home internet is just $50 a month, and it comes with T-Mobile's price lock guarantee. That means they won't raise your home internet rate ever.
Side effects include feelings of joy when you receive your bill, no annual contracts, and no monthly fees.
Try T-Mobile home internet for just $50 a month with auto pay and eligible payment method. Plus, get price lock guarantee and put an end to the fear of unexpected price hikes today.
They won't raise my internet rates? Thanks, T-Mobile.
Check availability at T-Mobile.com/5G internet.
Price lock exclusions like taxes, fees, select promos, and third-party services apply. Qualifying credit and service required. Regulatory fees included in $50 price for qualified accounts, plus $5 per month without auto pay. Debit or bank account required.
The sparkle of a diamond is like
like nothing else. Once it captures your attention, you can't turn away. At Shane Company, we sell both natural diamonds and lab-grown diamonds. Natural diamonds are one of a kind and formed in the earth over millions of years. Lab-grown diamonds are also real diamonds, but are made over a few weeks using advanced technology perfected to an art. At Shane Company, our experts evaluate all our diamonds with their own eyes and then hand-select the most beautiful stones in each grade. So whatever diamond you choose, the sparkle will be exceptional. What's great about Shane Company is that we sell our diamonds loose, so you can compare two diamonds side by side and decide what's right for you. Really, what it comes down to is your own personal preference. With the largest selection of diamonds, you'll have lots of options for the center stone of your engagement ring or a personalized pendant. We also have gorgeous diamond stud earrings. Whether you choose a natural diamond or a lab-grown diamond, it will be spectacular.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No. We tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our client's best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way. Offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional-grade products. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey guys, this is Keenan Thompson. I have a problem with you. Yes, you. None of y'all told me that AutoTrader has millions of new and used cars that I can shop from home. I thought we were friends. I put smiles on your face, but I'm not smiling. No one told me that with AutoTrader, a dealer can deliver cars to my home or that I could shop by price on AutoTrader. No one. Consider this friendship that you just learned we had officially over. Finally, it's easy. AutoTrader.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Chiefs coverage on 610 Sports Radio is brought to you by Park and Go. Book parkandgo.com.
Getting ready to go on vacation can be stressful. Lucky for us, there's Park and Go. Easy online reservation, free instant shuttles, luggage assistance, and all spots are covered. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. The best deals in airport parking. Park and Go, family owned and operated.
What's trending?
All right, let's check in on the hot topics trending.
Number one on what's trending, the Royals in action this afternoon. 5:10 first pitch right here on 610. Vern's on Deck show at 4 o'clock. The Royals also made an announcement here in the short few minutes ago. The move to put Josh Stahlmon on the 15-day IL. He's dealing with a neck strain. That's retroactive to yesterday, actually. And they called up lefty Austin Cox from Omaha. As far as tonight's game, Jordan Lyles will be on the bump. The Royals 0-12 when he starts. Just the seventh time in baseball history that a team has had a pitcher start and lose the first 12 games.
How many is it if it's 0-13? Do we know?
No.
What's the record?
Like
0-20?
My guess is to get to the top five, probably, maybe after tonight.
Yeah, I was about to say, 0-12 is a pretty high number. I don't think it'll be that much more in order to get to that number. Next up on What's Trending, reported by Tom Pelissaro first, DeAndre Hopkins set to fly out to Tennessee to visit the Titans as his first official in-person visit with any of the teams about his impending, or I guess his current free agency situation. He did play with Mike Vrabel, who's an assistant coach, during his time in Houston, so they've got a relationship. But it's the first team we've heard even mentioned with Tennessee, or mentioned with Hopkins, at least in regards to a visit. So the Titans will get first crack at DeAndre Hopkins.
Look, I mean, the visits to me will pile up. I don't think this is the only visit. I'd be surprised. Like if tomorrow we woke up and hey, he signed with the Titans. If he did, that means it's strictly a money play, right? I mean, that's it. The Titans are not a serious contender.
I'm sure he could stand at a podium and lie about it if he wants, but yes.
For sure.
But there are only like 7 serious contenders every year, and they're not all going to go there. But.
No, I mean...
And he's never said, I'm only about championships. And that one podcast appearance, he said he cared about winning. Maybe, is that what it was?
Now, that division stinks so much, though, that somehow if you thought that adding Hopkins, that they can be, like, can they be in the mix in that division? Maybe. I mean, the Colts are a big question mark. The Texans aren't ready yet. The Jags obviously are the best team in the division, but it's not like the Jags have shown they can consistently be a 12-game winner. They just finally made progress, and they won that division the final week of the season, against the Tennessee Titans. Next up on what's trending, the Madden cover, Madden 2024, it's now official. Josh Allen, quarterback of the Buffalo Bills, will be on the cover. And there's some thought, maybe Damar Hamlin. Maybe Damar Hamlin, Nick, should have been on the cover of that, which... I actually am a little surprised.
Why would Damar Hamlin have been on the cover of Madden?
I'm a little surprised. They're going to pick a Buffalo Bill that they didn't go Damar Hamlin considering the circumstances around that.
You think Damar Hamlin deserves to be on the cover of Madden?
A special edition of it. I'm not surprised.
He survived a traumatic incident.
How many Pro Bowls has Damar Hamlin made?
0.
So let's put him on, make him the face of the most popular NFL video game. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
They can do other editions. The guy that's going on a tour raising money for CPR tours.
He's incredibly inspirational.
Across the country right now, Nick.
Madden is a video game where you want to play with the best players. Damar Hamlin is objectively not one of the best players in the NFL. By
being on the video game and being in the NFL, you are one of the best football players on earth.
Okay, then let's put Jody Fortson on the cover.
Yeah, I know you'd be in support of that.
I would actually be in support of that.
I know you would, yeah.
You got to consider that.
In all seriousness, honestly, it would not have stunned me one bit if you would have told me they did a special edition for Damar Hamlin.
That would have been so lame.
He's raised a ton of money there was literally a story on this just 2 days ago. He's going across the Northeast and across the country. A lot of the money his foundation raised when everybody was donating money at the time that he was obviously hospitalized, all that money is going towards CPR training and things like that.
I would rather he do that, though, than play football. I don't want him to play football anymore. It's like, you almost died, man. Quit it. You can become this inspirational figure and never play that sport ever again.
I still support his ability to play football, but I don't think he should be on the cover of Madden.
Well, and he's not going to be. He's not going to be. So don't worry, man. Don't worry.
That would be next to Peyton Hillis for worst Madden covers ever.
God, dude.
More justified.
And that was a fan vote, I believe.
There was a fan vote. Next up on What's Trending, reports are that Lionel Messi and Inter Miami are close to reaching an agreement that would send the former European star over to Inter Miami. Look, this deal's not totally done, so I guess someone could still technically swoop in at the last moment, but it sounds like that is direction it's heading. It's actually a really good reminder. David Beckham, when he came across to play in the MLS, he was one of the first big European stars to come to the MLS. He bought Inter Miami for $25 million. They're now valued at $600 million. So Messi may be seeing an opportunity because part of his deal includes part of the money for the TV rights deals for Apple TV if they get more signups, and it includes part of Inter Miami. They'll allow you to buy into these leagues and have other opportunities and streams of income. From a selfish perspective, might give me an actual chance to see Messi actually play soccer in my lifetime.
Yeah, the MLS has to get creative because they cannot compete financially with some of these other soccer clubs, so they have to offer, revenue sharing of the Apple deal, revenue sharing with the Adidas deal. Those are reportedly what they're offering. And in some cases, ownership of the actual team, percentage ownership of the teams. Otherwise, let's be honest, even that's just to get these guys to the end of their career.
Yeah.
So it's extreme.
You're never going to attract them at 27.
It's an extreme challenge. I mean, the MLS, we know, it's much better than what it used to be, but it is still such a gap between MLS and even some of the lower levels of European soccer.
Yeah, it'd be a problem. I don't think that they're going to attract him, but still. It's cool that Messi might play anywhere close to here, and we might actually get to see him play.
Someone on the text line, I think, actually thinks Damar Hamlin is on the cover. He's not. Don't worry. Don't worry.
It is Josh Allen. You might think it's dumb, but
he's not on the list. Josh Allen is also.
So Josh Allen.
We've lowered the bar already. Josh Allen, great quarterback, but we've lowered the bar clearly because the last 5-6 years have been
Super
Brady, Mahomes, MVP winner Lamar Jackson. Mahomes twice, by the way.
Peyton Hillis.
Rob Gronkowski was going to be a Hall of Fame tight end. Peyton Hillis was in 2011.
Is the Madden curse back?
Are you wanting Josh Allen hurt?
No, not an injury.
What,
it could just mean poor play. Well, Josh Allen also now dating a Hollywood starlet.
He is.
Not
Everything's
looking
heading
great.
south. It's bad.
Take the under on the Bills' win total.
Someone says Jody Fortson, Justin Ross on the cover.
Oh, dual cover.
Well, Justin Ross, every video I see coming out, he's going to be a future Hall of Famer now because he caught a pass on the social media video.
You want Madden to get ahead of him.
Absolutely. And we all know, being maybe
future stars.
Maybe someone that barely makes the 53-man roster as the 5th and 4th wide receiver, that right there puts you on a great path.
Honestly, if
he overcame injury too.
He did.
Inspirational.
Put him on the cover.
If Justin Ross came in studio, what would you guys say to him?
I would say, do you believe the hype for you is warranted? And I honestly would love to have his answer on that.
And would you tell him that you didn't believe it was?
And I would say, I'll be honest, do you think there's room for you in the wide receiver room? And, of course, he would say yes, but I would name off guys and say, even if you make the roster, do you believe there's enough targets
and then
for
I'll say,
you?
do you think you're more like Calvin Johnson or Randy Moss stylistically, you know? What do you think you're more closely aligned talent-wise?
This is it's not even about Justin Ross. It's more like just fan hype about somebody that has a very small chance of making the roster, and even if he does, is like a 4th or 5th receiver. And if you want to say, well, Patrick Mahomes has said great things about him, do we not just remember the whole Josh Gordon thing? Where it was he looks incredible at practice, yada, 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 and he did absolutely nothing for this football team.
He got a touchdown.
A touchdown.
Nick, we have had
Every point matters.
We have had a request sent in via the live stream, and I think we need to discuss whether or not we're going to honor it at the end of the day. Someone has requested to see JT's face.
The intern? I don't think we can show the intern.
See his face.
Oh, yeah, that's
on the video
we got an email
stream.
from corporate.
Cannot show the intern on camera.
Interesting.
Cannot show.
Not allowed.
Not
Only
allowed.
consenting adults.
Well, he is right there. He can consent.
I don't know, man. I don't want to lose my job over this.
Okay.
Yeah, you cannot.
It's real.
So he'll be a mystery man for
prickly
now.
with how you handle interns, man.
Okay.
With everything that's happened in society.
There's a reason why Nick's in charge of the intern and not you.
I brought it up with Nick. He's our intern coordinator, I guess. I don't know. Are you that? Are you the intern coordinator?
By the way, Alex, JT's informed me that Cody has already, unbeknownst to you and I, been giving him tasks to complete.
Him one task.
Are you kidding me?
Why? I'm not allowed to give him a task?
Are you kidding me?
So he thinks the interns are now his personal assistants.
That's not what I said. It looked like he was looking for something to do today.
Jeez.
I had something that needed to be done. I offered him an assignment.
And of course, what's he going to say? It's the second day on the job. What's he going to say? No.
So what, he's not supposed to work? I'm just supposed to let him just kick it back there? Do nothing?
He's not your personal assistant. I know your salary would suggest that maybe you have a team of peons just orbiting around you.
So what is he supposed to do? Only things that benefit the entire show?
Yes. Precisely.
I would argue.
Shocking.
Actually.
I would argue this does. The task that I gave him was taking photos for the Cody and Gold garage sale.
Okay.
Now, with my phone and things I was going to have to do, but now I don't have to do it because he did it.
And you didn't take any pictures of him?
I don't think so. He had my phone, so if he took him, I don't know.
We got to be careful. We got to be extra careful with the interns, man.
We messed up. If I would have known this, we would have had JT go through, see if you said anything about the luggage to anybody.
Because I gave him my phone?
If there was any Craigslist postings from your phone directly.
I've been awfully bold of him to just start digging through, see what I got on there. I entrusted him. I trust our interns. He had access to my phone. It was unlocked. He was taking photos.
Someone says he's been sitting in the room the entire time. What the F? I thought the text line was private. No. It's anonymous. It's not private, though.
Yeah, well, it's not even really anonymous. We get your phone number.
We do have we just don't say your number on the air, obviously. We can see every one of you. We know your phone number. We just don't know we just obviously don't share that. But we do see your phone number.
Like you sent that.
That's how blocks happen, because we can see the same number saying the same
click
stuff,
on it,
and we can click and we can block. We haven't, honestly, it's been months since, have you blocked it? I haven't blocked
I've never blocked anyone on the text
It's been a very long time. It's been a very long time.
I feel like I blocked one person like 6 months ago, but I can't for the life of me remember what they did.
I think we got, the text
You'd have to cross a pretty firm line for me to block.
It's got to be very personal.
We're on a good streak. Honestly, it's probably been at least 3 or 4 months.
I think it was like super... It was either racist or...
let's be honest. That's usually what... Racist, or you start attacking somebody, kids or something like that, or family, or say something about that. That'll get you.
Yeah.
That'll get you right away. Religion, all that kind of stuff will get you. Other than that, fair game.
Oh, yeah. You did... Was that the last time you blocked somebody? When it got...
that was probably the last time. Again,
that guy deserved
99% of the people, we're good. We're good.
And nobody minds if you talk trash. Like, we'll talk trash.
Well,
with you.
yeah.
We're just saying, maybe don't make it racist or personal.
Yeah, that's all. Other than that, we're all good. Someone says they'd be legit bummed if they were blocked. Yeah, it'd be a bummer, wouldn't it?
And by the way, if you're blocked because it will get sent back to you.
Does it?
I think.
I don't think so.
No, I think people are always asking, am I blocked?
Nick,
because we don't read the text enough sometimes.
It sure as hell does not alert them if they get blocked. I don't think.
I just thought it would the message would get.
No,
Why don't we block you real fast and find out?
Yep.
Send a text in and we'll block you. You said go ahead.
Let me think of something. Let me think of something really offensive to say.
Okay. I mean, you know the text line because we read it 9 times a day. 913-586-7610. So, and I guess now I'm gonna have to. It's not like I know Nick's number. I'm gonna have to actually.
Someone said, "Am I blocked?" From the 816. We're gonna get all those now. Yep.
No. Yep. None of you are blocked. You're all safe.
Yep.
Only the ones.
Let's actually clear the entire blocked list. Just clear it off. Just purge it.
Oh no! I would just no way.
Actually, the list is slimmer than it used to be. There used to be pages full of it.
I send an offensive text in, so block me.
You sent an offensive.
That is
Let's
it's
see.
also slanderous, but that's fine.
Oh, it says Cody asked the intern to. Oh my.
Yeah.
Cody, you did not.
I didn't do that. He just sent a text. Now I have to block him.
All right, so we're blocking Nick.
I guess so. I don't even know how to do this. I've never blocked anybody. How do you block him?
I'll take care of
it. Read the text, Cody.
No, I'm not reading the text. I'm getting ready to block you instead. Wait, you're blocking him?
I am.
I don't know how to do it.
Alex, do you want to read the text?
Nick is blocked.
Okay, now you got to tell us. Send in another text.
Well, the text said something about Cody asking for a sexual act is what it said. So, yeah. That'll get you blocked.
Yes, because it
does not kick it back.
I'll be honest, though. Actually, normally if someone texted in, that wouldn't get you blocked. Because it was Nick, it got you blocked.
It said Cody asked the intern to suck on his schnitzel.
Jeez. That'll get you blocked. Should I unblock Nick or leave him blocked forever?
That's up to him.
No, I want to prank you guys when I'm overseas.
Oh, we'll definitely keep you blocked then. You tried that one time.
I got you.
Until you gave too much information because you gave one detail that only someone that
I
works
was
here would
trying
know.
to eventually get you to lead on, but I was demanding that you guys talk about the Brittany Griner situation.
That's what it was.
And I was calling you a coward.
It was the day that she got released.
I was calling you a
Russian
coward, and then
prison.
I said that I'm a business owner who spends millions of dollars with the company, and I'm calling my sales rep
That's
right now
right.
to cancel all
Did you
that.
unblock him?
I can't find his number on the block. Oh, there it is. 1 minute ago. There it is. 1 minute ago blocked.
I don't know. There's still like
Removed.
100 numbers on this
You want me
thing
to
of people
unblock
who are blocked.
everybody?
I don't think.
I think the drive would be unhappy with me if I did that.
I think the other host
Because
would be mad at us.
I can see when they were blocked, so we know what time slot they were blocked in.
Is it the drive that does the most blocking?
It's kind of all over the place.
All right, here
honestly.
we go. 8:52 a.m. is the most recent. 10:44 a.m.
Well,
that was
someone was blocked 10 months ago. It's time to let them out, right? They were blocked 10 months ago.
We don't know what they were blocked for.
14 days ago, someone was blocked at 9:33
You don't just walk into
a.m.
a prison and say, "How long you been here?" 10 years. All right, it's time for you to
5
go,
days
bud.
ago, 9:15 a.m. I'm going to tell you right now, the
Cody.
morning show's being very
I mean,
guilty.
there's a couple that says they were blocked almost a year ago. I mean, I feel it literally just says about a year ago, back on June 2nd of 2022.
Man, Carrington must have been really mad at this person. He blocked him at 5:59 p.m.
Like the last thing he did before he walked out the door.
He's like, you know what? Even though my day's over, and like I'm looking at the date, I think it might have been a Friday. 5:59 on a Friday. You had to take
you gotta
this
let that
person
go,
out.
Someone
man.
says if one show blocks you, block for all the shows. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We
Yeah,
share a text line. So even if you're someone that's good on our show, but they don't like you on their show,
Man.
you say the wrong thing for them, you're out. You're done.
Man, how about the one random evening one? 9:34 p.m. Who
Dusty?
9:34. That's post his show.
Oh, is that just board
Vern?
off? I don't know.
Vern in a post game? You think fired off a block? I'll say based on this, I think we blocked
The fewest?
less.
If you look, there's not a ton.
I don't know, man. I think you got on a hot streak there for a while. 11 and 10 months ago. 11:13, 11:38, 11:28, and 11:33 a.m. All between 10 and 11 months
Day,
ago.
though. I might have been on the show that day.
I've never blocked anybody. It had to be you.
Bink blocks a ton of people.
Never blocked anyone.
No, but we have fill-ins. Bink is historically known for blocking
August
people.
15th, July 2nd, August 15th, and August 11th.
Depends. We had a bunch of bad texts that day. All right. Cody, you're gone the next couple days.
Yes.
Have a good weekend, man.
Will do.
We'll be back at it tomorrow right here on Cody